Hi, it's Zan Rowe. Excited that a new generation are taking on a classic series. 6 filmmakers, 10 countries, 1 winner.
What could possibly go wrong?
Race around the world. Starts tonight on ABC TV and ABC iView.
ABC Sport.
We begin this broadcast by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which this match will be played today and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. We extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples listening.
The AFL in 2026 on ABC Sport.
When the siren sounds, here we go. Listen to the roar. It is showtime.
Well, take a seat because it don't get better than this.
Right to the goal line. Jamie Elliott, the man who gravity forgot. That's why we love AFL football.
On ABC Sport, this is the AFL.
Sit back, relax, witness the greatest. It don't get better than this.
From 45 and rides it all the way home. An ambitious effort. Unbelievable. The left foot is a goal. Oh, yeah.
Take a seat because it don't get better than this.
Throws it, kicks on goal. The prancing pony. What a goal. He's off and running from 45 to get the party started.
Take a seat because it don't get better than this.
It's bouncing, it's through. Bailey Smith, he'll want the cameras on him right now.
That camera action, baby. Countdown to contact.
Spins around and buries it. Loads up from 55. That's a monster bomb.
40 metres out, snaps towards goal. What a beautiful finish.
Make it goal square, goes for glory. He eyes the goals and sends it home.
100% pure footy.
Every minute of every match, all season long.
Gathers, snaps, goal.
It's just football at its best.
Take a seat because it don't get better than this.
Kick on goal, dribbles it through. What about that? Took them all on and said, I'll have some of this. Bailey pinches his pocket and bang, bang, bang. That's the price you pay against the Premier. Watson snaps. Oh, Watson puts it through. And the Wizard arrives precisely on time. He's built for the big stage. On his left boot, his kick is good.
Inside 50, off a step, turns and goes bang! And snap.
And goal.
There's the bravery through the middle of the ground.
How good is that? What a goal! He wastes no time. He whacks it through for another. It doesn't have to be your night, but it can be your moment. Hands it to Charlie Cameron. He can walk it in. Show him your tail lights, Charlie.
Welcome to ABC Sports coverage of the 2026 AFL Premiership season.
Runs the 50 out. What a way to finish.
On radio
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
and ABC Listen.
You take a seat because it don't get better than this.
Sunday footy on ABC Sport, and we start where else but in the harbour city of Sydney. And just as we've seen Fremantle affirm top spot on the AFL ladder with their biggest ever win yesterday and the percentage boost that comes with it, the spotlight today goes on their nearest contender, now officially second in flag favouritism, the Swans. They beat up Richmond last week at this venue. Today, St Kilda comes to town, having had back-to-back defeats, an embarrassing first half last week, which saw them goalless in the first half. This is a road trip, not a long one, but a challenging one to test their mettle and keep them in contention for some finals footy at the back end of the season. They get some big names back today, the Saints, but the same is also true of the home side on this glorious sunny day at the Sydney Cricket Ground. And most importantly, you're here with us as well. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Thank you for spending part of your weekend with us, whether it's King's Birthday Eve and you're in the middle of a long weekend in some parts of the country, or indeed just an ordinary Sunday. We'll do our best to make it extraordinary for you with our footy coverage right through the day and night. The Swans and Saints get underway here in about 40 or so minutes' time. Brett Sprigg is my name, and today I've got Declan Byrne to call the action alongside me. Hey, Deck.
Spriggy, good to see you, and excited to see what we get today, because I don't know what the Swans got out of last week. Maybe it was nothing. I think they'll get something out of this week. Typically, Ross Lyon teams, they're dour, they're defensively minded, so I think they'll have plans to try and curb this Swans attack, and if the Swans want to go deep in finals, which now we're in the second half of the season, that they should be prepping for that. I think there'll be lots to work with today, and they'll come up against a strong defensive opposition.
So I'll mention those changes. 4 of them for Sydney first up. They welcome back Brodie Grundy from his rest last week. The captain, Callum Mills, is also back, as is Malcolm Roses. He had the ankle injury, and Matt Roberts recalled for the first time since round 9. He's been battling a groin concern. They lose key defender Lewis Melican to a hamstring, so he's out. And the rest are all omitted. Cunningham, Hanley and Laddams, who performed well in Grundy's stead last week, reverts back to the VFL. Meanwhile, for Ross Lyon's men, 6 changes for the Saints, with Ranganine Miller headlining the inclusions. He, Mitch Owens, Liam Ryan, all back from calf complaints. They have a debutant in Campbell Lake, 21 years of age, a half forward, their mid-season draftee, only became an AFL player 12 days ago. This is becoming more common with the mid-season draft, certainly. But he was at Southport, coached by our own Matty Primus. Within a week, he's playing for a different VFL team, St Kilda. Kicked 2 goals in the twos last week, makes his AFL debut today. And then Liam Stocker and Angus Hastie also recalled. It's Hastie's first game in the senior team this year, so 6 changes, but out goes Sam Flanders with the Achilles. His season is over. Liam O'Connell's being omitted/managed, with Keeler, Henry, Carroll and Charlie Banfield all omitted as well. So that's how the Saints take shape today. Our experts are here. Firstly, an Norm Smith medalist and Ryan O'Keefe. Hey, Pabs.
Hey, good to be back. What a cracking day for footy. It's unbelievable. No excuses out there. Wish I would pull the boots on and run around out there, but that's a bit ambitious, I think. But look, I think this is going to be a really interesting game. Obviously, the Saints need to put in a good performance, but we all know Rossi team is very defensive and defensive mindset. But I think if you go into a game just trying to hold or stop a team and be too defensive, and you don't have an attacking flair or go back at the Swans with some attack and challenge them, I think you're in for a long day, because you can only hold the tide back so much, and then eventually it crashes over you. So look, it's going to be interesting, and I just think that the Saints have to be on the offensive and almost defend the game with ball in hand rather than trying to defend it in their back half.
And alongside you is former Swan and Blue, a former teammate, Jason Saddington. Hey, Saddo.
Hello. I'd have to agree with Pebs. This is a stunning winter's day in Sydney. Perfect. Stunning. Absolutely beautiful out there. And further to what you said, Pebs, with the Saints, and you do know Ross Lyon, and everyone does, that there is a defensive element, but he would have done a lot of homework on this. He'd be up for this game, and I'm sure he's going to have some jobs around stopping the Swans. You mentioned attack for them. One thing they probably struggled with a little bit, but there are a couple of inclusions that I think helped today in terms of Liam Ryan coming back and Owens. The other question is, what do they do with Silvani this week too? He's kicked a couple of goals last week. Does he go back again or play 4? But I know Ross will have some plans. The Swans had a nice easy one last week. They don't get a lot out of that. You mentioned that, Deck, but I think this is going to be a tighter game than what most people expect today.
Yeah, 5-7 isn't a disastrous win-loss column by any means for the Saints, and they've been competitive in games. They lost one by a point, lost a couple by a couple of goals in the early rounds. For them, is it merely about just that, I guess, consistency across 4 quarters? Are we seeing sort of 3 out of 4 quarters, do you think, and can we pinpoint what's lacking? I suppose it's the contest has been their main issue, and I can go into a few numbers shortly, but do they have the belief to turn things around across 4 quarters of footy?
That is the challenge, and if you have one bad quarter against a good side, they score heavily on you, and it's really hard to sort of recoup that. So it is that consistency, I believe, but I just think for them it's almost like they go, defence contest, which is super important. Like, defence wins championships. That's never a doubt with that. But they play that sort of style, and then it doesn't really work. And they go, all right, we've got to catch up now. And they throw it on. We've got to go out attack, and they start scoring a bit. And It's about, can they find that balance in their game style to be able to be a bit more consistent across the 4 quarters?
Oh, I mean, that's been their season, hasn't it? Even last week, horrible first half, and then, they're quite decent in the second half. And I mean, everyone's waiting to see. There's probably a lot of expectation on the Saints with the amount of noise in the off-season and signings and the money they spent, and there's been a lot of commentary around all that. They've beaten some lower sides on the ladder, but they've probably struggled to beat or take on the best teams.
1-6 against the current top 10 teams.
Yeah.
Are they the most overrated team in the comp? That's the question.
Well, overrated by who?
Who's over? Yeah.
but it was, to your point, it was
on paper. You mean?
Yeah, like on paper, and the talk about it, and the sign the contracts, and De Koning coming over, and like there's big questions on like has he actually delivered what was brought across for? There's these questions when you make big acquisitions and you're quite public about that. You've got to put that performance out on the field, and I don't think they've been able to do that this year.
And that's what today probably brings. It's actually, we're getting midway through the year. It's this line in the sand almost, and I hate that statement sometimes, but it's a line in the sand moment around where are the Saints? Are they a team that is better than maybe we're given credit for to this point, or are they not as good as what we think?
Big day for them today, St Kilda. So just to look at their last month. So they're 15th for points for and against, 15th in points from defensive 50, 12th for forward 50 efficiency, and all of that, all those stats categories have taken a dive in these past 4 or 5 weeks, the Saints, and lost 3 of their past 4 as well. You can text us, of course, right throughout the day and the remainder of this weekend, 0437 774 774. Essendon Carlton coming up at the G later on, of course, at the MCG tomorrow. Collingwood, Melbourne, the Big Freeze, and the King's birthday blockbuster. Yeah, we'll go inside both camps shortly. I'll mention that. So we'll touch base with the Swans and the Saints very, very soon. Is the Saints' game style outdated is the loaded question, I suppose. Year 4 under Ross Lyon, and I've mentioned a few ways they're getting beaten. Is it an outdated game plan?
I think so, yeah. And you can see the game's always evolving and changing, and I think the best teams are quite fluid in their style during games. You can see it like, okay, you'll take the Swans, for example. The game against Collingwood, they're able to adapt their game, what the opposition were giving them. So there's a couple of different avenues, particularly in their attack and even in their defence, to be able to adapt on the run to what the opposition's giving. And I think if you're quite steadfast and this is how we've got to play and this is what it is, I just think teams are so smart and they work it out. Like I reckon there's a number of teams that we sort of spoke highly of their game style 3-4 years ago. Now it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So the teams that are quite adaptive can do that. And then you got the other teams that go like when you hear about this player's just got free rein to sort of do what they want, or our game styles just make it up. Again, that's not going to work either. So there needs to be some balance into your strategy and tactics on A, when you got ball in hand, and B, when you don't.
Yeah. It's probably changed a little bit, hasn't it, the last 2 years in particular. The best teams have the ability to score heavily when they need to, and they have an attacking element to the game where they're probably happy to concede a couple of goals to score a few more goals. And the history of Ross Lyon teams was more contain and just grind. But, it's a little bit about the talent you got out there as well and the players. And, of course, King not playing for the Saints is a massive detriment to them being able to score heavily. They do have a couple inside. Wanganeen Malaya is obviously the most important player for them. He's back. But, yeah, they're in an interesting space, the Saints, and probably depth of talent too. And maybe that was what the acquisitions in the off-season were. More players that can actually get out in the park, and as senior AFL players that you can put in the team to grow a bit more depth, and maybe they'd overpay for a little bit of that. No, I don't know.
Jason Saddington alongside Ryan O'Keefe, myself, Brett Sprigg, and Declan Byrne here, Sunday Footy on ABC Sport. You can text us as well, 0437 774 774. Phil Pryor is boundary side for us this afternoon. Right now, he's in the Sydney Swans camp. Phil.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I've got Swans assistant Simon Goodwin down here. Simon, obviously coming off a big win. There are 2 games and then the bye. So it's an interesting time of year, I suppose, for your group. Are there any secrets to making sure that the guys, don't get distracted or anything like that heading into a game like today?
Yeah, look, we've been really focused on, what we can control, and, we've really been focusing on our training, about the quality of our training. And the great thing about Sydney is the weather's always good, so you get a high-quality session. So, there's no slacking off from the boys. They're really committed to where they're at and how they want to get better and how they want to improve. And I've been really impressed by the quality of how they've gone about it.
Head coach Dean Cox was full of praise for you during the week, speaking to the media, labelling yourself and the role that you carry as the mastermind of the attack as well. You've obviously had a big impact at the club so far. How are you feeling that things are tracking in that space?
Yeah, look, I think the club have had a big impact on me. I've loved my role up here, coming out of, senior coaching for 10 years. You want to come into an environment where you can grow and learn, and I've certainly learned a lot off Dean Cox and the club in general. The stability of the board and the executive and the leadership that's right throughout the whole footy club is outstanding. And, as a head coach that wants to continue to improve and get better, I've learned a lot of them. But, I've settled in. It's been great to get back to the core aspects of some of my own personal coaching, but also to work with a lot of the coaches internally about their development, how we run our programs internally and how we can execute that on game day.
And Brodie Grundy back in this week after a freshen up, I suppose. There's been quite a bit of talk about whether, there is potentially a role for him and Pete Laddams in the same team, but you get so much from the other tools as well. How do those conversations happen midweek? And, obviously today you've decided not to go with Laddams, so it will be Brodie and the others.
Yeah, look, competition for spots is high, probably at both ends of the ground, really. And, we want to keep exploring ways to continue to improve our team and make sure we've explored everything by the time the season end comes. And, one of the things last week we explored was the 4 tools, obviously with Hayden McLean coming into the team and, Joel, Charlie and Logan, and having those guys together for the first time. And we really like the look of that. So we'll go with that again today. But there's no doubt we're going to explore having Pete Laddams in the team along with Brodie at some stage, because, as I said, we want to tap into every possibility that we can to really improve our team and get it set up best for the right time of the year. So we'll manage certain players, but we'll continue to explore new ideas and try and be creative on the run.
It's Phil Pryor down on the boundary with Swans assistant Simon Goodwin. We'll send it up to the boys upstairs. I know they've got a couple of questions for Simon as well.
Yeah, Simon, Brett Sprigg here. As the guy who looks after the offence, last week was the first time you played Curnow, McDonald, McLean and Amati together, as you are today. What was your overall assessment of that system? It's hard to complain about 25 goals getting kicked, 45 scoring shots, but what did you like or dislike out of that make-up last week?
Yeah, I think the biggest question mark you've always got is can you get forward pressure on the ball when the ball hits the ground? Clearly you put the tools into the team to create a presence and an opportunity to mark the ball inside 50, and we were certainly able to do that. But more importantly, at ground level, they got after him from a pressure perspective. So we loved the way that looked. It's 1 out of 1 in that sense, but we get another look at it today. So that's the biggest thing that we're looking at. Do they have an impact early in the game and challenge the opposition from an offensive perspective? But secondly, do they actually get after the opposition at ground level and create some forward half turnovers for us as well?
Declan Byrne here. Simon, it's Sam Wicks' 100th game, one of those players in the Swans team that rarely gets a headline. When you came to the club, give us an idea of what you saw in Sam and just how important he is to the group.
Yeah, look, everyone spoke about his competitiveness when I walked in the door, that he's able to, lock down some of the best, small forwards in the game. There's no doubt he's been able to do that, but I think he's more than that. He's been able to add some layers in his offensive side of his game and produce some of the runs from the back half of the ground and helping us link up with hands and change from the back half of the ground. So I think, he's played 100 games and I think he's found a little niche in his position. He started as a forward and now he's been moved back in the last sort of 18 to 24 months, and I think he's got still a lot of growth in him. I think his first 100 games has sort of been exploring about where he's best positioned, but I think right now we've found his niche, and I think he's going to keep growing over the next 100 games.
We've spoken to you a couple of times this year, and you've told us you really enjoy the assistant coaching role, being able to, I guess, be a bit more one-on-one. There are a couple of roles out there at the moment free, not particularly these ones, but do you want a head coach again one day?
Yeah, look, I've made no secret about the fact that, I love coaching and, I want to be a head coach at some stage again. I know that opportunity will come along at some stage. And for me, obviously, being in the industry such a long time now and, I'm open to all the opportunities that come along, but I'm also aware that they have to be right for your situation as well. So, spending a lot of time in the industry, you know what it takes to be successful, and you know the amount of people and the important people that need to be involved in building a successful culture. And that's what, the experience I've had at Melbourne, being able to take a team from the bottom of the ladder to the top of the ladder and do something that people didn't think was possible was pretty unique, and it took a lot of people. So I know that I'm very capable of that. I know that I'll get my opportunity again at some stage, but it's got to be the right fit. So I'm open to any of those conversations that come my way, but right now, I'm really comfortable. I love the Sydney Swans. I love the environment I'm in, and I want to win here.
I feel like every coach, senior or assistant, past or present, has been asked their thoughts on, the James Hird scenario and whether not coaching for 10 years prohibits you from getting back into that. You have a prior connection to Essendon and James in your work as an assistant previously, and under Mark Thompson as well. Do you think that is a scenario? Do you think not coaching for 10 years would be an obstacle for someone like James if that was to eventuate?
Oh, not at all. Knowing Hird, he's a great manager of people. He's a great leader. I love my time working with him. When I was an assistant at Essendon, he's got the ability about him to lead people and to understand the game incredibly well. So I don't see it being an issue. Clearly, when you're out of the game that long, it really comes down to the people around you. And, that's no different in any organisation, that the head coach and the senior coach is one person. But there's so many people around them that need to be great at their roles as well for the club to be successful. So I'm sure no matter which club it is, Essendon and Carlton going through that situation, it won't just be the one position they're looking at. They'll be looking at every position in that footy club to make it better.
Just back on the Swans, does the depth of this squad impress you, Simon? Obviously, it is only your first year working with it. But when you look at the guys getting left in the twos, and you've had, for the most part, a decent run with injury, do you feel really encouraged by the depth that you have at the moment?
Yeah, that's something that's really surprised me, is that the depth and the quality of the players that we have on our list. And, obviously last week when you have 4 or 5 guys that have come out of the team and a few managed, through injury, and we've got a few on the injury list that still have to come back, it has a little bit of anxiety about, how are we going to go? And you look at our VFL form and it's strong, and then you see the players that come in and just execute to a high level, and yet you come away with a big win. Pete Laddams, Harry Cunningham, Dosser, big Dosser comes in. Harry Cole comes in as a first year, and you just say, geez, we've got a lot of talent here, a lot of depth, and it's going to hold us in good stead for the end of the year.
The Saints are debuting a guy who got drafted last week. Now, this is nothing new with the way the mid-season draft is these days, but as it happens, you guys have butted more players this season than St Kilda has, for example, and you had Harry Kyle last week. How do you know when a player is ready? And you've dealt with this as a senior coach in the past, I'm sure, but is there any one determining factor that makes you say, yep, this guy is ready for AFL level?
Oh, clearly there's an evidence piece to it around what you see. There's also a gut feel too. We were really conscious that we needed to get some young players into our team at some stage throughout this year. And Will Edwards was one guy that we gave a lot of time to, but there's 2 or 3 games where you play, you go, geez, he's got a presence about him. Geez, he could make a difference at AFL level. He's got something unique to the AFL game, and he's been able to come in and do that at an AFL level. So you grow as a footy club and a team. And Harry Cole was similar. He had some things to work on offensively initially, and then in these last few weeks it was really about, can you add that desperation to how you defend to your game and grow that. And he was able to do that, but he's an athlete. He's got some athletic traits for AFL footy that are really unique, and there's some guys that you just know are going to come in and step up to the level, and he was one again. So, there's some evidence play up, there's some coaching part, but then there's also the gut feel about what they're going to bring to AFL level.
Appreciate your time, Simon. Go well today.
Thanks, guys.
Simon Goodwin, assistant coach with the Sydney Swans, with us Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Oh, that's what I should have asked him, actually, about Isaiah and Miller. Because, last year there was that game, of course. He was coaching Melbourne. Isaiah kicks those 2 goals in 10 seconds to steal that game for St Kilda. And I'm pretty sure when he set up the press conference afterwards, or sorry, a few weeks after, with Brad Green alongside him, and they announced he was departing the club, Mitch Cleary asked him, if that result goes your way, is this presser not happening today? Like, is Simon still in a job because of that? And I think he facetiously sort of laughed and said, yeah, blame Isaiah, cost me a job. So he's up against him today here with Isaiah for the Saints, and of course Simon Goodwin now in his capacity as the Swans assistant coach.
Do you reckon he pushed during the week? We have to go hard on Nazai.
Don't let him kick 2 goals in 10 seconds.
Yeah. Beats him, gets the jacket, waves it around, Kevin Sheedy style.
0437 774 774. Great chat, gents. Chris here. Question for the experts. Who's under more pressure? North Melbourne's Alistair Clarkson, whose team has had a friendly draw this season, or St Kilda's Ross Lyon, whose side has had a tougher draw so far but spent big during the trade period?
I think St Kilda. Like as I said, I put that question out there. I just think there's been aggressive, a lot of talk with this, the signing of the players. They haven't lived up to it, and as it gets to a point where, you know, I think if you look at their assistant coaches, they've got some, you know, really good assistant coaches. Is it a bit of a succession plan you look at? Is, you know, as good as Ross has been, he's never taken a team to the final, been able to take the final step. Is it, you know, has Ross been there, sort of built the club to where it is, but maybe need an Enright or one of these other coaches to then take over, a bit like what Goodwin did with Roosie, and then be that next step to be able to take him further?
I reckon there's more expectation on St Kilda this year for sure. I mean, you could almost, as poor as North Melbourne were yesterday, you know, a few weeks back we're saying, you know, how great's their season gone. They did have a softer draw, absolutely agree with that, but I think there's been a lot more expectation on St Kilda to win more games of footy to this point.
Phil off the text, love the opinions of Saints, and rightly so. Are these concerns about the Saints put forward to Ross Lyon during his press conference at any time? He definitely is a coach who doesn't take to critiquing very well, thanks to you. You had Ross at Ross. Were you there during the Ross?
I did,
yeah. For a little bit, as an assistant at the Swans. I think we all know what to expect with Ross Lyon these days, especially media performance-wise.
Yeah, he plays the game perfectly and up to it, and he definitely does it his way, and he's been successful. He's a great coach and been a great coach over many years. But I think I can see this. I think what St Kilda would be, a really good model to what Melbourne did with Roos, Goodwin transition, and then I think that would be what it needs. And look,
Enright? You think Enright's the one?
I think Enright. So I'm not in that.
But lots of people say he's doing great things.
Yeah, well, you knew him as a player. He was a super smart player, and I can only imagine he'd be pretty good as a coach, and demeanour around him. But I just think there's so much pressure on a head coach. I think people don't realise the amount of stuff. Does it wear them down, and they get to a point where they've been in it for so long that is it better for them to be a bit more of a mentor role to sort of a younger coach that wants to prove a bit more energy? I don't know. You can sort of see. Yeah, you can see what Coxie's done now. Like I was just at an event at the club, and the way he's more relaxed. He's cruising around, he's walking around, and just got a good vibe. And you can
like
see,
Sato.
Yeah, you can tell he's not a tired coach.
Yeah.
And I can imagine Horse in that same situation would have been cutting lab and steaming, you know what I mean, and just that sort of thing. I think there's a bit of fresh voice or fresh sort of something help off the back of what Ross has built.
While we're on the Saints, let's hear from one of their fresh voices. And Phil Pryor is in the St Kilda camp.
Yeah, thanks, guys. We've got Saints assistant Jimmy Allen down here. Jimmy, coming off, I suppose, a tough loss last week. You've had the 10 days, I suppose. How did you reckon with everything that happened during the week?
Yeah, look, to be honest, the longer break probably came at a good time. We had plenty of time to reflect and address a couple of key areas, and we feel like we've educated pretty well and trained really well. So looking for a response today against a really good side.
And some big ins, of course. Stocker Owens, Nazai Wanganeen Miller, of course, just to name a few, Hasty Ryan, and then a debutant as well. So plenty of change.
Yeah, plenty of change. I think 6 all up, as you said. We've got some really experienced key players back who we're really confident will make us better. And then Stocker's back in after a week off being managed, and then Campbell Lake obviously makes his debut. So that's really exciting for the footy club. He's going to bring plenty of energy. I know the boys are up and about.
Drafted last week, straight in. Can you tell us a little bit about how that came about, at the selection discussions during the week? It's obviously a big call.
Yeah, as you saw last week, we probably need some pressure and some energy in the front half, and he brings that. The VFL performance last week was really strong. He kicked a couple of goals, but his pressure and his team-first sort of attitude got him across the line, and in the end, it was a pretty easy selection.
We've got Jimmy Allen down here, the Saints assistant. He's also their backline coach. We'll send it up to the boys. I know they've got some more for you, Jimmy.
Yeah, Phil mentioned, last week, Jimmy, it's Brett Sprague here. Goalless in the first half last week, but the upshot of that is that you can compare the two halves of footy, one in which you produce a score of 60-odd, and when you're doing it well, what does it look like? And how do you review a game like that where you're so bad for one half and then improve a whole lot more in the second?
Yeah, Brett, you've nailed it there. That's the way we looked at it. We were really ordinary in the first half, and a lot of that was our team defence. We really need to put pressure on and get the ball back in goal-scoring positions, and then we didn't challenge them enough with the ball in the first half, and in the second half we really did. We looked to go forward more. You'll see us today, lots of pressure coming. Sydney's handball game's been a real weapon. We've set ourselves to put a lot of pressure on there, and we just didn't see it in the first half last week. We showed after half-time, although the game was done, unfortunately, we can still play some pretty good footy.
I know you look after the backs, but from a tactical point of view, break down for us what Nazai Miller does for your forward structure. We know he's a good player, obviously plays midfield. What does it do for you guys going forward of halfway when he's there versus when he's not? Because no club will say they're too reliant on one player, least of all a Ross Lyon coach team. But can you give us the tactical insight into what happens and his impact on those chains when he's actually there for you guys?
Well, I can't really give you too much around what the tactics are, because Naz sort of does whatever he feels like the game demands. So he'll be a little bit back, a little bit midfield, a little bit forward today, but we know he's dangerous in all those areas, and we look at our ball movement, and a lot of the time when our ball movement's really strong, he's involved in the chain somewhere along the line. But he can also go forward. If he gets a tag, he can go forward and play deep and be a real threat there, and then he can give us some bounce off half-back. So there's not too many players in the league that can do it as well as he does in all three areas of the ground. So him being back in is no secret. It's pretty important for us.
Declan Byrne here. Jimmy, the big story this year for the Swans has been that forward handball game. You guys, when you want to, can clamp down on the opposition's strength. So how are you going to curb it here at the SCG, this sort of chaotic way that they can move the ball so quickly?
Yeah, just went over and watched the VFL. It took about a minute till they started the handball chains over there. So we know what's coming, and it really does come off the back of a pretty ordinary team defence performance in the first half last week, where we felt like we collapsed back a little bit rather than coming forward. We want to come forward and press, and we'll get opportunities to do that today. There's going to be times where they get through because they're very good at it, but we want to get the ball back in our front half, and that'll give us a chance if we keep coming forward and putting pressure on them.
As the backs coach, Jack Sinclair's someone who I'm sure you'd love to have in your back six, but he has been rolling through the middle quite a bit. How does that conversation go when the trigger's pulled to say, sorry, we're pinching the co-captain, he's running through the middle?
Oh, he'll play mainly back, but he's such a good player. And we sort of, smash glass in case of emergency with Sinks, and he goes into the midfield. So hopefully we can play him back a fair bit today, and the midfielders are getting it done. After, we threw things around a little bit in the second half last week, and he showed how important he is as a midfielder, but he gives us such good bounce and leadership down back. So hopefully we can keep him there for much of the day.
Yeah, Jimmy, Ryan O'Keefe here, mate. You mentioned, it is really important team defence in the contest. That's obviously what's the backbone of, every good club. But do you think when you play the Swans, if you try to just worry and go on that defensive mode and try and just, hold off their attack, and you don't actually go back and attack and test them, that you sort of play into their hands? I don't think too many teams can just play defensive of them. The teams that do well against them actually go more on the offence. Is that something you're going to have to sort of up your game about?
Yeah, absolutely. We know how good they are with that handball game and how dangerous they are, but a big part of that, Ryan, for us is if we can defend really well, we're going to get opportunities to go back at them and attack, and we've spoken more around, we want to get the ball back in our front half and play a front half game. So a big part of that is defending first. So we're not looking at it as we're not going out there just to defend. It's a weapon to attack on the back of.
How do you stop Riley Bice, Jimmy? He just quietly racks up those possessions off half-back. He's a very damaging user of the footy, and you know this because, of course, you coached him to that flag at Werribee. He's not the first guy that you look at Swans oppo analysis, but you've obviously got that connection to him. Yeah, they've
got some danger down there, a bit of chaos with Bice here. I used to love coaching him. I heard Sam Mitchell talk about the wizard and how he loves him, but he also drives him crazy. That was Bossy for me. Do some unbelievable things and then some real head-scratching stuff. So hopefully we get a bit of the head-scratching stuff today, because he can be really, really damaging. Hopefully I can catch up with him, because he's a great fella, and yeah, we share pretty special connection after winning the flag together at Werribee.
Found it amusing during Ross's press conference, and he was asked about, Corey Enright potentially being one of those candidates for a vacant head coach position, and he outlined the guys you have there and the experience they all have coaching at this level, being a part of an AFL coaching group, and he said, look, maybe Jimmy Allen's not quite ready yet, which he said tongue-in-cheek, and I'm sure you probably agree with, but what has your experience been like, Jimmy? You had a great career as a player at state level, coached Werribee to that premiership in 24. This is your first year in an AFL system as a coach. How does it compare to every challenge you've had in your career so far?
To be honest, like Ross is 100% right. I don't think it would have been tongue-in-cheek, and that was the first thing I said to Ross when he spoke to me about the job. I said, I don't think I'm ready. I've only been coaching as a senior coach at VFL level for a couple of years, and he sort of said, I'll get a lot of guys coming in telling me they can do everything, so it was refreshing to hear that someone had some vulnerability, but I'm learning plenty. Everything just moves so fast. I'm sort of getting my head around things a little bit now, but I've been really lucky with Corey Enright and Brendan Bolton and Robert Harvey have really taken me under their wings a little bit and shown me the way, and they're so experienced. So they sort of cover for the stuff that I can't do a little bit. And then we've got Lenny Hayes, who's a great support, and Brendan Guy. So there's plenty of great people around the footy club, and I'm learning and don't profess to know everything, but yeah, learning all the time, and hopefully can play my role in helping our boys get better.
We see so little of Ross compared to you. We hear a few of his riddles, the one-liners. Does he throw them out as regularly as we see them, or what is he like day to day? Are you left confused sometimes by the stuff he comes up with?
Yeah, that's not just a show for the media. I thought that might have been all show for the media, but that's just Ross. It's keeps it entertaining, that's for sure, and some of the Rossisms are quite funny, but obviously really knowledgeable on the game, but he's got a great sense of humour, and it keeps things pretty fresh for us.
Jimmy, appreciate your time. Great to get to know you as well. All the best today.
Thank you very much. Cheers, guys.
Jimmy Allen in the Saints camp there, and thanks to Phil Pryor, we'll hear from him on the boundary throughout the afternoon here. As you heard, the teams are out there, the Saints and then the Swans. The home side burst through a banner which acknowledges Sam Wick's 100th game. So it comes from, I'll say, an unlikely area. I mean, obviously there are a lot of guys that are homegrown and come through the academy, but he's a Northern Beaches product, Declan. That's your part of the world.
Oh, yeah.
Phil knows that part of the world very well as well. So Sam Wick's 100 AFL games today.
Two of them out there as well today. Will Edwards, also a Northern Beaches boy. Yep. So it might be the first time ever in AFL history there's two Northern Beaches boys out there.
Manly Warringah, what's unknown about the Northern Beaches figure?
AFL specifically.
It's quite a strong AFL
it is now.
area.
Yeah, so Manly Wolves, for example, where Sam Wicks comes from, used to be two teams. There's now 8 and 3 women's teams, something like that. So it has grown massively the last 5 or 10 years. And you do forget that Wicks came in as a small forward, but the last couple of years under Cox, this role has just suited him so well. He's so aggressive. I wonder who he gets the job on today, but yeah, a big milestone for him.
100 games for Sam Wicks today for the Sydney Swans, and the opening ball up here is under 10 minutes away. Sunday footy on ABC Sport, 0437 774 774. Speaking of VFL personalities, the twos happened just across the road there at Tramway Oval. The Saints won that by 3 points. Paddy Dow had 29 disposals, while for the Swans, Tom Ryan kicked 5. Harry Cunningham, who's among the 3 omissions, or 4 changes, 3 omissions for the Swans, had 36 disposals. Harry Cunningham there. So just to repeat, Grundy, Mills, Roberts and Roses all in for the Swans today. Milliken, Cunningham, Hanley and Laddams are all out. 6 changes for the Saints. The inclusions headlined by Messiah Ranganine Miller, Mitch Owens and Liam Ryan, all back from calf complaints. Campbell Lake will debut. So that's a great story as well. I mentioned drafted 12 days ago. He was with the Southport Sharks. Won the VFL flag with Gold Coast a few years ago as well. So he was part of that, Campbell Lake, and he will get his debut, the half forward, at 21 years of age. Stocker and Hasty also recalled. Flanders, of course, with the Achilles, he's out. O'Connell, Keeler, Henry Carroll and Banfield's a bit stiff. Charlie Banfield to get to miss out for the Saints among their 6 changes. So there you go. By the way, second half NRL score, Penrith 36, Leeds West, Tigers nil. Speaking of people from different parts of Sydney. The teams are out there warming up here. Another sort of loaded question, which was sort of posed during the week. Is Charlie Curnow a flat track bully? Kicks his 8 goals against the Tigers last week. It's a known fact that, strong forwards kick more goals against weaker teams, but there's been some accusations levelled towards Charlie Curnow, the Swan spearhead, during the week.
Well, there's smoke, there's fire, isn't it? Perception's reality, and if that's what at the moment people are saying, he needs to do something about it and kick big scores against good, solid defenders. And look, Like, you can't blame him for kicking big scores against weak opposition.
What's he
should
to do? Yeah.
No, like that's what he should be doing. I suppose for him to be classed as, you know, a great key forward, he's got to do it against good defenders. Isn't that right, Sato?
Yeah, I agree. He was just not supposed to kick 8 goals last week. It's a little bit stiff on him. I think it's 2, though. When you come up against good teams, they don't let anyone get off the chain, do they? They're defensively pretty strong, and it's harder for anyone to kick a lot of goals.
Yeah.
It's probably a little bit harsh, but I mean, if statistically as well is against the lower teams, he's kicking all these goals. It's a good argument.
Yeah.
I mentioned what's at stake for both of these sides and the game we have in prospect. Obviously, the Saints are 5-7, and it's a key game for them. The right kind of win will actually put them in the top 10. So if they can sort of win by a little bit and get some percentage as well, they'll go into the top 10. Which
that top 10. Oh,
I know. It does feel weird. It does feel weird saying top 10.
It's ridiculous. But it is absolutely ridiculous.
Save the soapbox later on, Pebs, all right? But the recent games between these two sides, so 5 out of their past 7 games have been decided by 14 points or less. The last 2 were less than a kick for 1 win each. I think it was 5 and 2 points respectively for the Swans and the Saints. The average margin across the past 4 games has been 8.7. So hopefully a close game awaits us here at the SCG in dry, sunny conditions.
I think a close game. I think we might be in for a closer game than what most people are probably expecting. Although, you know, as you say, there've been close ones in the past few encounters. The Swans are probably going better than they have for.
Yeah, I was going to say the last 4 games, I think they're a bit better shape.
Yeah, their attacking flair has really come out this year under Dean Cox. So that's probably the difference with what we're getting from Sydney compared to the past. But I think the inclusions for St Kilda are huge. Obviously, the best players back in, and there's a bit more scoring power. We know Pep's midfield's always a big part of the game. Well, the Saints' midfield, I think, is okay. They're certainly more than capable. Hall and Garcia, who's been in really good form, and Wanganeen back in there. I think they can even it out through the middle of the ground, and then it depends what happens either end. Who can kick a bigger score?
We joked that maybe they didn't get anything out of last week. They got to rest Grundy, who comes back in. The Grundy v TDK and Marshall is crucial. I did some numbers. So listen to this. TDK and Marshall combined versus Grundy. Together, TDK and Marshall have the same amount of clearances, less hit-outs to advantage, and less hit-outs full stop. So Grundy's beating them in those areas 2-1. What do you think's going to happen today? I mean, he's just been a revelation, Grundy, since he's come to the Swans. How can they get over them?
He's been, I think the best recruit from any club, like any player to any club over the last 2 years. He's been sensational. I'm going to put the asset on TDK. As I said, he's come over. He has not performed or produced for what is, and I bet you Grundy's going, this guy's on a big contract, all the talk about him. I'm going to take it to him. I just think hasn't got the competitive edge that Grundy's got, and the follow-up, and I think they're going to have their work cut over. Both those Saints ruckmen against Grundy, I'd say him and Luke Jackson are the 2 best ruckmen in the comp at the moment.
Yeah, and that's what I'm looking forward to see with TDK as well. So you're up against I think it's the best ruckman in the competition. No disrespect to Max Gorn, but the way Grundy's playing, you attract the attention when and again, maybe it's not his fault, he got offered the contract, of course you're going to take it, but it attracts attention, so this is the biggest test you're ever going to get. The double team helps. I mean, Marshall's been terrific. So I think the 2 of them can probably, they've got to work away on Grundy and do enough a job to just contain him as much as they can.
Combine their salaries as well. Swans probably saved $2 million. They're beating both of them.
Off the SMS, we're underway here very shortly, by the way. The Swans and the Saints, Sunday footy on ABC Sport. John just says, Enright in, line out. So this is why he won't talk to us, because I'm reading texts that sort of have him getting the sack. Sorry, Corbin. Sorry, Ben. This is why he won't. Where the Charlie Curto flat track bully stuff comes from, says Brennan, he's gone missing in finals. And that's obviously part of it against better teams, and that's part of his reputation there as well, and his time at the Blues previously.
They're playing many finals.
I was going to say, he probably played in 3.
Played 3 finals over how many years?
So it's not going to be easy today either with Wilkie.
Yeah.
Toss one by Callum Mills, who is one of the 4 Swans inclusions. They'll kick to the Paddington to start here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Sunny, dry conditions. Let's head boundary side. Phil Pryor is there for us. G'day, Phil.
Yeah, good afternoon, guys. You cannot ask for anything more as far as June football is concerned. Sunny, 19 degrees, no wind, no storms forecast. A Ross Lyon coach side might just be the biggest threat to slow down the 10-2 Swans. The conditions certainly won't. A solid crowd is building to, taking full advantage of the weather, not to mention getting behind a team in red-hot form. Unbeaten at this venue this year. Strap in for some frenetic and fantastic Sunday football.
Yeah, crowd's still filing in, so it's a nice day for it. Give us your final word, Ryan O'Keefe and Jason Saddington, as to how this game plays out across the four quarters.
Saturday, you reckon it's going to be close?
Well, I think St Kilda have to stop the Swans' run, particularly off half-back. So Blakey and Bice, two big important players. The Swans have been attacking. They want to take the game on from half-back. I'm sure Ross has got a plan for that. So we'll see who some of those matchups are. And if they can stop the Swans' run and counter-attack, I think they'll give themselves a chance, St Kilda.
Oh, I think the Saints will make it tough and that, but I reckon one quarter will blow them out of the water for the Swans.
We'll see if the Saints are up to the task. Contest-wise, it's where they've dipped, even more so in the past 4 or 5 weeks. But from 5 and 7, all is not lost, especially with the top 10, Ryan O'Keefe, and the wildcard spots available for those teams in the lower, that sort of mid-table position. So the St Kilda Footy Club come here to Sydney to rectify that terrible first half last week. We'll see if they get a big scalp here today at the SCG. On ABC Sport, you're with Declan Byrne.
Isaac Heaney next to Windhager. That'll be a good one. Bright sunshine at the SCG. TDK the first tap. And Heaney, first touch, disposal. He gives it to a running Blakey. Forward handball to Jordan. Inside the kick. Just misses Logan McDonald, who gets a hand to it. And the Saints will work it out. No, they fumble it across the line. Missed handball. Left forward pocket out of bounds. We'll have a throw in. 20 seconds gone. First inside 50 the way of the home side.
It'd be interesting to see how the four talls at Sydney work for a second week now.
It was the first time ever they all operated together last week. Of course, second game in a row. Hand pass from Grundy. Farmed out here. Cleary pounced on this football. He's ran down from behind. Great work it was defensively by Hasty back in the side. And now the flying shot taken by McInerney from the pocket.
Might be reviewed, I think.
And the Swans think they have the first goal here. 1 straight 6. The Saints are yet to score.
Wilson reckons he touched it.
Wilson's claiming he touched that little check side effort from McInerney. Otherwise, the home side has the first goal on the board. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Yeah, as I just mentioned, the four talls, how they can work, particularly here at the SCG. Be interesting to see. Obviously, you know, last week, what did they get out of that game? Well, they had a look at it, and obviously, it was probably a lot easier than against a better defence. So against a better defensive team, it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
It's probably not the start the Saints wanted to when you talk about the way the game needs to be played. The Swans get the first clearance. Grundy from the next stoppage gets the clearance. Blakey off half-back. It's probably the way the Swans want to play the game. So not the best start for the Saints in terms of the way they want to contain this.
Wilson claimed straight away he touched it, but I don't think...
He was also the one who gave the handball, which missed his target.
Yeah.
He's hoping that they find something. The umpires are waiting in the middle for confirmation from upstairs. We are set to go. 666 is ready. The umpire's just staring into the middle distance.
There's been no official arc review. It's all just sort of being checked. They're showing replays again. But McInerney actually obscures the camera angle there, which would tell us if it comes off Wilson's fingertip.
They've played on. We're good to go. So ball is thrown up. Grundy bounces off his opposite ruckman and gets the clearance. Kicks out towards Cleary. At right half forward flank. It's a contest. It's up for grabs. Cleary's there again applying a tackle, but the Saints work it out. Windhager lowers the eyes. Tries to find someone in the middle. Grundy was there to get a fist in. Swans all over the Saints in the contest early. Inside 50 and a mark. Caden Cleary just a couple of metres in off the boundary. He'll kick for goal from just inside 50 on the tightest of angles.
He's been busy, Alex. I think he's fighting for his spot, isn't it? When you got competition for spots, it makes these fringe players super hungry, and that's what lifts their game and then ultimately lifts the team in total.
So he debuted in 24, played 5 games. He had 12 last year. This is his 4th in 2026. Staking a claim in this Swans forward line is Caden Cleary. From the tightest of angles across the face and push through for a minor score, the first of the day. It is 1-1-7. Saints yet to score. We've played 3 minutes. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Already a couple of clearances to Grundy. Not what the Saints are after either.
And then Miller in the bright pink boots. Fluorescent pink kicks out. Just comes up the boundary line to find Cooper Sharman.
They're a bit fumbly in their back half too in these first few minutes, Saints. They'll clean that up.
Swans with the first 7 points of the game. Sharman up to the wing. Players converge. Towering grab McCartan. Members side of the SCG. Another Paddy, of course, was the number 1 pick to St Kilda. They played at the Swans. They go inside 50. Curnow held from behind by Silvani, and that will be a free kick going the way of the Swans spearhead. So I mentioned Silvani, who, of course, kicked those 3 goals against the Hawks last week. He's been sent back, and he infringes here on Charlie Curnow in the pocket.
I'll have to watch if that's the actual official matchup. I mean, Silvani had Curnow there on that occasion. Whether he's the one that's got him permanently, I'll keep an eye on.
Maybe, from Carlton days, might have a few things to say just to get him off his game.
Bit of dirt, you think?
Yeah, maybe.
Locker room dirt.
Maybe a few skeletons, I don't know.
Fresh off his 8 goals last week, his best effort as a Swan. He crosses the 50, Curnow, and he misses the lot, and by a long way. Near side, out of bounds on the full. So he might get a few little taunts there from his former teammate, Jack Silvani. The Swans are 1-1-7. Saints yet to score inside the first 4.5 minutes here at the SCG.
That is as bad as I've ever seen a professional footballer kick the ball a goal.
That's like a first tee out of bounds, isn't it? Sinclair out of the back pocket, fisted over the line by the Swans.
McDonald last week was worse. He was directly in front. McDonald, that was a shocker.
Is that how you play golf, is it, Declan?
No, I've seen other people do it. I always laugh when the others do it. Ball thrown in, it'll land around the paint. Still in this forward half for the Swans. Grundy in front of TDK, tapped down, but well read by Wanganeen Miller. He gets a handball away and they bring it out through Phillippo, who's tackled well by Heaney. His kick is effective, and that means the intercept mark is Tom McCartan's, just in front of the interchange.
Second for the game in quick time.
He was outstanding at it last week too, McCartan.
Back in field for Blakey. 100th consecutive game for Nick Blakey today. And he finds the 100th gamer in Sam Wicks at centre half back. They'll switch to the outer side for Will Edwards. Debuted a handful of weeks ago now. Off again here to McInerney. And now Wilson provides some pressure there on Edwards. Ball comes loose. Pounced on there by Campbell Lake on debut. Off for a bounce up the outer side. Collared by Edwards. Run down. Holding the ball.
Yeah, welcome to the increased speed of the game of AFL footy.
1-1-7 the Swans. The Saints yet to score here in bright sunshine at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Risky kick into the back 50. Just got over the head of Liam Ryan to Mills, and Mills shanks it. So a let off here, and the Saints are in. Sharman picks it up. Handballs forward to Ryan, who wrong steps. Mills walks into an open goal, and the Saints are on the board. The mistake from Mills, and they make them pay. Liam Ryan back in after a few weeks out. He's on the board inside 7 minutes. 1-1-7. The Swans lead the Saints 1 straight 6 on ABC Sport.
Is that ball flat or something? That's another horrible kick. That's. I don't think Liam Ryan could believe his luck. That was.
It's interesting. So Mills is, I don't know if he's brought himself straight off. So after that kick, I'm bringing myself off. But he's come to the bench. And Wanganeen Miller has come off as well and has given it to Cal Mills. He's in his ear and given him a little push and shove on the way off. Before the bounce, they were at each other as well. So he's able to get one back there and get in the face of Callum Mills.
Campbell Lake's off as well after his unmemorable sort of first touch in AFL footy.
Give him a go.
Oh, I'm just saying. Clearly Ross has a...
Get him off!
Coney against Grundy. Grundy's kick smothered down there by Winhager. Bounces back here for the Saints. They go forward of halfway. Neat entry. Ryan on the end of it. So
that was a lovely kick.
It was fantastic. And there from Max Hall. They go inside 50 and find the leading target, Liam Ryan. And he'll take it 25 out. Slight angle left of centre for back-to-back goals here for the Saints.
The Saints are getting into Brody Grundy in the background. I don't know why. Trying to get under his skin.
Well, his kick got smothered there. It would have been 3 clearances, so I don't know if I'd be getting into Brody Grundy. He started pretty well.
You mentioned Declan, he's had a few weeks out, Liam Ryan's actually more like 6. His last game was round 7 against his old side, the West Coast Eagles. With that calf injury. Kicks from 40 out here, Liam Ryan. And it flies through for Flying Ryan. And the Saints are ahead. 2 straight 12. The Swans They're on 1-1-7, 8.5 gone to the opening term. Sunday footy, ABC Sport, your experts, Ryan O'Keefe and Jason Saddington.
It just shows how valuable centre bounce clearance is here. We always say it, and that's the reason is if you get a clearance, particularly when you can come out the front like that and have an under pressure a kick, and the defender can't stop that. That was perfect, but just makes it critical. You can't let anyone go out the front of the stoppage, particularly at a centre bounce here at the SCG.
What a great inclusion to have back in the team, Liam Wright. I mean, 2 goals straight up, a bit of goal kicking power. He's obviously good on the freshen up.
One of 3 premiership winners out there, all 3 in St Kilda's team. Of course, none for St Kilda. Liam Ryan, one of them. Jack McRae, the other. Who's the third? Anyone got me?
Oh, hang on.
Ball's cleared forward. It's a bit messy. McInerney cleans up. His handball, though, misses the target. Sheldrick's there, has to win the hard ball. Hall beats him to it. So St Kilda win the ball. Bradley Hill looks to kick inside 50, half a smother. Blakey picks up the loose footy to Sheldrick on his left foot, inside 50. Back position, Curnow snuck in front and took the mark. From inside the centre square, he might just have a dip. Open goal square, it's right. 1-2-8, the Swans. 2 straight 12, St Kilda. Leading by 4 points within 10 minutes.
Bradley Hill. That's a bad miss. He's won 3 of them.
Yeah.
That was a wasted kick by Curnow. It was a nothing kick. Nothing kick.
Goes beyond offensive 50. Roberts breaks a tackle. Ricochets back to Sheldrick for the Swans. And now Curnow. Neat little pass inside 50. McDonald juggles the grab and takes it 35 out in the right forward pocket.
That's better. Lower your eyes. He had a plethora of options he could have done before, but just blazed away. He didn't even look like he was having a shot before. It was just outrageous.
And Logan McDonald, who missed from point-blank range last week, top of the goal square, and then nailed a set shot from actually even a more acute angle than where he is right now in that right forward pocket. And swing the lead back Sydney's way. 12 goals in 6 games. Kicked 2 last week, Logan McDonald. Here he is, and he pushes it across the face for a minor score. Swans 1-3-9. St Kilda 2 straight 12, 11 gone in the opening term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
There's a few pairs of fluorescent boots. Jack Sinclair's got a good set of wheels on him. He's got the ball in hand. And Hall fans out for him in the right back pocket. This is a big kick into the middle to Marshall. Oh, and it's chopped off. Under serious pressure, the Saints, they're battling with it, and they get out the hands. Luckily, that was danger signs. It goes to Wilson, their best runner, who tries to beat McInerney, keeps up with him, so has to look behind him. Handballs to Wilkie, and on the lead, a nice grab from Sharman, 60 metres out. He looks inboard, but another turnover. Heaney picks it off for the Swans.
From centre half back, he flares his kick wide. Roses, off to the run there of Jordan bursting by. He goes down the other side of the SCG. Curnow runs into space and takes the chest mark. He's still 60 from goal. They're starting to surge forward now. This would test even Curnow's distance. Options form inside 50. Sets it high to the hot spot. 2-on-2. Amati's up in front. It's crumbed by Rowbottom, who snaps and pops it through. And the Swans are back ahead. 2-3-15 Sydney. St Kilda 2 straight 12. 12 played first term. Your experts on ABC Sport are Jason Saddington and Ryan O'Keefe.
It's becoming a real turnover, score by turnover game, isn't it? And some absolute howlers too, like missing by a long, long way. But that kick then by Curnow was perfect. And I think this is playing the 4 tools. If you're just watching that entry then, none of the St Kilda defenders were willing to, go third man in or zone off their opponent, because with Amati down there, McDonald and Curnow, and you throw McLean when he gets the opportunity there, the defender has to play them, because otherwise one of those 3 forwards will take the mark. So they had to play a one-on-one, and then it just brings the ball to ground, and a great crumb there by Rowbottom.
Well, even on that, Curnow, I think, has had a good little impact in the game already. Silvani is the matchup. I wonder if there'll be a shift.
Oh, that's pure from Grundy. Down to Warner. He ran into a bit of traffic, found McInerney, the 1-2. Warner then runs into more traffic. So his handball misses his target. Another turnover. Dangerous spot. Dangerous player. Nasaya Wanganeen-Miller. The dribble kick on goal is just near side. Minor score 2-1-13. Plays 2-3-15. Swans lead by 2.
Campbell Lake involved in the chain then as well. Back out in the action on debut. It comes to Sheldrick, and he was off, thought Mason Wood. He gets up with a hand pass here. McInerney, and now again Bice feeds it off by hand. Run aground here is Harry Kyle. Second game up. Back to Wicks. 100 game up. Fumbles a kick down the line. Wilkie up in front. Comes around the football here. McDonald finds Curnow by hand. Cleary in space in the pocket. Unkind bounce. Can't keep it alive. Stoppage inside 50 for the Swans at the Paddington end of the SCG. They lead by 2 points. 13 gone in the opening term. Phil Pryor on the boundary.
Yeah, I've got some of Harry Kyle's biggest fans just to my left. Of course, some of his mates got kicked out in his debut game last week, so it's going to be worth keeping an eye on.
They got their chest painted, Phil?
The boys from Scots College.
They're in the members right now, so no.
Grundy against Marshall. Neutral ball, there to be won. Grundy follows up with a big tackle. The ball is locked in. We'll have a ball up 45 metres from goal.
I wonder if that was part of the tactics with his mates. Put him in the members, have to behave.
Yeah, not bad. Marshall grabs it out of the ruck, throws it on his boot. Only a kick of 15 metres or so. Kyle is under it. He can't mark it. Outpointed by Darcy Wilson.
And Wilson off contract, of course. Big raps on him, and a few clubs approaching him potentially. Anthony Miller has a bounce. The middle of the SCG. Shares a hand pass. Back to Wilson. Good dash going here. Back to Nazire at centre-half forward. Let's fly from 52. And it's offline for a behind. 2-2-14 St Kilda. The Swans are 2-3-15. We're halfway through or thereabouts his first quarter on ABC Sport.
They're looking to go corridor a lot, the Saints, aren't they? They've turned it over a couple of times. Even that occasion, it wasn't pretty. They got away with it.
Mills out of the goal square towards Armadi. Over the back was Caminiti. Two-fisted spoil. McRae waiting for it, but he's tackled. Ball comes loose. Rose is waiting there. He's tackled, held the hand free. He got the kick eventually, but it took too long. Nice defensive play from Stocker. He's 75 metres away from goal for St Kilda. He moves it quick, had a bit more space, a bit more green grass to aim at. Instead, kicks it to the right forward pocket. A pack of 8 and a fist 4 deep from Mills over the boundary line. That 1 point lead remains for the Swans, who've played 15 minutes here. Sunday Arvo footy at a packed SCG.
I think too, if you're going to try and play that at the same brand that the Swans play through that corridor hands, that's where the Swans' numbers are too as well. So
back in. Marshall and McLean. Sorry, Peb. McRae spun the ground as well. It's wrapped up. Umpire says we'll ball up. 40 out from the Saints attacking goal. Randwick end of the SCG. Up it goes. Marshall. Clean hit out. Anthony Miller tossed up there with his teammate Wilson. So it's gathered here now by the Swans. They come off half back. Kick to the wing. Curnow on the end of it. It's a great kick on the end by Harry Kyle to find Curnow. Members side. Goes deep inside 50. McDonald contested grab. Coming late down there was Angus Hasty. Ball comes to ground. Hot footy here in the pocket. And now Rose is collected again by Hasty and Hill. So we'll ball it up again.
So does St Kilda count as flat track bullying? Because Curnow's had a hot start.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe he's got the dirt on...
Mid-table bullying, maybe?
He's got the dirt on Silvani.
Marshall's kick smothered here, so it's a ball in for the Swans. A stoppage inside 50 once more. They lead by a point. 17 gone in the opening term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Hayden McLean will do the ruck work for the Swans. Brodie Grundy gets his first rest. He's up against Marshall. Ball will land on the paint. Left forward flank for the Swans. Tap defensive side. Running through was Bice, who couldn't pick it up. And the Saints are away. They have to wait, though, and they look up ahead. And McCartan, third intercept mark. It was as if they kicked that one directly to him. He looks inboard to Sarong, who has to protect his eyes from the sun. Marks it, goes to the 100-gamer Wicks, and they are out on the far side.
They do switch across to Matt Roberts. Campbell Lake gives chase. Roberts sweeps the hand pass wide. Lloyd back to Cleary. He shows some dash in front of Hill. Shares it with McInerney. Speaking of fast players, he tumbles his kick inside 50. Mopped up by Caminiti. Now it comes back here and in for Garcia to Wilkie. The Saints co-skipper on the exit. Defensive 50. Chopped off there by Roberts. He was dispossessed. Comes back to Garcia of the Saints. And now again through Jack McRae. St Kilda through Bradley Hill. Hand pass back now to Angus Hasty. He kept running. Shared wide. They go inside forward 50 and up in front. Not quite there for Cooper Sharman. Lays the follow-up tackle there, Sharman, as it comes away here to the outside. Mitch Owens there as well, back in the side this week, and now they work it away through the Swans. Harry Kyle, Warner, and now Lloyd. They go off half back through McCartan.
They wanted to go through the middle. There was nothing there, but Roses was waiting out on the logo. He takes it, kicked quickly, and just short of Armadi. It made light work by Stocker. Another turnover. Can the Saints rebound quickly? They move it through McRae, who's busy in this first quarter. Out to Burns on the eastern wing. And the debutant Campbell Lake marks 80 from home. Looks around, wastes no time. Goes towards Filippo, who stands at the front. It goes over the back to Owens. Falls in his lap. He's tackled well. The umpire's blown a whistle. And it will go the way of the Swans. Tom McCartan, who has been intercepting at will. I reckon they were a bit too nervous about that one. He will get the free kick in the right back pocket. The lead remains 1 for the Swans, nearing the 19-minute mark.
It's a clear shove there. You can see that. He's been sensational start too, McCartan.
2-3 plays 2-2 here at the SCG. Roberts, among those 4 inclusions, does go down the line to find McInerney. Dummies the hand pass to Sarong. Kicks for distance, members side. Roses marks on the wing. Roses wheels and goes. Left foot kick, steers it towards the 50. Lloyd mops up, hand pass wide. The unmarked man Amati. Run down though, down there by Silvani. Tackler is rewarded.
Just needed to kick it there, Amati. Like, the turnovers from the Swans because they're trying to do too much. Like, it's just take that easy kick, drop it out in front.
Well, it's been Roses twice, I think. He's getting open on the outside.
From the right back pocket, Silvani. Wood up in the contest with Kyle, out of bounds for a throw-in. Swans lead by 1 as we approach time on here in the opening term. Phil Pryor on the boundary.
Yeah, you guys have been singing Tom McCartan's praises, of course, coming off a 13-mark, 26 disposal game last week, upstaging Chad Warner's 32-3 in those ABC votes, of course.
There's been 5 intercept marks on the ground, 3 of them to Tom McCartan. Tap at the front goes to Bice, the left footer. No, he's just off the side of the boot looking for Curnow, and once again inside 50. Both teams really butchering it.
Did we say it was a perfect day for football? Or is there something out there that I didn't experience coming in?
We sold it too highly. Maybe there's a bit of dew. Well, it's definitely not. Warner Tahini, he's tackled, run down from behind by Hall. He didn't have many moments to get rid of it, and the umpire agrees. So there'll be a ball up, point of the square. Front edge for the Swans, who still lead by 1. We've played 20 minutes. ABC Sport.
Up it goes. Marshall palms it down, and Bice and Heaney envelop the ball carrier in there in Windhager. So we'll toss it up again. Home side by 1. McLean and Marshall in the ruck. Garcia was grabbed by Warner. It should be free kicks in Kilda. Won't be advantage paid though. We'll come back to right half back here for the Saints.
Manganine Miller was away. He was wondering why the advantage wasn't paid. Comes back to Garcia. He looks inboard to one of his 2 tall men. It's Marshall, and Garcia says, I'm coming back round you. Give me the hands. Left foot, long inside 50. McLean tracking back, and he goes the safe option. Double-fisted spoil over the boundary where the paint meets the 50. Still a 1-point game.
I think if McLean plays this role, comes in with the 5 on the bench, and he's here to give Brodie Grundy a chop out. And if teams are going to start double-teaming Grundy, well, this is where McLean's role comes in, just to give him a bit of respite.
Voice of Norm Smith medalist Ryan O'Keefe on ABC Sport. And it comes McLean versus De Koning. Overrun by Garcia. Hand pass off the deck here by Hall. Out in space. It comes to Sinclair. Saints co-captain. Loads up. Deep ball inside 50. Strong grab Sharman. Got rid of McCartan in that contest that time. He'll take a set shot here from 25 out. Slight angle right of centre.
You don't say that too often, do you? Get rid of McCartan as you shove. It was just the perfect timing in the body there. Just got him, hit him late. Perfect. Protected drop of the ball.
You got McCartan as he's just about to jump, didn't he? His feet leave the ground and they get the bit of contact. It really knocks you off the ball.
Kicked a couple of goals last time these sides met. Round 18 last year at Docklands. He's got 13 on the year here, Cooper Sharman, and he squeezes this through as well. And returns the Saints to the lead here at the SCG. St Kilda 3-2-20, Sydney 2-3-15, 22 gone in the opening term. Sunday footy, ABC Sport, Ryan O'Keefe and Jason Saddington.
It's on the flip side of that one. For McCartan, he probably doesn't need to try and jump at the footy on that occasion. He's one-on-one with Sharman. You initiate some body contact and just get a nice aggressive spoil and bring it to ground, because the moment he did, he got the separation. He wanted to jump at it. Sharman saw that. He made the contact just as McCart was about to jump, pushed him off the line. It was a nice, simple chest mark. So great forward craft. It probably didn't need to get the running jump at it as defensive craft, McCartan.
I'd say the Saints will be very happy where they are. They're in the lead, and you would arguably say that the Swans have probably had the most play of the dominance of the quarter.
It's back to Grundy v. de Koning. Neutral tap. Ranganine Miller overran it, and they lock horns together. Heaney and him. Another ball up in the bullseye.
It's been a good battle. It's nice and open. The ball's flowing up and back. Declan, you mentioned turnovers probably at half-forward for both teams on occasions.
Good clearance out of the contest from de Koning. Couple overrun it. Lake runs through, just misses it. So beneficiary is Sarong. Handball to Blakey. Back to Sarong. Then to Grundy. Here goes the chain. Well, no. Sheldrick thought otherwise. Left foot kick. Turns it over. Middle of the ground. Saints on the attack.
Silvani flares it wide toward the pocket. Up goes Blakey. Spilled by Wicks. Liam Ryan's lurking. So too Campbell Lake. Here is Ryan. Swings back on his right boot to find Cooper Sharman again on the centering ball. And Sharman marks. This time 35 out. Slight angle left of centre.
They've just been good at St Kilda when they are getting it deeper inside 50. Their ball's coming to ground. They've had good representation at the ground balls. Liam Ryan, very busy on that occasion. And the debutant, he's been busy in the game, hasn't he?
Yeah, it has, Lake, hasn't he? Very lively. Shows a lot of spark to add, probably to pair up with Liam Ryan quite nicely.
Cooper Sharman. So we saw Ryan kick back-to-back goals for the Saints. Here is Sharman for his second major in quick time. And the Saints have some breathing space here late in the opening term in Sydney. 4-2-26. They lead by 11. The Swans are 2-3-15. 25 gone in the opening term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. You're with Brett Sprigg, Declan Byrne, and our experts are Jason Saddington and Ryan O'Keefe.
That kick by Sheldrick, I think it was totally not in the game plan or whatever, because you can see when the Swans start doing their handball chain, the forwards start retreating backwards to create a bit of space and open up for the runners, and he quickly just jammed it on the boot, and all the forwards are caught behind. That's why Safani was about to play in front and get the ball and attack off half back. So yeah, I think that was just one out of the box that no one was ready for.
He talks about Cleary wanting to stake his claim. Sheldrick's another one who, if the four that are on the injury list come back, he might be squeezed out. They want him to be that contested ball winner. We're back in the middle. Saints leading by 11. Another nice tap to Heaney, but a free kick goes the way of the away side. And the deep entry comes. Mills is in best position, but he's going to be overrun by a few tools. Blakey leapt high, got the fist in, spoiled it back outside 50. It's coming straight back, though. No, Blakey chops it off like a goalkeeper. It spills free. Hall, unlikely. Swirling old kick. The ball was spinning sideways. Somehow it stayed on target. And Max Hall kicks another goal. That is 17 points now, the lead for St Kilda. 5-2-32, 2-3-15. Maybe a bit lucky, maybe a bit ugly, but they are on top at the moment, St Kilda, on the 26-minute mark. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
It was just a scrap inside 50, really.
Yeah.
But the thing St Kilda did really well, and Max Hall did really well, was they just kept balance around the contest. He just stayed outside. And I think it was McRae that had the unbelievable clean hands in there to just grab it and fish it out to Hall on the outside, who did the great work and finished it off. But just excellent contest balance, I think, from St Kilda on that occasion around half forward.
Well, you mentioned that the assistant coach at the start of the game when we spoke was about they wanted to play the game in their front half, and when you play the game in front half, it gives you a much better opportunity to score.
Goalless last week, the Saints. This is a much improved first term. 5 goals so far. Sydney clearance though. Heaney deep inside 50. Crumb by Lloyd down to Amadi. Wrapped up by Taru. Got the hand pass back to the veteran Lloyd. Works it back by hand to Riley Bice. Neat ball inside 50 on the half volley pick up for Amadi. Tumbles it back here for Jordan. Can't quite shrug the tackle. Got it away here. No, he was run down by Angus Hasty. So it was a great chase and tackled in the end, rewarded by the umpire. Sheldrick, in fact, it was. Hasty was all over him. So the Saints by 17 points here as we approach the quarter-time siren.
Hasty kicks to Silvani in the goal square, who looks to his right and has Cal Wilkie next to him. Wilkie, this amazing run of games. He kicks it up towards Taru. It was a good contest. Rowbottom arrived. It spilled towards Roses, and then Bradley Hill infringes on him. So Roses left half-forward flank, 65 out. Down the line towards a couple. Curno's there, arriving late. McLean, it was just too tight up against the boundary. It goes out of bounds. Left forward pocket for the Swans. St Kilda have actually been amazing first quarters. So the headline was no goals first half. They've won 10 out of 12 first quarters. It's looking like they will here.
They certainly will. Get the last 3 goals of the game so far. Now it comes to Heaney. Quick snap from traffic. Bounced over the top of Curnow. Tumbled down there with Silvani in the pocket. Was it shepherded through successfully? It was. Isaac Heaney produces goals out of nothing. Didn't the Swans need that as we approach quarter time? 3-3-21. The Saints at 5-2-32. Margin 11 points. Sunday footy, ABC Sport.
Yeah, a bit of definitely a lucky goal there. But I just think with the Swans, their kicking is off, particularly going inside 50. Like that last one from Roses. Like, what is that kick? It's a nothing kick. Curnow's done one. So I just think they're not hitting their straps attacking. You know, they're probably they've made some poor decisions and poor execution by foot. So they're probably dominated around getting their hands on the ball, I think, over St Kilda, but just their foot skills. So if they tie it up, I think it's going to start opening up for the Swans.
Magical bounce.
Oh, yeah.
He's straight over the top of Silvani and Curnow.
Heaney to Grundy. Tried to get it back off the tap. There was a free kick, though, and it is going the way of Heaney. He got clean possession off the Grundy tap, and he's going to go inside 50 again. Turning it straight over. Bradley Hill was sitting there. They just picked him out. So a turnover. St Kilda have it defensive side of the square. Nearly 30 minutes being played. Saints lead by 11.
It's with Garcia. He's got the pink boots on as well. Down towards half forward. Up goes Sharman from the side. No mark taken. Spills here. Jordan and Heaney hovering around that pack, and the umpire says, give it to me for a ball up at right half forward for St Kilda.
Have we seen a job for James Jordan? He keeps switching around. He looks like he's going to Windhager.
Windhager's also there with Heaney as well. Heaney gets loose. Couldn't grab the football, though. De Koning palmed it down. Bradley Hill back to Garcia. Forward to the wing. The Saints go. Attacking side of halfway. Not quite taken down there as Edwards does well for the Swans. And now comes back to Bice at left half back.
He's got Armadi or further to Curnow. Goes that route. Silvani had front position. Knocked it forward. Pick up from Roses was clean, but he just didn't have enough room. Slipped over next to the interchange bench. We'll have a ball in. They all look to Grundy. Warner and Heaney gave him a signal. Who will Grundy go to? What a year he's having. Set for most likely his third All-Australian if he keeps up this form. He has front position. It was to Warner, who was just going too fast. Couldn't pick it up. It came off his knee straight to Philippou. And Sheldrick tackles him. So another ball up just to the left of the logo. We've played 30.5 minutes. Saints up by 11.
Grundy spilled it down here. Windhager piles in. And again, the umpire says, give it to me for a ball up. Members side of the SCG. Bright sunny conditions, glorious Sunday for footy here in the Harbour City. Of course, Essendon and Carlton at the MCG still to come tonight. And tomorrow, the D's and Pies at the MCG. Swans win the footy here. Jordan sweeps it forward by hand. Roses centering ball inside 50. Lloyd had the contest coming late. Roberts off to Roy. One of them snaps again on the run from 40, but he sprays it right across the face. Couldn't be successful like his first goal in the game. And it will be a Saints ball in the left back pocket. They lead by 11 points, the visitors here, as we tick past the half-hour mark.
Wilkie, kick in to Taru, who marks 20 metres in front of goal. So he can go left or right. He chooses left, out towards the sunny side. Sun in the eyes of a few. McCartan doesn't bother him. Fist. Nice crumb from the debutant, Lake. Saints are away. They get the handball chain going. Hall carries it and decides to move backwards. Didn't like anything up ahead. He's parried, eventually turns and kicks towards Mitch Owen. Beats Edwards one-on-one, then dropped the mark just inside 50 at left forward flank for the Saints. Bodies pile in. We'll have a ball up. Let's go down to Phil Pryor quickly on the boundary.
Yeah, Ross Lyons down on the bench now for St Kilda, and Liam Ryan was getting quite a bit of work done to both legs. It does appear as though he's okay as the ball just trickles out over the boundary line again, but worth just looking at because you don't normally see a player get that much of a rub this early in a game.
Liam Ryan, of course, a veteran in his own right. He's had the calf injury. Missed 6 weeks. Certainly some attention there. 2 goals in his first term so far. Back in, Marshall, uncontested in the right. McRae's hand pass spills here. Windhager back to Marshall. Windhager couldn't get a kick away. Warner Cannon's in here for the Swans. Blakey back out there looking for his captain Mills. The Saints bring it away here at half forward. Inside 50 they go. They've only got the sprawl from behind Edwards at the drop. Mills there first to the Swans. Blakey run down by Sinclair holding the ball. Great work by the Saints skipper. We'll have a set shot from 45 out directly in front.
Great forward pressure. That's what you're going to do to these attacking Swans defenders. You put enough heat on them. Forward pressure is always a great way to get scoring options against particularly good defensive sides.
So Jack Sinclair will have the final say in this first term at the SCG. A quarter in which his side has controlled things. Margin was as high as 17 points. He can put it back out there now at the first change. Who connect from just beyond 50. Sinclair to the Randwick end. And it is there. Jack Sinclair, after the quarter-time bell, makes it a 17-point break the way of St Kilda. So in this first term, they've had goals, 2 each for Cooper Sharman and Liam Ryan. 1 to Hall and now 1 to co-captain Jack Sinclair as well. Meanwhile, for the Swans, all singles, their 3 majors so far. Rowbottom, McInerney and Isaac Heaney. The Saints 6-2-38 leads the Sydney Swans 3-3-21. Your texts remain welcome. 0437 774 774. Rob says, correct me if I'm wrong, but Silvani is about the same height as Curnow, so it's not as bad a matchup as you might think, but Curnow is faster. We think of Curnow being huge, but he's about 194. Says Rel. 194 versus 194. There you go. He does have an imposing sort of presence, doesn't he, Curnow? So he does look like a bigger body than he actually is. But good observation there, Rob. Someone here said Jack McRae is the other premiership player. Now, we mentioned Jack. Your trivia, Declan, was right. Premiership players on the Swan on the Saints list. Liam Ryan, Jack McRae. And who else? Was a bad miss from all of us. Bradley Hill, who of course.
Left the obvious one for you. It's a layup.
Won 3 of them for the Hawks, of course. Bradley Hill here.
I wasn't listening.
The
Sorry.
Saints
Well,
lead
there's your lesson, Sado.
by 17 points. That first term ran 33 minutes here at a sunny Sydney cricket ground. This is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
A young man vanishes, and something about it doesn't sit right.
It made no sense.
I'm Rob Bergen. Join me for What Became of Jack, the new season of Unravel.
You know where my son is.
Search for the Unravel podcast on ABC Listen.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Here he pounced on this football, was ran down from behind. Great work it was defensively by Hasty back in the side, and now the flying shot taken by McInerney from the pocket. Might be reviewed, I think. And the Swans think they have the first goal. Pounced on there by Campbell Lake on debut. Off for a bounce up the outer side. Collared by Edwards, run down, holding the ball.
Yeah, welcome to the increased speed of the game of AFL footy.
Mills shanks it. So a let off here and the Saints are in. Sharman picks it up. Handballs forward to Ryan, who wrong steps. Mills walks into an open goal and the Saints are on the board.
So go forward of halfway. Neat entry. Ryan on the end of it. Kicks from 40 out here. Liam Ryan. And it flies through for Flying Ryan. And the Saints are ahead. 2-on-2. Amati's up in front. It's crumbed by Rowbottom, who snaps. And pops it through. And the Swans are back ahead. Out in space, it comes to Sinclair. Saints co-captain. Loads up, deep ball inside 50. Strong grab, Sharman. Got rid of McCartan in that contest that time. 13 on the year here, Cooper Sharman. And he squeezes this through as well. And returns the Saints to the lead here at the SCG.
Blakey chops it off like a goalkeeper. It spills free. Hall, unlikely. Swirling old kick. The ball was spinning sideways. Somehow it stayed on target. And Max Hall kicks another goal. That is 17 points now, the lead for St Kilda.
And it comes to Heaney. Big snap from traffic. Bounced over the top of Curnow. Tumbled down there with Silvani in the pocket. Was it shepherded through successfully? It was. Isaac Heaney produces goals out of nothing.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Yeah, but then Jack Sinclair produced one via a set shot after the quarter-time siren, which sees the Saints lead by 17 points here at the SCG. You're with Brett Sprigg alongside Declan Byrne and your experts on ABC Sport, on Norm Smith medalist Ryan O'Keefe and former Swan and Blue Jason Saddington.
Well, very good quarter from an entertainment point of view in terms of the balls flowed up and back. Both teams probably haven't been elite with their efficiency, and more so the Swans with their kicking skills going inside 50. And I think the difference, St Kilda's probably taken a few more opportunities when they have gone inside 50 and converted when they've got to that part of the ground. It's been a good battle. I don't think any team's on top in any particular way other than St Kilda's just made sure they've capitalised and they've hit the scoreboard when they had to, Pebs.
Yeah, look, I think we've seen a more attacking St Kilda side. Watching them, they're wanting to go through the corridor, move the ball with a bit more speed. So you can definitely see they're not just going to play that dour defensive game, and they obviously know they've got to do that. But with the Swans, it's just their foot skills. They've turned it over badly in some bad spots, and then even opportunities of going inside 50 have been just not up to the level. So I think the Saints have scored heavily off the Swans' turnover, not scored some stoppages or real defensive acts of it. So, looking at it, just the way the game feels to me, if the Swans clean up that turnover, I think they'll get on a bit of a roll and be hard to score. I just think the Saints have made the most of their opportunities off the back of some poor execution for the Swans attack.
Which is quite interesting, isn't it, when you consider, as you've mentioned through that first quarter and the call, Pebs, that the Swans are playing 3 to 4 tall forwards, yet their kicks inside 50 have been a bit more low, and they're trying to hit more of a perfect target or kicking directly to St Kilda players rather than just putting to the advantage of your taller players down there. And I thought early Curnow probably won the first 4 or 5 duels against Silvani. Well, continue to head to Curnow, but they messed around with the ball bit. St Kilda were able to sort of rebound. Their run and carry game through the middle's been all right, and they were able to capitalise. Like Liam Ryan back into the team, 2 goals early was fantastic, and then Sharman's done some good work to get on the scoreboard as well.
Yeah, I just think the Saints playing a more an attacky brand. It's able to get their ball in their front half, and then when you've got those small, dangerous forwards like a Liam Ryan, if the ball's down there, it gives them more of an opportunity.
17 points, the Saints lead here after quarter time at the SCG. Second term underway. Grundy up against Tom de Koning. Right on the crescendo there of Sweet Caroline as this kick's tumbled towards Caden Cleary. Front edge of the square. Goes deep down the corridor here, 2-on-2. Curnow needs some separation, didn't get it. Sinclair's hand pass off the deck. Big dumping tackle down there by Jordan as the ball comes free from the Saints. Back to Roses. Now McInerney, who snaps and misses near side. First scoring shot of this second quarter is a behind to the home side. Saints by 16 points here.
Wanganeen Miller wastes no time. Touch number 6 for him. He runs all the way to 50. Then an outside kick on the edge of his right boot. Ultimate skill to Bradley Hill. He keeps running, gets the handball. This time goes up to the debutant, and flying over the top is McCartan. Spills the mark, which leaves Saints on the ground with the footy. Sharman decides to go back to Wanganeen Miller. 3 touches in this chain. He pulls the kick into the middle of the ground. Sinclair, Stocker running by him to a 2-on-2 inside 50. St Kilda push and press. Owens can't get the mark. Fist to the front. McLean picks up the loose footy. Hands it to Jordan. He dishes it off, but Saints, nice tackling pressure. Max Hall, the loose ball up against the boundary. He's sitting on his backside. Looks behind him. Gets the handball away. And a loose disposal there. There's a high tackle, was it?
Oh, he's penalised Cleary for tackling Silvani. Supposedly too high without the ball. St Kilda free kick. He goes forward of halfway. Silvani up inside 50, too deep down there for Mitch Owens. Bounce back here for the Saints. Owens receives the hand pass and now does snap from 40 out. Beautiful work off one step. Welcome back, Mitch Owens. His first game since round 9. One of their 6 inclusions today, and he makes his presence felt to extend the Saints' lead to 22 points early in this second term. 7-2 plus 3-4 inside these first couple minutes of the second quarter.
It's good. They're taking the game on, the Saints. This is a brand of footy that we haven't really seen much of them this year, and we can see it's work. Obviously, they're taking how they played the back end of last week into this game, and you can see it's more effective. So hopefully that gives them confidence to keep this style of game going.
And it definitely helps with your best player, Wanganeen Miller, running the ball from kick in, your half back, getting it again, half forwards. Just his ability to run and carry and create stuff makes a big difference. But these forward inclusions have made a difference as well, Owens and Ryan.
A running Warner. This will be his first kick. No, it won't. He still doesn't have a kick today. He handballs inboard to McInerney. Forward handball to Cleary. The shot on goal comes. Curnow on his right foot, swinging and hooks it just too much. Maybe one too many handballs again. It's a minor score, 44-23.
Warner's got to kick that.
He hasn't kicked it yet today. 6 possessions, negative metres gained.
He turns it over every time he kicks it.
Sinclair, Wilkie, now Bradley Hill. This change from defence now for the Saints. Now with Max Hall. But every game since his debut in round 1 last year, Max Hall, 21 points is St Kilda's lead here. This his second term. Comes down the members' side. McCartan intercepts again here. He's been that brick wall in defence again, Tom McCartan. And the Swans can go again at half back.
4th intercept mark for McCartan, who had that knee ligament strain. He's just out for a couple of weeks. He goes back to Blakey. He pulls a kick into the middle at the top of the 50. Hits McInerney. His kick to Wilson. Well, it was to Grundy, but Wilson smothered it. He handballs forward to Wanganeen Miller, who's going to send it into the 3rd tier. A gift of a goal for St Kilda. Just what the Swans can't do. And the Saints have hit 50. We've played 4 minutes in the second term. Remind you, they didn't kick a goal in the first half. They've kicked 8-2 in the first, quarter and 4 minutes here. It is 8-2-50 to 3-5-23.
Another turnover. Horrible turnover. Miller has sent that ball into the 3rd tier. It's knocked someone's poured beer out of their hand, and the beer's fallen down the next tier and landed all over the shoulder. In the car.
There's a few victims there, I reckon.
Yeah. Look, Swans, they look nervous. Like when McCartan had it, there was no options. Like everyone sort of stopped moving, and then I had to go back, and it's a sort of a lazy kick from McInerney.
It's amazing what some pressure does, isn't it? I mean, the scoreboard pressure's on now, but they're trying to manufacture their running game and go off half back.
27
they're
points.
Forcing it.
Becomes problematic here for the Swans. 5 goals behind. It's going to be a free kick going Grundy's way from that ruck contest. They wanted 50, the home fans. They won't get it as Grundy loads up deep inside 50. Big pack converges. Spoiled away by Sinclair. Windhager's hand pass in space. Cleary there for the Swans. His handball picked off. And the Swans, the Saints can rebound again as it bounces back to the members' side. Gathered by Sarong now for Sydney. And now Mills to Grundy. Back to Jai Sarong. Fires the hand pass through for McInerney. Wide to the pocket. Little too wide. And it skids out of bounds for a throw-in at right full forward for Sydney. So it's St Kilda 8-2-50. The Swans are 3-5-23. We've played 5.5 minutes in this second term, Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
No point having 4 tools. Can't kick it to them. Jeez, the inside 50 kicks have been horrendous.
Yep, exactly the point I was going to make.
In the shade here at the Randwick end. Leading Grundy to the ball is DeConing, but his handball is wide. Gives it straight to Rowbottom, who curves it towards goal, but this gave it a bit too much at the start, so leaves it to the right. 8-2-50, 3-6-24, 26 points, the lead, the way of St Kilda, 5.5 minutes in. You are listening to ABC Sport. Sunday Arvo footy. Saints have surprised the home team here.
Here is Wilkie of the kick out. Coming across Warner from Nazaya. Tracks it now for the Swans. Pops it inside 50. Reaching for it, McLean. Mopped up by Heaney. Hand pass back behind him here towards Warner. His handball's overcooked as well now. Roberts runs straight into Garcia. Windhager's in there as well. And will ball up on the point of the square at half forward for the Swans. Not making it look easy. The Sydney Swans today, they trail by 26 points. Bursting through Hall. Kick was pounced on by Rowbottom. Loose ball just free here for Grundy. Back to Heaney. Warner's all by himself. Darts away from Wanganeen Miller. Goes inside 50. A spiraling ball. Held was McLean by Wilkie. Umpire says play on. Wilson's let him up for the Saints. They come beyond defensive 50.
He kicks it out towards Lake, but straight over him. So Wicks has the ball to pick up. He has a couple of metres on Lake, who closes quickly. The debutant did well. Nice bit of pressure, and they go at each other. Swans run away with it, though. Blakey, short kick. McDonald just outside 50. Slide angle, and he stops play. Plenty of black jerseys in front of him. Lowers the eyes to the pocket. Run and jump. It's a 2-on-1 against Curnow. And the fist over the line works for the Saints. Let's head down to Phil Pryor on the boundary.
Yeah, plenty is being made of Chad Warner in this first half. Interestingly, he spoke to AFL Media this week and said he's never felt more settled. And, you know, this is someone that's had plenty of contract speculation and around his future as well. So there you go.
Rowbottom burst through, beats the tackle of Bradley Hill. He was smothered there by Garcia, I think, off his bonce. A bit of a falcon there for the Saints. Worked away by Sinclair. And again, he comes beyond defensive 50 out in front of Owens. In space on the wing. He turns Roberts inside out. Back to his skipper, Sinclair. And he comes back to the logo, western side of the ground for Hall. And he goes back to the corridor again for Garcia. It's a slow build-up here for the Saints. They lead, though, by 26 points. They'll switch across here to Alex Toru. And now he goes wide, further still to Mason Wood.
Mason Wood finds Naz. 65 from goal in the last of the SCG Sunshine. Low kick, right penetrating one, and it's in front for Sarong. I think he took the mark in front of Philippou. He did. Nice defensive play from the Hawks import. Gives it to McCartan. Doesn't know what to do. Steps one, and then off the right-hand side of his boot, sends a shocker outside 50. Well, they've all got the yips right now, the Swans. They turn it over. Hasty from just beyond 50 up towards Edwards, who's best placed for the Swans, and marks in front of Sharman. They are giving them opportunity after opportunity. And at the moment, it's a 26-point lead to the Saints.
Edwards finds Blakey. Competent user of the football. Goes beyond defensive 50. Out of that pack, Owens is taken high, says the umpire. Underneath all of that by Curnow. So free kick St Kilda. Again, attacking side of halfway. In front of the O'Reilly stand. Eastern side of the SCG. The Bondi side. Owens comes it inside 50. No target there. Grundy or Sarong. Coughed it up here into the path of Garcia. Back to Wilson. Quick snap. Vacant square. It'll bounce through. Oh, the Saints can do no wrong. And Darcy Wilson's on the board. They extend their lead, St Kilda, out to 32 points. 9.5 minutes played in the second term. 9-2-56 plays 3-6-24. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Your experts are Ryan O'Keefe and Jason Saddington.
Oh, it's just time and forward half. The Saints are playing the game in their front half. Swans, they just can't kick it. They just can't get it out. And now they're even stopped running. And it's because of the amount of turnovers they've had leading up to this. Now, as options, they've stopped running, and now they've been hesitant on the kick, and it's just now the Swans have been able to, the Saints have been able to just press them in their front half.
Oh, they're absolutely opportunistic at moments, St Kilda, taking the chances that they're getting through the fact, you're right, Peps, the Swans just have no run game going at the moment. They can't get out, and their kick efficiency is pretty low.
Back of the hand tap from Grundy, but it was read well by Nasaya, who kicks towards Edwards and Owens. Owens a nice shove out, dropped the mark on second go. Running through was Wicks, hands it to Jordan, who's looking backwards, so he hands it to Edwards. Still inside his 50, kicks it 60-odd metres up towards a contest. Nice little body there. And running away is Roses with the loose footy. Steps to his right, handball forward inside 50 to Lloyd. He gets a call. Running is Logan McDonald, handball into the goal square. They can't miss from here, can they? No. Hayden McLean kicks from point-blank range. They go end to end. And it is 8 goals this year. 8 goals straight for Hayden McLean. They cut that margin. 9-2-56, 4-6-30. Swans break that run of 4 straight goals on the 10-minute mark of this second quarter. Your experts are Jason Saddington and Ryan O'Keefe here on ABC Sport.
They still didn't make it easy on themselves. Like, they nearly coughed that up as well. It just seems like they're doing it, having to do it hard, and it's not. I don't think it's from the pressure of the Saints. It's just their own unforced errors.
Well, even that was at Roses, his handball. It's sort of 25-metre handball inside 50 rather than putting on the boot. And they got away with it, you're right, because I think it was Wilkie that slipped over. Otherwise, he was probably going to intercept and clean that ball up and send it back out for St Kilda. He slipped. It fell to the Swans player. And there, of course, is McLean just in the goal square by himself.
Before that, the Saints had kicked 7 of the last 8 goals in the game. From the restart, Warner steals the hand pass away from Marshall, goes inside 50 with a kick, which is picked off by Silvani. So he's still playing deep defence there on Charlie Curnow, Jack Silvani. Saints by 26 here at the SCG. Comes back to half-back. It's a weighted kick to find his skipper in Sinclair. And now Bradley Hill bursts by, receives the hand pass, kicks to the outer side. Sarong makes the contest on Wood, but Wood mops up here for the Saints. Swings it back towards half forward. Going up, Philippou can't mark. Swans have defensive numbers. Bangany Miller, though, picks up for St Kilda, goes inside 50. Owens is all by himself. That's why he was by himself, because the Swans did run off to create more numbers around that contest. But Owens marks in the right forward pocket, 35 out on that tough angle.
He started to get himself into the game, Owens. He was quite through the first quarter. It was Sharman and Ryan doing the job, but so far this quarter, he's the one that's getting his hands on the footy in that front 50.
Well, there's 6 inclusions. Mitch Owens on the set shot, and he misses near side. Can't find his second goal of the day. And the Saints are 9-3-57. The Swans 4-6-30. 13 gone to second term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
I just get the feeling too, Pebs, a little bit. The Saints are probably outrunning the Swans a little bit. Their gut run's a little bit higher. They're getting a few more numbers to the contest or drop of the ball. And offensively, they're spreading pretty hard to be able to create that opportunity to get the spare numbers there. Swans, they're generally known to be quite good at that and really outnumber at the contest, but I think the Saints got them at the moment.
I think when you turn the ball over, it puts your defence out of position, so that's probably why the Saints have been able to get their numbers there.
There's a blood rule for the Swans, so a little break in play. Mills plays on and goes deep. McLean made a good contest. Nice row from Warner. He does kick it forward. Curnow had to contest, pushed instead. It meant the ball fell to the ground, and Roses, speedy Roses, he runs from 50 to 30 to 10. Moves around on his left foot and snaps the goal from open play. That was rapid from one goal square to the other. The Swans cut that lead again. It is back to 21 points, 9-3-57, 5-6-36, the Saints lead. Let's head downstairs quickly. Phil Pryor.
Yeah, it's Will Edwards with the blood rule. He's got some claret in and around the nose. It looks like he'll be fine, but he does have to come off to get it assessed quickly.
It's good to see Chad Warner kicking the ball. Like he's a brilliant player around the contest. If he just takes the first option and kicks it, he's such a better player, and that's what he's done. Probably the last 4 or 5 times he's got his hands on the ball, and it's caused the Swans to be able to get the ball forward and get scoring opportunities. And I'll have to hats off to Curnow there. 2v1, brought the ball to ground. That's what created Rosa to be able to crumb onto the ground.
Up it goes in the middle. McLean v Marshall. Garcia first hand sought for the Saints, and now Hall, collared by McInerney. He tumbles the kick inside 50. Owens in the contest with Mills, gets free, snaps from the pocket, top of the square, down there to Koning, through the air, Lee O'Brien, but he's slammed that ball to his boot. It's going to come back here for a St Kilda free kick anyway. So it wasn't quite the Daniel Wells effort, sort of in one fell swoop to just get the ball to his boot, Liam Ryan, but it will be a free kick top of the square to Tom de Koning.
What for?
Who was being held by Tom McCartan.
Oh, really?
So he'll take this set shot. Very slight angle here. And as most players are wont to do these days, go around the corner here and snap off his left, Tom de Koning, and he just nurses it through. So the Saints respond almost immediately on that little Sydney Swans surge, and they push their margins at Kilda back out to 27 points midway through this second term. It's 10-3-63. The Swans who are 5-6-36, and this is Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Bear in mind, by the way, last week the Saints' full-time score was 9-13-67, so they're going to better that in a half of footy here, the first half at the SCG.
Talking about the players snap around goal, I'm not sure if anyone saw Jason Dunstall's talk
one of his things.
He was quite measured
on a rival radio station.
He did spray what did he say?
He goes,
take advice.
I'll take advice for 3 guys that have got 11 goals combined against them. But when one of the greatest goal kickers of all time comes out and backs what I've been saying, I was very happy with that.
He doesn't like dribbles, doesn't like the around the corners, Jason Dunstall.
McLean in the ruck for the Swans. It's a defensive tap, so he has to go get it. He then tries to flick it on. Garcia read it well. Saints go inside 50 again. Loose ball, there to be won. Sharman tried to tap it. Reading it well, Sheldrick, and they're away the Swans. But again, it is messy. The handball to Bice was in front of him. He goes and taps it on. Still up for grabs. It's edged outside 50. Nothing clean. Heart and soul stuff from Wicks, but he turns it over on the logo, and the Swans are under pressure again with the Saints bringing it in 50.
Garcia finds Marshall. The big man loads up inside 50. McCartan spills the grab this time. Mills, though, behind him. Could repel off the half-back line. Finds McDonald, who marks. Members wing here at the SCG. Saints by 27. All in the hands of Logan McDonald here for the Swans. Does come down this member's side. Again, spilled by Marshall. Hand pass off to Bradley Hill. All by himself, Wilkie on this wing. Umpire calls him to play on. Fires it back here for Ryan Burns. And he goes towards 50 to Koning. Was squeezed in that pack. Bice emerges with the football. Shares it back here. Oh, picked off by Ryan. But Wicks clobbers him high. And that will be free kick, Liam Ryan.
More turnovers from the Swans. It's given the ball back to the Saints. Dangerous parts of the ground.
Yeah. He just clotheslined him there. It's Sam Wicks. The arm does slide up a little bit, doesn't it?
The head was going back pretty early, wasn't it?
I think it was coming down and a bit of everything. Free kick's all it deserves.
But yes, it's the same thing you've been saying.
They're their own worst anyway. It's just like unforced errors, like just putting pressure on themselves. This forward handball stuff everyone talks about, but under pressure you turn it over, you're out of position.
Lining up for his third goal, Liam Ryan, and he pops it through. It's a new game-high lead for the Saints. Out by 33 points, a third goal for Flying Ryan. The Saints 11-3-69. They've already surpassed last week's full-time score in that game against the Hawks. Sydney remains stuck on 5-6-36. So they overcome Sydney's little attacking surge and get back to a game-high lead. 19 gone second term, Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
And that's what you're supposed to do. When Oppo's going to keep turning the ball over and give it to you, you've got to kick the goals.
Definitely. And that's what you've got to do against the Swans.
Yep. You've
got to put the scoreboard pressure on and attack them. You can't just play a defensive game. And the Saints have done that to a T. And whether they've put the pressure on or it's perceived pressure, the Swans are just coughing it up and giving it straight back to them.
Garcia in the middle has 15 touches going at 100% for the Saints. Grundy taps it towards Heaney. Tackled by Garcia this time. It comes back to him off the deck. Handball's wide. Roberts is there, as is Warner, who picks it up. Nice hard ball to Mills. He gives it to Sheldrick. Kicks out wide towards Lloyd in a one-on-one. Tries to protect space. And maybe a bit lucky to get the free kick. So Lloyd has it. 80 or so from goal. No one's on the mark, so he can just go if he wants to. He realises after looking behind him. Goes deep. Amadi's there. Grundy's there. Grundy taps. Fell over the back. Amadi. Left foot snap. Off the side of the boot. 69 plays 37. Saints lead is 32 points, nearing 20 minutes.
The visitors waste no time on the kick out. Out there first to it, Ryan Burns. Slips one tackle. It's socked out over the boundary line here. It will be last touch Sydney. Killed a ball at right half back. Phil Pryor on the boundary quickly.
There's no question that fans down at ground level are just becoming increasingly frustrated with every skill error.
Oh, speaking of skill errors, here's a kick which is a little overcooked there again from Burns. Looking for Caminiti. And it was Stocker who just sort of went across the defensive goal mouth and did create a bit of trouble there for Caminiti. So it's going to be a throw-in now at the Swans attacking end.
Well, they need to get some... I haven't been getting the greatest of service, but like Amadi's had one kick. McLean, he's playing doing that ruck roll. McDonald, those guys need to get their hands on the ball a lot more.
Back in by Marshall. Hand pass comes to Warner. He snaps and it hovers around here behind the post. Not the right side of it from the Swans' point of view. We've just hit time on here in the second term. And St Kilda's lead here is 31 points at the SCG.
Chad now had the 5 kicks, just going at 20% though. He's had 13 touches. He's leading all comers for the Swans. Kick out is good from Naz to Wood. He runs past as he did the last play and gets it. Now an outside of the boot kick. He misses it this time, making it look better than it was to a Stocker. Won the hard ball. Handballs to Wilson, who stops and says, who wants it? I want to go inboard. And Big Marshall is there, edge of the centre square. Still defensive half for the Saints. They lead by 31 points. They've bettered their halftime score last week by 64. The kick from Marshall is out wide and too wide. Running the ball was Ryan, who could collect it as it went over. Didn't get a touch on it, so it'll be a lasso free kick to the Swans in their back half.
They've kicked 8 goals to 3, the Saints, since midway point of the second term. The last time that the Swans led in the game. Certainly control things here, Ross Lyons' man. Jai Sarong. Just chip it across the defensive goal mouth here for Riley Bice. Uses the corridor now. Sheldrick had the man coming in late to make the contest. It was nice work down there by Hasty. They go again on the overlap here, the Saints inside 50 through Wilson. That with the flight Campbell Lake. It's through for a minor score, St Kilda's way. So 11-4-70 St Kilda. The Swans are 5-8-38. 22 gone in the second term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, that kick was on, but the problem is they're just waiting for the ball. Sheldrick's going to come forward at it so the defender can come chop it off.
Blakey in the goal square, looks to his left and has Tom McCartan in the left back pocket. They're hemmed in at the moment. They look like they want to slow it down for a minute, the Swans. They're still darting their eyes to the middle. McCartan finds Mills, still in their D50. Mills does fan out as if he wants to go through the middle, but instead changes his mind, goes up towards the logo. It's all Saints there. Caminiti arrives. He spills the mark. Nice last-second pressure from Amadi, who then went and got it. Forward handball to Curnow. Edge of the centre square, lowers the eyes and has McDonald. Marks in front of Wilkie. He'll kick for goal. 40 metres directly in front. Just quickly down to Phil Pryor.
Swans defender Will Edwards has been cleaned up. He came off with that blood rule on the nose, but he's good to get back out there.
It was a good hit from Curnow, but it was a great little tip lead from McDonald. He headed hard back to goal, got the St Kilda defender on the hop, and then just ticked back up at the footy. Got a nice, easy, uncontested mark.
Logan McDonald takes his full complement. His last 15 shots at goal, 12 of them have gone through the middle, so he's looking pretty accurate. He is directly in front, and he fist pumps the air as soon as it leaves the boot. A much-needed goal for the Sydney Swans as this second quarter winds down. Logan McDonald kicks truly. It is 11-4-70, 6-8-44. The St Kilda Saints leading by 26 points. And we've played 23 and a half minutes in the second term. Your experts here for Sunday Arvo Footy, Ryan O'Keefe, Jason Saddington.
It was their most promising sort of movement forward, Sado. Definitely there, like a contest. They did try to pull something off that wasn't there. Mills in the end, he looked to go inside, but said, nah, nothing's on there. I'm not going to risk it. Long down the line. Got a contest by Marty, and then from then on, it was a clean, beautiful tick lead there by Logan McDonald. But I just think, if the Swans don't keep giving the ball back to the Saints, that's the only way they're going to sort of get back into this game. And I think when they do that, it's going to be hard to stop.
Out of the ruck goes Grundy. High spiralling ball inside 50. Spoiled away here by the Saints defence. Mopped up here. McRae's hand pass. Picked off again by McLean. Low pass to Cleary. Dispossessed. McLean will try again in the company of McRae. Swept up by Robert. I'm off to Heaney. Flying shot from 45 from Heaney. It looks off target. And it goes just over the behind line for a minor score. So the Swans peppering away, creating opportunities. They still trail by 25 points here at the SCG as we approach half-time.
Wilkie doesn't waste a second, has a bounce, kicks out towards the outer side. It's a contest. Windhager's at the front. He just keeps it in. Nice little handball, but the kick turned over. Jordan Marks in truly the last of the sunshine here on this Sunday Arvo.
They've gone quick on every kick in St Kilda. I'm not sure it's worked.
Jordan towards McLean, who flies in the middle of a pack of four, nearly marked, comes to the front. Nice crumb from the Saints. Naz goes wides to Hasty and has the run of Wilson. He could just go here. He looks at Rowbottom. I got you covered. Runs beyond 50. Second bounce. Third bounce. No, he handballed instead to Naz. Wrong option. Wilson and Naz weren't on the same page and they turn it over. Roberts picks it up. Tackled by Lake and he gives the handball away to Bice.
Bice with a loose footy. Hand pass back to Lloyd now. Warner's also by himself at half forward. Pulls the kick off the instep here. It's just trickled towards McDonald. Wrapped up down there by Hasty. Pounced on by Jake Lloyd again. Warner tries off a step from 40 to the top of the square. Amati's down there in the contest. Knocks it down there only as far as Windhager. The Saints bring it back. No, they don't. Windhager kicks out of bounds on the full. It's going to be Sydney's ball. Again with Warner, same part of the ground as where he was a time ago.
Someone else should have grabbed that off him.
To take a set shot.
Well, St Kilda's just playing the Swans game, what we've seen most of this game. Their last couple of exits from 50, so there have been some horrible kicks themselves.
Isn't this the preferred pocket for the Swans players? Peb's right in front.
Jakey Lloyd should have grabbed that ball, to be honest. Anyway, yeah, definitely.
He's going to make you look silly here, Chad.
I hope he does.
He's going to kick this. They'll have to cross the boundary line, on its way, coming back. BEA beautifully. Is it? There it is. I'll claim it's touched. I'm sure we'll see 50,000 replays, but Chad Warner with an amazing set shot from beyond the boundary line to again pick a very important goal for the Sydney Swans as we approach the halftime break. 7-9-51. They trail the Saints 11-4-70. So from what was 33 points a short time ago, back to 19 points the Saints' favour.
Well, it's just time in front half. The Swans have been able to lock the ball into their front, put some forward pressure on, and it's becoming that turnover game, isn't it? The Saints has done a few turnovers, and Swans have been able to capitalise on it.
I must admit, I was with you. Bringing replay shows, covered the line. Yeah, I thought live that St Kilda had actually got a fist on that ball before it crossed the line, but all clear.
He's had 11 touches this quarter, Chad Warner. He's keeping them in it, even though he's still turning it over, but he's got 2 centre bounce clearances. He's in there again. Grundy this time goes the way of McInerney. Clean hands for him. Heaney's kick, though, who he gave it off to, was half smothered. Coming through is Cleary. Nice tackle. Ball got kicked still by the Saints, and it finds its way to Nasaya. He handballs forward, and it's another turnover. Dished off by Heaney to Roberts. Back to Heaney. Short kick up the line to Caden Cleary, who plays on quickly to Roberts.
Roberts on the bouncing ball. Waste no time kicking inside 50. Marty in the contest with Taru. Second bite, brings it away, shrugs the tackle, snaps in the pocket of Marty, curls it around the post. Oh, didn't the Swans love that? Get the party started. And Marty kicks his first. There's more Swans momentum as we approach half-time. Margin back to just 13 now the Saints' way. 11-4 plays 8-9. 28.5 gone second term. Sunday footy ABC Sport.
That's what we wanted. That's more like you see the Swans at their best. Great defensive turnover, and then they'll just clean, taking that first option. And Marty able to get a one-on-one, and I think just be able to isolate and against the undersized defender, and obviously that's a great individual work there by Marty.
Kicked 4 of the last 6 goals in the game, the Swans, and make that now 3 in a row.
Yeah, which I'm sure would be an unhappy Ross when you do head into half-time. They've done so well to bid out such a strong lead and to just give the advantage up and let the Swans back into the game late in the quarter with 3 quick goals late.
It was a 9-goal first quarter. We've seen 10 in this second quarter. A lot of them gifts from the opposition team. Free kick goes the way of the Swans. Windhager missed McInerney clearly on the handback. I don't know how that isn't 50. McInerney.
Short arm there, mate. There's a bit of short arm action going on.
McInerney, lower kick towards Amati. Oh, the touch from Heaney. Skipped it over the top of him. Grundy playing crummer. Cleary's there as well. Handball over the top. Rowbottom got a shove. Crowd will tell you what they thought. He jumped on the ball. So did a couple of Saints just to the right of the goal square. Umpire's whistle stayed in the pocket.
Yeah, play on.
They'll have a ball up just next to the goal square. Grundy, can he fashion something? No, it's a tap straight down to the Saints. Hall is away.
Hall running shotgun there with Burns, and now Hall sends his kick back in the direction of Burns. Spills it there, out over the boundary line under pressure from the McInerney, and it will be a throw-in. Left half forward for the Swans, who have cut the Saints' lead back to just 13 points at the half-hour mark of the second quarter. Get to your text at half-time, 0437 774 774. Missed by De Koning. McRae farms out the hands here for Hall. Nothing up ahead, so he gets it off to Garcia. Room to bounce on the outer wing. Chasing was Rowbottom. Garcia goes inside forward 50. Back with the flight, Sharman. There is McCartan. Just sort of hacks it across the defensive goal mouth here for the Swans. Up there, Hasty outnumbered. Brought down the McLean tackle. And Lloyd was there as well for a throw up. Or ball up, as we call it. Saints by 13 points.
Whatever you want to call it, it is launched into the sky. Marshall was the only one there, so he grabbed it. Handball to McRae. It was just in front of him. He's pressured over the line in the left forward pocket for St Kilda, who lead by 13. The lead got out to 33, and the Swans have kicked the last 3 goals through McDonald, Warner and Armadi. And the Saints bite one back here as we hit 31 minutes. Whole ground now in shade. Crowd on edge. Grundy v Marshall. Grundy from the back. Tried to tap it. It landed in Marshall's hands, who had a flying shot on goal. Blakey was there as goalkeeper, but it was always to the left. Minor score. Margin is now 14 the way the Saints. 31.5 minutes into this second stanza.
Blakey. A short kick from the kick out. You find the milestone man, Sam Wicks. 100 games today. The lad from Manly Warringah. And now Blakey. Dummies the hand pass around Ryan. And kicks to find Bice. And left half back. We spoke to his Werribee Premiership coach, Jimmy Allen, who's now one of Ross Lyon's deputies. On the other side, marked by McInerney in the contest with Sinclair. Kicked alive along that boundary line. Kick, though, a little dicey. Sharman run down from behind. Looked up again by McInerney. And now Heaney sends the Swans back inside 50. All there at full forward. Curnow by himself. And he shapes to pop it through. Tumble it through for a goal. Curnow opens the account and further cuts back St Kilda's lead to just 8 points as we approach the half-time break.
He was out of paddock there, Curnow. I'm not sure what the Saints defence was doing, but that's just a little bit. As I said, the Swans are starting to get their ball use much better now, taking those easy options and hitting their targets and not turning it over. And now they're starting to pile on the score. We always said once they tighten that up, they'll be hard to defend against, and that's what they're doing at the moment.
Yeah, and I think St Kilda's just made a mess of the ball the last 5 minutes in that sort of back half as well. I mean, I think that was Sharman that had pushed back as a forward to block up, the last part of the quarter in defensive 50. He took a ground ball and just handballed it nowhere and coughed it straight back up to the Swans. Were able to get the goal off it.
Ball launched in the middle. Rowbottom, handballs to Heaney. We've got another whistle on play in Ruck Lotto. This time it goes the way of Rowan Marshall.
I like that.
It is totally Ruck Lotto.
He didn't even straighten up either, so leniency from the umpire. He runs, kicks inside 50. Ryan is there at the back waiting for it to fall that way. It came to the front to Mills for the Swans. Back to Wicks, who has a bounce next to the post. Why do they have a bounce so quickly? Puts himself under pressure. The out kick to McLean. Luckily, the tall stands above Taru, and the Swans are away up this near wing.
Adding some space. Amati in the contest with Caminiti. Left behind there for Rolly Bice. He bounds onto it. Comes back inside with a hand pass to Amati. Back to the mature age pick, Bice. And now Lloyd turns Hill inside out. Back to Rolly Bice on that left foot. It missed McLean. Bounced there for Rowbottom. He's wrapped up by McRae. Gets his kick away, though, inside 50. It's intercepted, though, by Marshall. They'll come wide here again, the Saints. And Windhager is on it at left half back, sensing that half-time is not too far away.
Marshall was standing there for that 30 seconds, hence the Swans not going in quickly. He ended up taking that intercept mark, and Windhager goes all the way back to right back pocket to Wilkie. So they are happy for the Hooter to arrive, the Saints. Burns takes a mark just inside the paint. There it is. So 11-5-71 to 9-9-63. The Saints, the leaders by 8 in a 34-minute second quarter. They got out a lead to 33, but it is just 8 points. The goal kickers will start with the Saints. Multiples for Liam Ryan with 3. Sharman has 2, and singles to Naz, to Owens, Wilson, Hall, to Koning and Sinclair. For the Swans, it is singles all round. Charlie Curnow, the last of the goals there in the second quarter. Warner, Rowbottom, Armadi, Heaney, McInerney, McDonald, Roses and McLean. The halftime score, 71 plays 63.
Margin was as high as 33 points in that second term. The Swans have kicked the last 4 goals since then and 6 of the past 8 in this game to halftime before a 8-point St Kilda lead. Your experts here on ABC Sport, Jason Saddington and Ryan O'Keefe.
I just think the Swans they cleaned their ball use up a little bit and were able to be much cleaner and more directive going forward. And that second half of that quarter, the game was played in their half, where early on, the first quarter and the first part of that second quarter, their ball use and turnover was just giving the ball back to the Saints, and the Saints were able to play in their front half and they made the most of opportunities. But what also the Swans did was bring that forward pressure. You mentioned a couple of times of players from the Saints. They starting to cough it up, but that was under, I think, the heat the Swans were bringing, not unforced errors which the Swans were doing to the Saints. The other thing with the Swans, with their 4 talls, they're starting to get a bit more isolation now, which is starting to be a bit of a headache for the Saints' defence. But what I like to see from the Swans is when they do those deeper entries, is just work on their crumbing a little bit. I think there's probably lacking that real dangerous crumbing forward, where I think the Saints have got with Ryan and Lake, that sharping crumbing. I think that's just what the Swans are just lacking a little bit with their forward entries. But look, I think now the Swans have tightened their game up now. They're going to be hard to stop scoring.
I think talking about those small forwards, I think Rose is one player that's probably had a little bit of impact in the game in that role. Papley's obviously someone that would normally play that role for the Swans as well. But, there's plenty of goals have been kicked, so if you're a fan of either team, at least you get to cheer a lot through that quarter. And I think you're right, Peps. A lot has come off turnover from both teams to be able to create the goals, as opposed to brilliant passages of play or fantastic, skill level and ball use. It's been a lot of turnovers, probably contributed to that heavy score going both ways.
Yeah, if you look at the Saints' scoring sources, it's basically hugely weighted to turnover. They're not scoring from stoppage or much forward pressure. It's basically come off the Swans' turnover. The Swans don't turn over, which we did see in that back end of that quarter. They're scoring at will now. So that's probably just some signs where the Saints are going to go, how else are we going to find score sources?
And I think we've seen, too, from the individual players across the field, there's been no real standout performers either either team. You haven't seen a Heaney run amok. I think for the Saints, Garcia's probably had the most ball. Wanganeen Malera has obviously been involved in a bit of chain, but there's no real standout, players that are really dominating the game or taking it on. It's just a real even spread and, a bit of a, I guess, arm wrestle both ways as to who's going to take the advantage when they get their opportunity.
A Saints by 8. We'll get to your text shortly. 0437 774 774. Phil Pryor is on the boundary for us.
Yeah, we're just discovering that Justin McInerney has been injured in the last minute of that second quarter with what appears to be a hamstring injury.
Ooh.
We'll keep you updated.
Okay.
What he went off with last?
No, he was ankle last week in the third quarter.
Rolled ankle last week. Had 11 disposals. He's already got more than that now in this first half. So he is a key player for Dean Cox's men.
I mean, he is leading the comp for score involvement. So, really underrated this year. Everyone talks about Heaney and Warner and when Goulden comes back, but he has been their generator, so he would be a massive loss.
Now, 0437 774 774. Tristan from Footscray visiting Sydney for the weekend, listening to the ABC coverage outside the ground. Perfect afternoon here. More boundary updates on the rub-down situation, please.
Come on in, Tristan. Come on in.
Come on. Well, yeah. Do you know what they actually do? I'm told. I haven't actually been to a game and not been working, but as you're coming into the SCG, and I think listeners can tell me if this is true, they have the radio coverage on the speakers outside.
I heard another radio station on my way in, so I'd be surprised if it was ABC, but I heard something.
You know what? Well, it used to be the ABC, so I'm going to have to talk to
back in good old days,
Wales about this. Fair dinkum. Well, anyway, there is some radio coverage, but anyway, you got us here anyway. Jason and Ryan, how does the SCG playing area impact the game when you're out there on the ground? Great call, guys, says Anthony in Queanbeyan.
In terms of the dimensions? It's obviously direct. It's quite short. That's why centre bounce clearances are so important, because you win that, you're already at the top of the square or having a shot on goal. But it is quite wide, so there's a lot of space out there. In terms of the actual surface area, there is a lot of space. So if you're smart and change the angles, you can really find a heap of space and find uncontested marks. And that's why I think you can play through the corridor, because you can stretch the ground wide. So they play them out wide. You watch the Swans when they exit. A Rose or someone sitting out here on the wing, they come out wide, and then there's shifts to defence, and then they cut back into the corridor. So, it's short, but it's wide. There's plenty of area.
Yeah, I think it's more that bit too, because there's probably half a kick shorter. That if you can get that turnover, if a team turns the ball over around half back, certainly corridor, you can bounce back through it pretty quick in the middle of the ground, and you can get your kick long and direct, sort of the top of that square, pretty easy.
Jed says, great call, fellas. How can the Swans have 4 key forward tools and then see them shank the kicks? This is their role. Kick goals, playing flash footy as well, and then losing possession. Wake up, Swans, and play strong and straight. Thank you, Jed, for your forthright opinion.
That could be the halftime chat.
Yeah, it's totally true. I think that the Swans are their own worst enemy sometimes. They beat themselves by poor foot use and those opportunities in front of goals. So they've got to kick it. But I think I did touch on before, I think Hayden McLean's coming just to be that chop out for Grundy, definitely play that second ruck role, which with 5 on the bench, I think that's a great... Well, at the start of the year, everyone's going, how are we going to use this 5th player? Not their move. I think this is a model they're going to use, particularly teams that are going to try and double team Grundy.
Kathy and Berwick points out Dan Butler is also in the premiership winners list at the Saints.
Sorry, not in the team today.
No, that was the whole idea. You named the 3 players in today's 23.
Who was that? Who was on the text line on that?
Kathy.
Kathy listening better than Sado. Thanks, Kathy.
What do we throw, premierships in the club? Do you throw an Enright in there? And
oh, look out.
All those in there as well.
This can't be real. Chuka says, help me settle a bet. Who had a better career, Joey Danaher or Scott Gumbleton? Who? Chuka, I hope that's not your coin on Scott. Nothing against Scott. He had injuries and that was just awful for Scotty Gumbleton, but Joey Danaher won a flag and got to sort of ride off into the sunset. And then again, does the flag...
No, it's Danaher.
I'm just thinking, well, the flag probably does...
No need to play devil's advocate here.
I can take the flag out. It's still Danaher.
Oh, yeah. Scotty Gumbleton.
Is Scotty sitting with him? Is this what's going on here? Or, sorry.
He's in Wodonga, Chuka, and Scotty Gumbleton's... He's from Mandurah, isn't he? Is he over WA?
Sorry.
Anyway.
Who's Scotty Gumbleton?
Come on. Joey, anyway, I'm happy to entertain all those sort of things, but that is a bit out there, Chuka. Thank you for your text. 0437 774 774. The Saints by 8 points here at the halftime break. By the way, in the NRL, so around the grounds here, the Penrith Panthers, the almighty Penrith Panthers, beat West Tigers 68-0. What? Biggest margin in their club history.
Wow.
And this does nothing to make us think the pen that comp by a fair way. That is an almighty win.
I'm interested to see Benji Marshall's press conference after that one.
Yeah, in the NRL. Wow. And by the way, there's also the game underway at Shark Park where St George Illawarra 8 leads Cronulla Sutherland 6. They're looking for back-to-back wins, the Wooden Spoon favourites, the Dragons. Anyway, we'll keep you across all of that. And, of course, coming up at the MCG tonight, Essendon versus Carlton. King's Birthday Eve, if you like. Of course, into the big freeze tomorrow, the Pies and the Ds at the MCG. It'll be an amazing occasion, of course. All the blue beanies. There's a few here at the SCG today, but, of course, added significance of Neil Danaher's recent passing. This is his legacy, and it's going to be massive at the MCG tomorrow. Speaking of NRL players, Jai Arrow will be there to toss the coin. Of course, he's currently going through MND at 30 years of age, which is just sad and terrifying and all of that. So the Saints by 8 points here. It is time for us to head to the ABC Newsroom.
Hello, this is ABC News with David Rowlands. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has pushed back against criticism of the AUKUS Pact, saying the nuclear submarine deal remains firmly in Australia's interests and that the project is proceeding full steam ahead. More from our defence correspondent, Tom Lowry in Canberra.
The Prime Minister's launched a pretty strong defence of the AUKUS Pact, going back to essentially the fundamental principles underpinning this whole pact, that Australia is an island nation, he says, that does need a fleet of nuclear-powered submarines to defend itself. AUKUS has been in the headlines quite a bit this week, prompted by that significant change to the pact that was announced last weekend, that Australia will buy 3 in-service or second-hand submarines from the United States rather than 2 second-hand Virginia-class submarines and 1 new one, as was originally planned.
US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is reportedly considering using frozen Iranian funds to pay for damage caused by Iranian strikes on allied Gulf states. The BBC's David Bamford takes up the story.
Reports widely circulating in US media suggest the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, may propose that seized Iranian assets be used to pay for any future damage to US allies in the Gulf. The reports also say a team will assess the cost of repairing damage already inflicted by Iranian missiles and drones. The proposals appear to draw on previous suggestions that frozen Russian assets be used to pay for reconstruction in Ukraine. Iran has recently called on the US to unfreeze more than $20 billion of its assets as part of a potential peace agreement.
The man killed by a shark off Western Australia's southern coast yesterday has been identified as 35-year-old Daniel Turpin. The Albany local was spearfishing with family off the coast of the tourist town when he was bitten just before midday local time. He was rushed back to shore where he was met by paramedics but could not be saved. In a statement, Mr Turpin's family have described him as an adored husband, son, brother and uncle who had a lifelong love and deep respect for the ocean. They say they are devastated by the loss and are still coming to terms with what occurred. Harrowing details have emerged about a Melbourne school teacher who went missing during a trip to India. Danushi Dayas reports.
Indian authorities continue to investigate the alleged murder of Melbourne schoolteacher Sunil Sharma, who went missing last month. Mr. Sharma was in India to prepare an investment property for sale. Indian police allege he was murdered by his own brother. They allege Mr. Sharma's brother drugged him and then attacked him with a baseball bat, which caused a fatal head injury. Local authorities also suspect that Mr. Sharma's sister-in-law and nephew were involved in the destruction of evidence and disposal of his body. Mr. Sharma's daughter says the heinous crime has robbed them of a man with a good heart who made an impact on many students throughout his career.
An American student who went missing on a family holiday to Japan has been found dead near Kyoto. The body of James Higginbotham was found on a mountainous range by a volunteer search and rescue group. The 20-year-old had been missing since May the 29th when he was seen leaving a Kyoto train station. Northern Territory health authorities have taken hundreds of diphtheria vaccines to this weekend's Burunga Festival south of Katherine as part of their ongoing vaccination drive. While authorities say the spread has slowed down, the outbreak remains a serious concern in the NT, especially in remote Indigenous communities. The Burunga Festival attracts people from all over the top end, and lead nurse Michelle Fielding says the festival vaccination program is a wonderful opportunity to reach people who usually live in remote areas.
We've got 750 vaccines, which we've brought down from Darwin, and we maintain our cold chain with a process of eskies that have ice bricks in them, and then also an Engel fridge that freezes the ice bricks, and then a special little vaccine fridge. So we keep our cold chain all the way from Darwin to here, and we can keep that esky and cold chain for a good 24 to 48 hours.
The Financial Times newspaper is reporting OpenAI is planning its biggest ChatGPT overhaul to date, aiming to turn it into a super app. The report says the overhaul will involve coding tools and AI agents to boost revenue ahead of a planned share listing. It also says the changes are part of a broader reorganisation at OpenAI as it shifts resources to target lucrative enterprise clients and intensify competition with its rival, Anthropic. That brings you up to date with the latest ABC News. We'll have more in 1 hour's time.
There's no doubt that country music is bigger than ever right now. Join me, Outback Tom, as I get you around the artists that are blazing a trail. Listen to Country Club, Sunday night at 6 on ABC Country or anytime you like on the ABC Listen app.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Bounce back here for the Saints. Owens receives the hand pass and now does snap from 40 out. Beautiful work off one step. Welcome back, Mitch Owens.
Goes back to Blakey. He pulls a kick into the middle at the top of the 50. It's McInerney. His kick to Wilson. Well, it was to Grundy, but Wilson smothered it. He handballs forward to Wanganeen Miller, who's going to send it into the third tier. A gift of a goal for St Kilda. Just what the Swans can't do. And the Saints have hit 50. We've played 4 minutes in the second term.
No point having 4 tools and can't kick it to them. Jeez, the inside 50 kicks have been horrendous.
Yeah. Owens comes it inside 50. No target there. Grundy or Sarong. Coughed it up here in the path of Garcia. Back to Wilson. Quick snap. Vacant square. It'll bounce through. Oh, the Saints can do no wrong. And Darcy Wilson's on the board.
And running away is Roses with the loose footy. Steps to his right. Handball forward inside 50 to Lloyd. He gets a call. Running is Logan McDonald. Handball into the goal square. They can't miss from here, can they? No. Hayden McLean kicks from point blank range. They go end to end. Had to contest. Pushed instead. It meant the ball fell to the ground and Roses. Speedy Roses. He runs from 50 to 30 to 10. Moves around on his left foot and snaps the goal from open play.
Just the preferred pocket for the Swans players. Pep's right in front of
Jakey Lloyd should have grabbed that ball. Anyway, yeah, definitely.
He's going to make you look silly here.
I hope he does.
He's going to kick this. Have to cross the boundary line. On its way. Coming back. Beautifully. Is it? There it is. He's in the way. Shrugs the tackle. Snaps in the pocket of Marty. Curls it around the post. Oh, didn't the Swans love that? Swans back inside 50, all there at full forward. Kerno by himself, and he shapes to pop it through and further cuts back St Kilda's lead to just 8 points as we approach the half-time break.
Justin McInerney has been injured in the last minute of that second quarter with what appears to be a hamstring injury. We'll keep you updated.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
That's the story of the game so far. The Saints lead by 8 points. It was at one stage 33, the margin for them. But that news we heard there at half-time. So no Justin McInerney for the Sydney Swans with what looks like a hamstring complaint. And we'll have an update very, very soon. In fact, I reckon he's headed your way, Phil Pryor. If I can just head down to you, I can see one J McInerney with the ice on that right hammy. Down to you.
Yeah, your eyes are not deceiving you. That is the case. Ice on the right upper leg of Justin McInerney. He is confirmed out, as you would imagine. It's being reported by the club as hamstring tightness. So, of course, the Swans...
better or worse than awareness?
Well, yeah, I think it's marginally worse than awareness, but probably better than anything, you know, of the higher grade.
Yeah.
Now, the Swans are playing Port in Adelaide in 6 days from now, so next Saturday. Then it's a bye. So if it is only tightness, you'd assume that he's back for that Brisbane game after that.
All right, second half not too far away here. 0437 774 774. Nick says you got to fact check yourselves here on the SCG length. It's 5 metres shorter than the MCG, so it's irrelevant. I thought he was going to fact check my Scott Gumbleton stats. Which, by the way, I was surprised.
Half a kick shorter.
Fact check what though? We said it.
I think he's saying it's overblown how much shorter it is compared to other grounds. That's what he's saying, Nick. Appreciate it.
I think it's 156 metres long.
That's accurate.
I think so, because when they did the new stand, they did extend it from a few years ago.
156. It's more like 140.
Hey, it can't be 140. Got 50. The square's 50.
Sorry, it's 156. Yeah, okay. I thought it was.
Let's fact check that. Let's Google. Let's Gemini that.
Now I'm getting lost. Shane from Perth says, "Love the call as always. Hoping Grundy and the Swans lift in the second half. I'm looking forward to my Baggers and Mackay showdown at the Savo. Yeah, the Savo Perth time, of course, tonight at the MCG. You'll hear the call with Matt Clinch, Ben Cameron, Daniel Harford, Chad Wingard and Lauren Borden. We'll have coverage as soon as we're finished here at 6:30 Eastern time, and the opening ball up at 7:20 at the MCG for the Bombers and the Blues.
And just on the Swans injury list, it is sneakily growing a little bit. So we've had Errol out most of the year. Papley, Braden Cow hasn't played a game yet. Rampy, Melican, now McInerney, and they've just got back Roses, Roberts and Mills. So that is quite a few players now that they will be a little bit worried about.
What's the fact check say, Pebs?
155.
155.
Pretty good, within 1 metre. Let's see. What's the MCG then?
A bit more than that. Saints by 8 points here. Jason Saddington.
Yeah.
How can they hang on to the game? Because this will be the concern for Ross Lyon. We've said they've been inconsistent across 4-quarter efforts. They've lost games by small margins. How do they keep in front of the contest?
They've just got to keep their pressure up on the Swans. Certainly when they get the ball in the front half, if they can put the pressure on, keep forcing the Swans to turn the ball over. Don't let their run game get going off half back. I think that's going to be the biggest key for the Saints, to make sure that they keep the Swans contained, but also continue to hit the scoreboard when they get those opportunities.
Yeah, they've got to really make the most of any opportunity and maybe find another scoring source besides Swans turnover.
Second half underway. Here's Declan Byrne.
TDK with the tap towards Wanganeen Miller, who missed it. Warner picks up the loose one. Handball, probably should have kicked because he gave it to Blakey, who was basically attached to his teammate. Ball comes loose. Garcia tracks it, taps it forward cleverly, and then gets space. Steps inboard off his right foot on centre wing. Handball to Bradley Hill, then to Windhager, who looks inside 50. Mucked up his kick just a little bit. Sarong was there in front. He tried to get it over the top to Hall, who ends up laying a tackle. Ryan's there on the ground. He reefs the ball out. It's up for grabs. Sarong spikes it over the boundary line, just forward of the right forward flank, forcing Kilda. No change to the score. The Saints lead by 8.
Declan, you're spot on. There's a kick. It's straight out of... Then you're playing the ball right in the top of your square.
Well, never mind the chat about Charlie Curnow being a flat track bully. That was the Chad Warner narrative, Pebs, is he has one good game and then 2 bad ones. And, of course, they won by 19 goals last week against the Tigers. He had a pretty good game then. Here's So Koning, hand pass out in space. Lake off the deck here for Wilson. Burst with a Lloyd tackle, picked off by the Swans and Rowbottom, and now Blakey back to Rowbottom. And he evades Mason Wood to go to the outer side. And Marty reaching from behind, claims the mark from behind there on Caminiti. And the Swans have got some dash going here. Lloyd sends them inside 50, but only player back there is Silvani, who intercepts facing his own defensive goal. Looping hand pass wide back to Bradley Hill, exits defensive 50, and it's Campbell Lake on debut who marks at right half back.
Running well, who's involved in the play in the forward half. Chips it over the top. Dangerous one because Roses closes on Hill. Spoils the ball. Hill was clever. Used his age and experience to get past Roses. Gives it to Wanganeen Miller. His kick in board is risky. 3-on-3. Who wins it? Swans. Heaney gives it up though. Handballs it straight to Mitch Owens, who kicks in the direction of Liam Ryan. And he bumps off his man, but coming late was Edwards with the nice fist. Swans have the out with Mills, handballing inside there, D50, comes back to Mills. The 1-2 works with Lloyd, who goes forward to Jordan. His right boot is a chaos ball. Rowbottom was there, but they turn it over. They're playing too nice a host today, Sydney.
Windhager to Sinclair, wide hit Hasty, and he goes to half forward. Ryan leads up and marks. Still a long way from home here, Liam Ryan. 70 from goal on the outer side of the SCG. And he just skews his kick inside 50 to Koning, claims the grab. He got very low to it. Crowd saw a half volley. The Koning paid the mark here in the left forward pocket, 35 out.
Wanted to go to the DRS for this one.
Yes. No, he gets his hand.
Yeah, that's it. That's the mark. But again, the Swans are using the ball. It can be frustrating for the fans to watch them do what they do, and then the Saints have just been really, really good at pouncing on their turnovers and having scoring opportunities off the back of it.
One of the most expensive players in the AFL, Tom de Koning. A big task against Brodie Bunny today. He's got the set shot here from 40 out, and he sprays it across the face. So no goals as yet for either side in this second half. And St Kilda leads by 9 points.
Riley Bice at the point of the goal square. He waits, looks central, looks right, ends up going left to Tom McCartan, who was there the whole time in the left back pocket. They're hemmed in here. Saints don't mind this is the first kick. They'll make a contest if it's a kick up the line. McCartan doesn't want to do that, so he goes back to Bice, who'd retreated to the right back pocket. Well, they're hemmed in here as well. Liam Ryan up on the mark early, putting pressure on Bice. Might have to play on here. No, instead goes back to the left where it began. It was with Bice, then McCartan. Now Bice, now Wicks, and they're going to have to run it to get it out. Handball forward to Roberts, inboard to Wicks, who was under all sorts of pressure. That was not the play. Oh, and luckily for the Swans, Paul was a bit too eager with the tackle as Wicks missed it. He tackled him without the ball, and Swans get the free kick just forward of half-back.
They did all the hard work defensively, St Kilda. They hemmed him in, and once the Swans took the risk with the extra handball to run it out off half-back, they had the pressure. They forced the turnover, but just overzealous, Max Hall.
100-gamer Wicks goes for a trot, and now a kick towards half-forward. And Marty was held out by Silvani, floating across Caminiti. Intercepts at right half-back here for the Saints.
Three turnovers at half-forward again for the Swans to start the quarter.
And he did his hamstring on his last visit to Sydney, round 2 against the Giants. Big leap from de Koning. Couldn't quite pull it down. At the drop, Garcia bursts by, all by himself. It's marked by Sharman. Looks at the sticks from 40 out, closer to home. Liam Ryan marks at full forward. So the chain that began at half-back here for the Saints ends with Liam Ryan taking a set shot, looking for his 4th of the Arvo, and he pops it through. So, a little dance there as well from Liam Ryan. It was Michael Jackson inspired.
It was it?
So, 4th goal for Liam Ryan. Actually, he's kicked goals every game for his new club, including 3 in his last game against his old side West Coast in round 7. He had the calf injury since then. Back today, 4 goals in 2 and a bit quarters for Liam Ryan. The Saints lead by 15 points.
And he's happy about it. He's happy about that post-goal celebration as well.
He should be. That was brilliant. Little Michael Jackson. The old kick step and
Moonwalk, was it? I missed it.
No.
A little hat tip.
Yeah, there's a little hat tip in there and the...
Oh, okay. So Nestaria and Kunda did that for the Socceroos.
Okay. This is the stuff that goes over my head, the Socceroos.
Michael Jackson back in vogue. I'm not sure how I feel.
It's because of the movie. There's a movie that's just come out.
The documentary.
Hang on, here's the celebration.
Okay, yeah. He had...
Is that Nestaria and Kunda, is it?
Well, I see someone in the EPL did it, I think, too, late in the season.
That stuff goes over my head.
Clearance the way of the Swans. Sheldrick. It's a small handball the way of Grundy. They're going backwards. Kick over the shoulder out in front of Sheldrick, who has to leap high, grab it. Looks around, no one there. Heaney arrives, handballs it to him, and Sheldrick gets another possession. Forward handball once more. Lloyd, wrong steps his opponent and turns it over. Story of the day, Swans giving it to the Saints.
And now Mason Wood wins it back for St Kilda. Hand pass swept wide here for Bradley Hill. On the outer side of the SCG, up inside 50. Ryan crashes the pack. He cleans up McCartan, who's still down. Ball comes loose for Heaney. Wicks back to Sarong. Danger here for Tom McCartan, who's now holding his head. The Saints will go back inside 50, and Hall does kick, but the umpire blows time off to get this addressed.
It got crunched.
Hasn't had one this year, but last year had another concussion because there was a run of them, just like his older brother.
That's brilliant from Liam Ryan, though.
Full body of Liam Ryan coming one way and McCartan going the other, and he came down very heavily, the Sydney defender.
So he missed 9 games in 2023 after a concussion and then some complications.
Yeah, he's gone. That's concussion bad. He's gone that rigor mortis sort of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You go stiff. That's. Of course, he hasn't got rigor mortis.
Not that bad.
I said rigor mortis like.
Well, he looked a bit dazed. So you're right. He's coming from.
No, his hand. It was like all the fingers. All.
I get you. Yeah. He's sort of stiffened up. I'm with you.
There's a word for it. Any medical on the text, any doctors out there, please send
0437774774. But the important thing here is he's coming from the ground, Tom McCartan. So repeating, no Justin McInerney with a hamstring injury for the Swans, and now Tom McCartan, who we expect will take no further part in the game.
He's jogging off. But, that'll be a huge loss.
Massive.
McCartan's out of the game. He's been brilliant with his intercept marking again today. He was fantastic last week. That'll be a huge loss, a bit of a reshuffle in the back half, and it really opens up an opportunity for St Kilda.
Melican's hammy as well, so he's out the side. So key defenders also missing for the Swans.
Well, one of these big forward might have to go back.
So we're inside the Saints attacking 50 now. Danger signs. The handball comes. No, it was holding the ball. Good tackle from James Jordan, who is rewarded 30 metres out from his own goal. Saints push back quickly, so he can only go laterally. 15-metre kick to Sarong. Same patch of turf, just the other side of the posts. And they will have to take a risk. They'll head out towards McLean and McDonald. They're the talls. McDonald, one-on-one against Burns. He had the height advantage and he used it and used his strength. Kick inboard to Jordan. Plays on quickly to running Blakey. The Lizard, under pressure, kicks towards McLean. Easy pickings for Jack Silvani. They gave it to Blakey, who had half a second before he was about to be tackled. Another turnover from the Swans.
One of their 4 new faces this year, Silvani, kicks down the wing, spoil from Jai Sarong, mopped up by Max Hall of the Saints, kept it alive there, off to Ryan Burns, and now he kicks off balance, only as far as Blakey at left half back here for Sydney. So Kilda leads by 15 points. They'll kick the only goal of this second half so far. Blakey on his preferred left side. Down that members wing, McLean spoils from behind on Wilkie, mopped up by Silvani, back to the Saints co-skipper. And now it's back with Liam Stocker. Among their 6 inclusions, Stocker, up it goes. Pack forms, missed all of them, and Sharman and Sarong set out of bounds for a throw-in, not far away from you, Phil Pryor on the boundary.
Yeah, that's right. Jai Sarong was the one that took it out over the boundary, and he's the one that's popped back in to that back 6 for McCartan, as he does during games as well. He's actually kind of a wing defender hybrid, so that is pretty natural.
So he's on Mitch Owens, Sarong. Owens would fancy himself. Ball to the front of the contest after it was thrown in. Maxwell got it, and Grundy laid into him. 3 or 4 weight divisions difference. Grundy didn't mind. So he'll have a ball up, 8 metres in from the interchange bench. Grundy gets rid of De Koning. He's throwing anyone and everyone around. Can he spark the Swans? Handball to Roberts, then to Jordan, outside of the right foot. Well, that was the intention. He was flattened as he kicked it. It was out on the full. And Jack Sinclair will be the beneficiary for the Saints, who will start this attack from just their defensive side of halfway. They still lead. It's 15 points at the moment. We've played 10 minutes into the third.
The pressure on the ball's been good. The Swans, every time they're trying to kick the ball to half forward, they're just giving it back to St Kilda.
Sinclair down the line, 2-on-2, as Sharman has paid the mark on that boundary line at right half forward with the Saints. Pops it inside 50. Marshall leads up, but Edwards paddles it away for a throw-in. Dan's all over it, by the way, on the SMS. Dan from East Perth. As far as Jai Sarong's history as a key defender, says maybe he takes the mantle there from McCartan due to the concussion. So that's what they've done, Dan. As Phil Pry mentioned a short time ago, Saints by 15 points here, 12 gone third term, ABC Sport.
He's been a good in for them, can play all three lines. Tap comes to Garcia, who's been one of the better Saints players. Snap on goal, bending. In fact, he started it so wide that it didn't even make it round to the behind post. He's claiming it was touch, which you would if you kicked it out on the full. Umpire's having none of it. So Swans will bring it back in. It's with Wicks. 100 game up. Forward turn back. Gets it back. He delivers long down the line. Armadi arrives late, as does Curnow. They make a contest of it. Who's there to crumb? Well, Garcia is there to tackle. What a game he's having. He's up to 19 touches, couple of tackles. He's doing well. Ball up next to the centre square.
Marshall out of the ruck. Hurried kick inside 50 to Koning. Crashes the pack. Cleans up Owens, his teammate, in the process. Loose ball comes to Wilson, who shapes up from 35 out and swings it through. A couple of goals for Darcy Wilson amongst the chaos there for St Kilda. De Koning just collided with his teammate there in Owens, but Wilson was on that loose footy. And the Saints get the better of things in this third term. They're out by 21 points, 13-6-84.
Will Edwards
9-9-63.
Sorry. Will Edwards, he went straight to his hand, and Blakey's setting up for a kick out.
So it's touched after all that. Anyway, by the way, off the SMS, one of our medical friends in Perth tells us in the profession, they refer to the limb changes with the hand injury as posturing. That's what they describe, the stiffness, when you sort of fall. That's one of the words they use. Okay. You know, I'm not a doctor myself.
That's all right. Sounds like Edwards' social media trend.
Edwards did touch that. There's a bit of posturing going on. He did touch that ball from Wilson, so it won't be a goal for Darcy Wilson. And thus it will just be a behind. And that means that the Saints will lead by 16.
Even though it's a point, the Saints have looked the better side this first half of this quarter. They're keeping that attacking movement and attacking the Swans' defence, and it's paying off. They're looking really, really dangerous.
Blakey touched number 16. He pointed out to the right and then faked it, went left, got a few metres on Ryan, delivers long towards the logo. McLean front spot, the spoil claim from Wilkie. They get the free kick. Rowbottom thinks about playing on, but they stop that. Goes to Grundy and then wide to Logan McDonald. Still a good 2 and a bit kicks from goal. He has short options. Grundy inside. Instead, uses the short one, which is Blakey. A few metres in from the boundary line. 16 points the lead to St Kilda. They've led from the 20th minute mark of the first term. Deep kick from Blakey. At the back was Grundy. Wasn't in good position. Fisted it to the front. Nice tackle from Roses on Stocker. Crowd were a little bit eager. He didn't have much of a time. So we'll have a ball up inside 50 Swans.
It's been a while since we've had the ball up here.
Down it comes. Warner escapes the tackle of Garcia. Ball does jar free though. Bradley Hill picked it up with James Rowbottom, and the umpire says give it to me for a ball up.
Well, it's been a while since they've been a little bit more methodical and patient with their ball use going forward, rather than giving a handball to someone under pressure and they're just doing a volley kick to the opposition.
Saints by 16. Free kick going St Kilda's way. Marshall was held. And now back to Nasiah Wanganeen Millerer. Short kick Bradley Hill. Three-time premiership winner. Former Hawthorn Hawk and Freo Docker. Skids it wide here for Wilkie. And he pops it out in the path of Mason Wood.
Mason Wood marks in front of Lloyd. Goes quickly to Wilson. They seem to have a few metres on their opponents, St Kilda, at the moment. Wilson did on Jordan. Unsurprising. Wilson, 2-time time trial winner for St Kilda. He's an elite runner. Kicks inside 50. Massive pack of players. And Marshall cruises across. He got the free kick in the right back pocket, and he takes the mark in a pack of 8, just 20 metres out. He'll kick on a really tight angle. So he's going to turn his body to the side and try hook it round with his right foot.
Oh, is this a normal go for ruckman? I know forwards do this, but the ruckman kick around the corner?
It's not even a tight angle.
He stops and waits, has a breath. He gets a lead and nearly honours the lead. Instead, he goes round the corner and is straight up in the air. Up for grabs there. Can they get a crumbing goal instead? No, Swans are there. Wicks clearing kick outside 50.
Clears the area. Big pack forms again. Up goes McLean. Down to Rowbottom. He couldn't quite get out of the way for Cleary. Brought down by Marshall. McRae to Bradley Hill. And now Wanganeen Miller up for the Saints. And he fires the pass inside 50 that finds the chest of Callum Mills. Swans are away again. Hand pass Wicks to Jordan. Turns them inside out. Back to his skipper, Mills. Exits defensive 50. Back to Chad Warner.
Well done from Jordan there, who went to just use that chaos handball but thought a second time, and they slow it down wisely. Sheldrick has the footy 60 metres from his defensive goal. He's just going to have to go up the line. A hit and hope comes to the front. Nice from McLean. Through hands to Jordan from Rowbottom. McLean just outside 50, kicks to Roses, who has an age. Just marks inside. Right forward pocket, 1 foot inside that coat of paint. And moves it quickly, and Roses was first to react. He's out the back. Now, he will have to go round the corner. No doubt about it. He's also not a ruckman.
Yeah, he's also on the boundary line too, so...
Left foot, round the corner. Yes, Roses. Important one. Second goal. And they match St Kilda 1 apiece in this third quarter. So that brings it back to a 10-point margin. 12-7-79, 10-9-69. Sunday arvo into early evening here at the SCG. And Ryan O'Keefe and Jason Saddington are your experts.
It wasn't fast, flashy, but Sheldrick didn't rush or try and squeeze something that wasn't there or give a handball with someone under pressure. Down the line, get a contest crumb, and then they get a nice forward entry. I'm not sure whether they're reading their own press about the handball and how the Swans are number one and how... Sometimes they just overuse it so much time, and the Saints have been really good at pressuring him and forcing that turnover. So I'd love to see them dial it back a bit, and they've got enough skill across the ground and ability to be able to play a little bit more smarter and go forward.
Saints by 10. Marshall beats McLean in the ruck. Hand pass off to Wanganeen Miller. Shows some dash here. Away from Blakey inside 50. Spills off the chest of Filippo. They pounce in here from all angles. We'll come back here for a hold going Sydney's way. We'll go the way of Harry Kyle, the second gamer. Damo in Japan is listening on the bullet train between Tokyo and Osaka, hoping the Saints can hold on. 0437 774 774. This kick goes wide to Edwards. Wood meets him. Funton brings it over the boundary line. We'll throw it back in on the eastern side of the SCG. Saints by 10. 19 gone, third quarter. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, the Saints can. They just need to make sure they keep their pressure right. One thing they haven't done this quarter is probably capitalise on some of those shots or amount of ball they've had inside 50.
Sheldrick on Wanganeen Miller. That's a mismatch. Down the front. Sheldrick nearly grabs it. It bounced over the top of him. Cleary picks it up. Handball high in the sky. Warner tapped it towards Cleary, but it was heading boundary, and that is where it goes.
And if Rowan Marshall actually kicks a drop punt when you're having your shot for goal, that makes a big difference, doesn't it? And this is what you talk about Jason Dunstall earlier in the commentary around him. He said, as long as you practice it, you go for it. But I'm sure Rowan Marshall doesn't practice that kick.
TDK v McLean. Neutral tap. Garcia read it best again. He's having a good day here at the SCG. Handball back to Hasty to a 3-on-3. Ryan flew. He might have got a push. Wicks was at the back, and he did get a push. So Wicks took the mark uncontested. It was too good to be true. Liam Ryan shoved as he eyed off a Specky.
It was a hand. It wasn't much more, but it was there.
Well, it was almost looked worse because Ryan still flew and then tumbled, flipped over himself.
I think he just cannoned into Millsy. And
as he went to jump, you could see Wicks' hands into his back.
Liam Ryan on the 20-minute mark of the third term. Flying Ryan out for 5 weeks. Well, today at the SCG, he misses going for his 5th goal. It hits the left upright. And the crowd believe maybe that is a bit of footy karma. 11 points the lead to the Saints.
Jeez, they enjoyed that, the crowd, didn't they? Didn't like the free kick.
They did
enjoyed
not.
to hit the post.
Still Liam Ryan's best effort as a Saint in his new club. So goals in every game, and now a best in Saints colours of 4 goals this afternoon. The Swans ship it around in their defensive 50. Blakey out to Sarong, who's in that key defensive post for Tom McCartan, who's had a head knock. Of course, had a history of those. Dicey kick looking for Mills. Owens makes the contest, and out comes loose. Filippo reaching for it. Sarong's hand pass almost there for Hall. Blakey kicks in some danger, but Sheldrick combines with Harry Kyle. Warner off to Heaney. Stands, delivers by hand back to Harry Kyle. Still going to Swans and Rowbottom. His kick smothered. Great work down there by Hasty. Hot footy here in the point of the square. Bundled down there is Stocker. They pile it again from all angles, and the umpire will ball it up at left half forward for the Swans. The Saints lead by 11 points, 22 gone in the third quarter.
De Koning leaps over McLean. Garcia, left foot snap. It's the clearance. Mills flies. 2 grabs and missed it just on the logo. Ball comes loose. Kyle handballs it back to Sarong, who was on the ground. Then to Blakey. They're away here. Can Roberts get one back after that skill error? Well, it's not great. Bounces in front of Sheldrick. Puts him under pressure. It is so messy today for the Swans. Have not seen them this untidy for a while, and thankfully on the counter, St Kilda missed their kick. It goes out in front of Marshall. He touched it as it went over the line, so we will have a ball in about 80 metres from the Saints' goal.
It's like watching the Oz kick at half-time. Oh, ball's decked, turnover, miss this, miss that. It's
contagious.
Oh, that kick, what was that kick inside for? It's just baffles me.
St Kilda by 11. De Koning flies in the ruck in front of McLean. Down here to McRae, and now sent forward by foot with Burns. Heaney makes the contest from Wangani Miller out of bounds on the junction of 50 here at the Saints attacking end. That is in Adelaide, which is quite sunny. Sunny Adelaide. I go into posturing mode in bed every morning on my work days. Going on you, Clint. 0-4. I thought posturing was like sort of sticking out your chest, walking tall and having a good posture. 11 points here, the Saints lead. De Koning up in front again. That is the ground ball. Back to McRae. Swings it wide. Back into the corridor. Liam Ryan reaching again. Down comes Sharman. Spinning through here. Mason Wood for the Saints as well. Swans have defensive numbers. Callum Mills farms out a hand pass. Retrieves it now off to Lloyd. They exit defensive 50.
Up towards Armadi in a 1-on-2. Wilkie flew. No regard for safety. Spoiled the ball, and he will come away with it as well. Rewarded. His handball towards Lake just misses the target. Swans have numbers. Great tackle. The intensity around the contest. Saints have that. Kick towards Ryan, who's just inside 50. It landed short of him. Kicked outside 50 again, but it's going to come back. Wilkie towards a pack of players just inside, and Mills, the skipper, trying to get him going with a fist. Goes straight up, lands on the paint. Nice tackle from Harry Kyle. Follows it up with a second tackle as the ball spilt loose. And we'll have a ball up a couple of metres in from the boundary line, right on the 50 metres, where the Saints are attacking, and they have that 11-point lead.
Down it comes. First hands to it, Bice. Chopped off, though, by Max Hall. Now Marshall towards full forward for the Saints. De Koning was held. Play on here. Gathered back to De Koning, who pops it through on the goal line. Smart thinking. Cooper Shum was there as well. Shared the hand pass back to him, and De Koning sends it through for his second goal. And the Saints keep their nose in front. It's 17 points their way. 12-8 plays 10-9. They'll check and see if Edwards got a hand to this. I fancy it was slick work. Sharman ran around the goal post after he got the hand pass. Oh, hang on. Does the ball go over the behind line? Ooh, this is the concern.
Has to be the whole ball, though, doesn't it?
I reckon, but the post actually obscures the angle. So I think you'll find if the ball's behind the post, this will actually be behind. No, it's goal. Okay, wasn't the whole ball then. So it is a second goal for Tom De Koning. And the Saints lead by 17 points, 25 gone, third quarter here at the Sydney Cricket Ground.
It was brilliant work from the Saints. I mean, Sharman to gather that ball on the goal line. It was the contest probably from De Koning just before it, the marking contest. Yeah. He almost marked it, but great to get the ball to ground. He's probably out of position. Sharman read the crumb, dished it back. De Koning gets the nice goal. He probably earned it in the marking contest he gave just prior.
They're starting to get some goals from like contest and stoppage work now, the Saints.
And I reckon the game's lifted in that regard itself. Like the ball's bobbling about. Peps, but I reckon the players are starting to pin ball off each other a bit too. There's bodies flying everywhere at present.
Windhager and Heaney are having a good crack at each other. They've been doing it for a lot of today. They're two in the middle right now. Grundy over the top of Marshall. Nasiah is there, gets rid of his opponent. Handball to Hall. Back to Nasiah. He loves this outside of the right boot kick. Inside 50, Lake holding his man. Pushed it towards a teammate. It comes back to Naz, who kicks it on goal. Towards the goal square. To Koning under it. Gets the spoil, the Swans defenders. Up for grabs. Wilson's there. He shirks a tackle outside of the right boot. It does not bend anywhere near enough. And that is a minor score, so the lead out to a neat 3 goals. Let's head downstairs, Phil Pryor.
Yeah, Tom McCartan officially out with concussion, so that's the second Swans player that is confirmed out now, joining McInerney.
Yeah, with the hamstring McInerney, and that's obviously concerning for Tom McCartan, given his history of concussions. I mentioned his brother Paddy, who of course played for the Saints as well. Had similar problems, but that will be costly for the Swans and their defensive makeup. It's with Chad Warner at right half back. Saints lead by 18 points here as he goes down the outer side of the SCG. Skids in space. Bradley Hill couldn't quite trap it. Had to get there, row bottom for the Swans. Didn't go 15 as it's intercepted by Jack Silvani, and the Saints send it back from whence it came. Another contest on the outer side. Up goes Warner against Hall, and that comes back for Lloyd of the Swans, the veteran. He turns Burns inside out. Goes inside 50. Wilkie diving for it. Couldn't bring it away. Cleary paddles it away there for McLean. He was brought down by Silvani. Gathered now by Taru. Wilkie tries again. Hand pass in space. Lloyd keeps competing with Burns. It's out of bounds for a throw-in front of that big screen and scoreboard, which says the Saints 13.87. Sydney Swans 10-9-69. 28 gone third quarter. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Head in hands, Ryan.
Yeah, the foot skills by a couple of players is just outrageous. For players at this level, they're consistently turning the ball over like that. It's not acceptable, I don't think. Like it's not up to the level you want to be, particularly if you want to be a premiership winning team.
Warner and Lloyd it was in that chain, who both scrubby old kicks. Have a ball up after a tackle from the ball in. Holding there on Marshall against Grundy. Free kick for St Kilda in their defensive half. Just when the Swans would have liked to peg one back. St Kilda will exit. The ruckman looking for someone to run by him. Bradley Hill gets the memo, doesn't run by him. They stand still. Marshall still offers him the handball. And Hill doesn't offer much more of a kick than I reckon Marshall would have. It goes to a pack of 4. Grundy doesn't mark but brings it forward. Heaney's there. Overruns it a little bit. We've got a free kick on play the way of St Kilda on the logo. In the hands of McRae.
McRae, it's a turnover straight to McDonald. And back to the Swans as soon as they can get their hands on him. McDonald goes wide, back to Warner. He's got the pink boots on the Savo as well. High kick inside 50, land about 40 out. A little shove there, McLean. No, Taru takes a clean mark, and he'll flare it across defensive goal here for the Saints. Wilson comes to find Campbell. Lake just forward of right half back. Lake adding some space for his co-captain Wilkie. Dummies a hand pass and now slows the game down. Back to the debutant. In front of the benches, Western side. Up to a 2-on-1. And Mills makes an effective spoil on Mitch Owens. Saints by 18 points as we approach the half-hour mark of this third term. I'll be loving this is the Freo fans, because if this keeps tracking the way it is, not only will Freo be 2 games clear on top, but also the percentage for the Swans will actually fall below the Dockers. So they'll be well out in front there, Freo, at the top of the AFL ladder if this keeps going.
Bright yellow Sharon spun back in to the front. Nasiah gives it off to Wilson. This is a low kick, almost works inside 50. It might. The crumb of Lake. His handball is chopped off. Mills involved again. Blakey on hands and knees, but Lake's there again. He's had a good few minutes doing the tough stuff, the debutant. Wrapping up the tackle is Heaney. Just on 50. We'll have a ball up. Campbell Lake played in the last 3 VFL Grand Finals. He won one with the Suns, and he lost the last 2 for Southport, including against the Swan out there, Riley Bryce. Gets his chance 12 days after getting picked. Ball's thrown up. Tap from Grundy went straight to Wilson. Windhager went over and wrenched the ball free as he was being tackled. Kicks it inside 50. It was a free kick anyway. It'll go to Malcolm Roses inside D50.
Roses called to play on now. Takes on Max Hall for pace. Room to bounce. Share it by hand to Jordan. From centre half back. Swings it all the way out into the outer side. Strong towering grab. McDonald lays off the hand pass to Lloyd. He wastes no time going inside 50. Reaching to the back, McLean. Wilkie was there first. Down to Rowbottom. He's brought down to the two-man tackle. Will ball it up. Down to Phil Pryor on the boundary.
At the other end of the ground, Nick Blakey's getting some attention now. He looks really proppy on his right leg.
There was a sort of tangle up with Campbell Lake a short time ago. Down it comes. Heaney through the pack again. That's what Isaac Heaney does.
And gives it to Winghager as well.
He crumbs the tap from Brodie Grundy on his left. He snaps his second goal today. Well, cometh the moment, cometh the man. Isaac Heaney cuts the Kilda's lead back to 12 points. So we approach three-quarter time. It's 13.87 to 11.975 in the last minute of this third term. Sunday footy, ABC Sport. Warren O'Keefe and Jason Saddington.
Yeah, it's a great cut-crumbing goal from a forward stoppage there from Isaac, and he shows his strength and class. Once he kicked it, he went straight back to Winghager and just absolutely got in his grill. Obviously, he's been niggling him all game, but watch this. Great body work. That is textbook, absolute A1 crumbing from a forward stoppage, and gives it to him, saying, you've been haggling me all game. You can never stop me, son. Never stop me.
And Windhager could do nothing because he was lying on his back. He just had to cop it. His teammates came in to help him out, but he's back in the middle now, pushing and shoving Heaney in the back. Centre of the SCG. Game on a knife edge right now. 12 points, 32 minutes. Can they find a goal before three-quarter time?
Talk celebrations. That was like Ali and Liston. He was on his back and he's leaning over him like he's just knocked him out.
Isaac Heaney, the Muhammad Ali of the AFL, according to Brett Sprigg. There's the quote. So middle of the ground, 60 seconds on the clock or so for this third quarter. 12 points to lead St Kilda. Tap forward is good from Grundy. Cleary did well in a one-on-one for the Swans. Kept it moving forward. No possession for him, but he beat the one-on-one. Another gain of 15 or so metres inside 50. Ball up 40 metres away. Grundy arrives quickly with Marshall, who taps it defensive side. Nice play from McRae, who heard the voice of Burns, gave it to him, then to McRae, and they are out by hand and now by foot. Although, did they turn it over? Sarong in a one-on-one. Lake now with it, and he goes inboard to Nasiah.
Goes off the hand passes, Wanganeen Miller up, back to Hasty. Back to Marshall inside D50. Oh, dicey ball here. Fresh hair shot from Wanganeen Miller up, picked up by Curnow. Tumbles it to a vacant square and through. Pressure makes errors, they make goals. Curnow gets his second. This time it was the Saints with another comedy of errors resulting in a second goal for Charlie Curnow. It's back to a 6-point margin. It's not been this small since midway stage of the first term here at the SCG. The Saints 13-987 leads Sydney 12-981. 34 gone third quarter. Sunday footy, ABC Sport. 2 goals for Charlie Curnow.
This would be absolutely shattering as a St Kilda supporter. It's much like the second quarter. They've had the advantage. They've kicked away. They've built out a little bit of a lead. They've played good footy, and they've given up late goals in the quarter. It's just devastating for them. They've done so much fantastic work.
Ball thrown up. Grundy down, and there will be no more scores. So the Swans kick a goal in the last 10 seconds of the third quarter. Heaney and Windhager still wrestling. Hall gets involved. They have to be pulled apart. Heaney gets a little pat on the head, and eventually both teams separate with the scoreline now just 6 points the difference. 13-9-87 to 12-9-81. I'll run you through the goal scorers for St Kilda, who are leading by a neat kick. Ryan has 4, DeConing 2, Sharman 2. Singles to Wilson, Wanganeen Miller, Owens, Hall and Sinclair. For the Swans, it was Curnow's second. He's kicked the last in now the second quarter and the third quarter, so he has 2. Heaney has a couple and Roses has a double. Singles to Warner, Rowbottom, Amadi, McInerney, who's out of the game, McDonald and McLean. Saints lead by a goal at three-quarter time here on ABC Sports, set for a big final term.
Listening to it across ABC Radio, News Radio and ABC. Listen, this is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
Meet the builder of dreams.
It's a great honour to be leading Tasmania's new football club.
Sam Pang's brand new office comedy, Ground Up.
Time to make a little history.
Ground Up starts tonight on ABC TV and ABC iView.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
At the drop, Garcia burst by, all by himself. It's marked by Sharman. Looks at the sticks from 40 out, closer to home. Liam Ryan marks at full forward, looking for his fourth of the Arvo, and he pops it through. So, a little dance there as well from Liam Ryan. Michael Jackson inspired.
To Jordan from Rowbottom. McLean just outside 50, kicks to Roses, who has an age. Just marks inside. Right forward pocket, 1 foot inside that coat of paint. Left foot, round the corner. Yes, Roses, important one. Second goal. And they match St Kilda 1 apiece in this third quarter.
On the outer side of the SCG, up inside 50. Ryan crashes the pack. He cleans up McCartan, who's still down.
Got crunched.
Full body of Liam Ryan coming one way and McCartan going the other. And he came down very heavily, the Sydney defender.
Yeah, that's concussion bad. He's gone that rigor mortis sort of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You go stiff. That's of course he hasn't got rigor mortis.
That bad.
I said rigor mortis like. There's a word for it. Any medical on the text, doctors out there.
To a 3-on-3. Ryan flew. He might have got a push. Wicks was at the back, and he did get a push. So Wicks took the mark uncontested. It was too good to be true. Liam Ryan shoved as he eyed off a specky. Flying Ryan out for 5 weeks. Well, today at the SCG, he misses going for his 5th goal. It hits the left upright. And the crowd believe maybe that is a bit of footy karma.
Koenig was held. Play on here. Gathered back to the Koenig, who pops it through on the goal line. Time to go. Down it comes. Heaney through the pack again. That's what Isaac Heaney does.
And gives it to Winghager as well.
He crumbs the tap from Brodie Grundy on his left. He snapped his 2nd goal today. Shot Martin Miller up, picked up by Curnow. Tumbles it to a vacant square through.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
On the last 2 occasions these sides have met, the margins have been less than a kick, and the average margin across their past 4 games has been 8. Currently, the Saints lead by 6 points at the final change here at the SCG. You're with Brett Sprigg alongside Declan Byrne, and our experts on ABC Sport are Ryan O'Keefe and Jason Saddington.
Well, we're in for a ripping final quarter, that's for sure. I mean, through that quarter there, St Kilda, they did well. Most of the quarter probably spent the ball in their front half of the grounds. The Swans continued to just kick the ball back to them at half forward. They're able to repel. The one thing the Saints weren't able to do is capitalise like they did in the second quarter. Didn't hit the scoreboard and kick the goals that they perhaps did in the second to sort of build away on that lead. But one thing that did sort of follow the trend from the second quarter was very late in the quarter, they coughed up a couple of goals again to the Swans. Heaney from some brilliant play from a forward 50 stoppage, he and Grundy. But then the turnover very, very late in the quarter, top of the 50, allowed Curnow to pounce and kick the goals. Just heartbreaking if you're a St Kilda fan, because they've done so much work, done a lot right to be in a really good position with a lead, to just give it back late in the quarter. So that might be enough, Pevs, for the Swans to get the sniff, get their game going. They haven't played their best football. And that's the danger for the Saints. They've done everything pretty well right. The Swans have been pretty wasteful. If the Swans can click and connect it, they may just cough up the game, the Saints.
Yeah, you're totally right there. The Swans have been going at about 2nd gear. And not through intensity or anything. I just think their ball use has been horrendous. But this, the end of this quarter, the 3rd quarter and the 2nd quarter, the Saints, they didn't need to score. They could just take the ice. Look, they've got down on the bench, they've got the signs held up and everything like that. The players know how long there's left in the quarter.
Yep.
You just got to take your time, go, all right, let's just get to quarter break. We've got a comfortable lead. Let's take this thing out of the game, get to the break, and we re-go again. And I don't know whether it's a bit of a lack of experience or they're trying to get caught up and playing the Swans' speed. And then the Swans are good at it because they practice it all the time. But as you've seen with the Saints, they've tried to do that and coughed it up a bit.
Western North Smith medalist Ryan O'Keefe here on ABC Sport. Now in exactly 1 hour's time, we'll be at the MCG for Essendon v Carlton. Matt Clinch, Ben Cameron, Daniel Harford, Chad Wingard, Lauren Borden on the call there. The battle of the two, shall we say, coachless teams. And, of course, two big Melbourne clubs there at the MCG, of course.
Caretaker Coach Cup.
Caretaker Coach Cup. Yeah, absolutely. Josh Fraser and Dean Solomon. 6 points is St Kilda's lead here at the SCG. Can the Saints claim a big scalp, or can the Swans see it through, having not led since the midway stage of the opening quarter? As day becomes night here in the Harbour City, fourth term underway. Taconing against Grundy. Wins it away here for the Saints. Off to Windhager. Clean entry inside 50. Owens, was he held? Comes down here. Mopped up by the Saints. And now on to Windhager. Flies on goal. Misses to the right-hand side. So a minor score. Saints lead by 7 inside the opening 20 seconds of this final term.
If he had kicked that, I think he would have been running back and getting in the face of Isaac Keaney, because he torched him out of the centre clearance and then got a shot on goal.
Sarong to Mills. Mills down the line. Roses too deep. Tried to fly. Probably just should have come and collect his opponent who marked it. St Kilda mark. 2 from goal. They wait and wait. It's Wood with the footy. Puts his left foot into it. Rising high. That's nice from Harry Kyle. One of his best moments. The second gamer. A nice intercept mark for the Swans as Callum Mills is down on the ground holding his left ankle.
That's not so nice for the Swans if he's cleaned up his skipper. He goes down the other side. Curnow in the contest. He's outnumbered. Gets a hand and now a boot to it. Spiralling ball towards half forward. Back with the front. Marty collides with Wilkie. There's some big bodies out there getting knocked all over the place. And now it's down there for a ball up at centre half forward for the Swans. Phil Pryor on the boundary.
Yeah, I reported Nick Blakey was looking a little bit proppy on his right leg. Well, he started this last quarter on the bench, but now he's looking over at Callum Mills saying, yeah, I can get back out there.
Heaney sockers it forward. Cleaned up by Wilkie for the Saints. Back here to Mason Wood. Almost run down by McDonald, and now Sinclair off a hurried kick. Right foot kick down the outer side. It'll bounce out of play here for a Sydney ball. In front of the O'Reilly stand, Saints by 7 points in the opening couple of minutes of this final quarter.
What we have seen with these injuries is the courage of the players. They've all been collisioned by players going back, not taking their eye off the ball. It just shows how tough these players are.
Edwards, low kick from that free kick. Roses again was behind his man and infringed here. Mason Wood. 2 from 2 this quarter against Roses. He has it in his defensive half. Looks to his left inside 50 instead. Up the line on the Bondi wing. Edwards there for the Swans, who fists as Owens tried to mark it. Wicks on the ground. Crumbs. Nice little in and under one to McDonald. Forward handball now to the side to Heaney. To Warner. He looks inboard the centre square. Run coming from Harry Kyle. He's kicked it low and neatly to Lloyd, who turns, goes inboard and over the top of Roses and wide of Curnow. He had 2 options and he splits them both. It goes out of bounds.
I reckon he had too much time and to think about it, and he went and go, I'll just hedge my bets, and did nothing. Well, his kicking's been off today, Lloydie. Like, he's generally a beautiful kick and great ball user.
Toss back in. Stoppage inside 50 for the Swans. Grundy to the front of De Koning. Lloyd pedals it away there for Warner. Centering ball, looking for Sheldrick. Had Hasty for company, mopped up by Amadi. Takes on the tackle of Hill, wide to Bice. Feeds it back to Warner. He's run down by Hall. Just got the hand pass away. Cleaned up here in defence by the Saints, and they're away here through Sinclair.
Sinclair looks around, has a dash, looks in front, and there is no one ahead. So he kicks it out towards the boundary line. Chasing it is Harry Kyle. He has no one near him, so he has got an age to look up and assess. Kicks it to Roberts. Just behind the centre wing. Running past is Kyle. Roberts says, nah, I'm going to wait. Looks inboard. He has Bice on the edge of the centre square. That's the risky one. Goes up the line for safety first. Flying is McLean against De Koning. It was Curnow, in fact. It came to the front. And Sheldrick did well to wrap up his opponent. On the way through, Curnow gives De Koning a shove. It is 88 plays 81, a 7-point ball game. The Saints are leading. First 4 minutes of the final term, we've seen just 1 point.
Can they hang on? Get their first big scalp of the year. Heaney paddles it away here. Sinclair competes with Lloyd through the air. Heaney tries again. All Saints are out though. Sinclair back to Garcia at left half back, and now Bradley Hill bursts onto it. Little kick to the middle of the SCG where he finds Max Hall, and Hall can wheel and go now to the outer side. Options bursting up from inside 50. Owens couldn't take the mark. Mills was with him. He comes down to Mason Wood. Roses tackles him. He goes inside 50 though, Wood. And it'll bounce clear. Away there for Bice. Takes on the tackle of Campbell. Now Blakey's still there. Turns it neat and very short here for Mills. Row bottom, back to McDonald. The chain goes here with Wicks. Strikes the hill tackle off half back, they're away.
And that was nice from Wicks, who waited, didn't give the handball to Rowbottom. He gave him a bit of time, then did. Rowbottom goes the kick. A little fake from Sheldrick, sent his opponent out. Handball to the running Warner. Probably should have stopped and kicked. Warner picks up the loose footy. Goes inside 50, squared it up, and McLean marks. Well, they don't make it easy on themselves, but they do get a mark inside 50. It's Hayden McLean who will aim to kick truly and get the Swans to within a point. McLean still down after taking that mark.
What you will say is they keep doing it and they keep going and they keep going and they're just relentless in it, and that's the ability of a defensive team against them. Can you keep up with their persistent, just go, 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 go?
Generally, that's what happens in the last quarter, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The game opens up. And the Swans, you could see there, they were able to handball their way through earlier in the game. St Kilda's pressure was enough. They had enough energy to probably turn that ball over. But the longer it goes, the harder it is to keep the defensive pressure up.
The Swans have gone with the 4 talls. McLean is probably the 4th in line. A goal here would get him a good spot going forward, and he slots it. 1 point ball game at the SCG. A Sunday night thriller awaits us. Saints leading 13-10-88 to 13-9-87. Jason Saddington and Ryan O'Keefe are your experts.
It's that relentless. It's that we spoke at the start again. Can the Saints do everything for 4 quarters? And you need to keep up with the Swans for 4 quarters because they'll just keep going and going and going, and eventually the game breaks open for them if you can't keep that defensive pressure on.
Phil Pryor on the boundary.
Yeah, Liam Ryan spent the first 6 minutes of this final term on the bench for the Saints, and he has been their hot hand up forward. He's out there now, though.
Saints lead by 1. Julian's in Thailand in a hammock enjoying hot weather and cold beverages. Go on you, Julian. 0437 774 774. Bombers Blues up next at the MCG. McRae bundled to ground here by Brodie Grundy. Hamish from Concord, thank you for your text as well. Loving our commentary team of Jason and Ryan. I'll read the rest later on. Comes down to De Koning. McRae out to Burns. They win the clearance here, the Saints. Lake dummies a hand pass, turns back on his right boot, pops it inside 50. Edwards intercepts, 3rd, 4th bite, no. At the drop, Wilson for the Saints. Spent before he had it in Mason Wood. And now back here, Wilson got it from Owens. Owens runs into space, back with the flight, courageous. With Roberts coming the other way. Heaney runs to the football. Campbell slides in with him. It comes to Bradley Hill, who tumbles the kick in from the pocket. That is superb. You can't teach stuff like that. In his 290th AFL game, the most experienced Saint out there with an all-time goal. Bradley Hill to push their margin back to 7 points. 14-10-94. The Swans are 13-9-87. 8 minutes played, final term, Sunday footy, ABC Sport.
That was a classy finish there. I wasn't quite sure why Heaney kept that ball in there. Like, I think he had the right and the confidence. I think he could have taken it. But again, sometimes you just don't know the deliberate out of bounds. But that was courage there by Owens. As I said before, these players going back with a flight are just been absolutely brave.
So it's back to 7 points. The A team is in the middle. Who gets the clearance? It's Grundy. Handball. Maybe should have kicked it because, again, he doesn't find a teammate. Still at the front edge of the square, and the ball's up for grabs, and Sheldrick just runs straight through it. He's tackled. Handball's forward. Chaos ball inside 50. Amadi. Oh, and he's pushed as he kicked. It's hit the behind post on the full, which means has not registered a point. Maybe that is important. 8 minutes into the final quarter, the score remains 94-87. Saints lead.
Oh, dicey kick in. Cleaning slipped over. Cleary got to it first. Got a hand pass, 1-2. And now he snaps and misses left-hand side. So it's just that situation there for Kanini, who slipped over. Almost was holding a Sydney goal. Phil Pryor, down to you.
Official attendance, 42,143. Second highest attendance at the SCG this season. Highest attendance when playing singular at the SCG ever.
And they have come and they are being rewarded, at least on the scoreline. Maybe not with the skills from their home side. St Kilda looking to exit 50. Nice fist. Well done. Good crumb from Wanganeen Miller, who brings it inboard. Hits Wilson at the top of his 50. They're under pressure for a moment there, but the cool, calm hand of Naz finds Wilson. He slows it down as well. They have that 7-point lead, or now it's a 6-point lead. They go to Windhager. He kicks it wide, 2-on-1 Swans way, and they win it out, and they'll bring it back. Heaney with ball in hand.
Heaney kicks through traffic to find Caden Cleary. Awaited pass by Foot. He goes from left, tough forward. Options inside 50. McLean presenting for it in the contest with Wilkie. Gets some separation. Ball bounces clear though. Shares it back to Lloyd. Snaps from the pocket. Jake Lloyd misses. Margin 5 points St Kilda's way. 10-minute mark, final quarter. Sunday footy, ABC Sport.
The challenge for St Kilda is they're getting so many numbers back defensively. When they do win the ball and get the turnover, they're able to get that first kick, which is great, to release the pressure, but then they've got to go slow because they've got to wait for everyone else to get ahead of the ball again to give them some options. They need to keep scoring, though. That's the challenge.
Swans sit off. Wanganeen Miller picks out Silvani inside 50, who doesn't have anyone in front of him, so he goes for a run, kicks it long. Edwards with the spoil for the Swans. He's had a good game. Heaney's back there in D50. It's gone all the way back, and then handball to Edwards to McDonald. The run of Sarong arrives. He's pressured as he kicked it. This will take a mark. Curnow spills it. Crumbing is, well, Lloyd. He crumbed well, and then he handballed it away. McLean tries to clean it up. Jake Lloyd can't get clean possession and send the Swans inside 50. Instead, the ball goes out of bounds off the foot of McLean. So Saints will have the lasso free kick just beyond the paint. They lead still by 5 points, 11 minutes into the final term.
Energy wilting, bodies cramping. As Saints kick in, it's with Angus Hasty. And there's 6 inclusions this afternoon. Saints lead by 5 points here at the SCG. They've had some close games recently. This is an absolute beauty. Knocked down here by the Swans, and now it's turned in. McDonald lays the tackle on Burns, so we'll ball it up on the outer side. Up it goes to Koning and Grundy. McRae brought down by Rowbottom, who is now equals second in the AFL for tackling. James Rowbottom is usually in the top 2 or 3.
So you can see the Saints now dropping 2x behind the ball.
Koning out of the ruck, takes on Heaney, spilled the ball. Will be a ball in on the outer side. St Kilda by 5 points, 12 gone, final turn.
And it's Wanganeen Miller that's able to just sit off.
And Brad Hill's gone back too.
Yep.
Be a bit stiff there. The crowd booing. They thought De Koning ran straight at Heaney. Ball goes out of bounds. Thrown back in now. De Koning against Grundy. He's had a reasonable game, De Koning, and he gets the clearance here. Up towards Wilson. The one-on-one on Wicks. Spills the mark. He held his man off. Ball hits the ground. Bice, short handball, in tight space. Edwards is tackled, gets a handball free. Bice off the deck, using his soccer skills. Cleary picks it up, goes to McDonald, who looks behind, and there's Heaney, who is going back to try and manufacture some run. His kick, though, goes in between 2 teammates. They turn it over. Saints do the exact same, though. Cleary, McLean, kick inside 50, over the top of Armani. And marking it is Bradley Hill.
Hand pass wide to Wilkie. The Saints can go again. He chooses the corridor. Chest mark taken by Wilson.
There's a comedy errors, both teams.
Oh, horrible.
23rd touch for Darcy Wilson. Short ball finds his captain Sinclair. Wide to half forward. Tracking back to meet it is Filippo. St Kilda by 5 points here. 13 gone, final term. What a finish coming up here on ABC Sport. Filippo goes long towards full forward.
What a mark!
Oh, he's flying Ryan all right. And he flies through the Sydney sky.
What's this?
And he'll have a look here for his 5th goal. Oh, came from a couple deep in the pack. Onto the shoulders of Brodie Grundy. That is an absolute hanger from Liam Ryan.
Unbelievable mark.
Awarded here with a set shot in the left forward pocket. The kick, arguably more important than the mark. He curls it around the post. A handful of goals for the former Eagle. And the Saints are up by 11 points. Midway through this final term. The mark and the goal from Liam Ryan. 15-10 plays 13-11. Saints by 11 points.
Well, they needed to pull something out of the hat, the Saints. Like, they've sort of been held and made stagnant in their ball use and haven't been able to get it, but That's gone from an absolute hail of a turnover, which should have been a goal for the Saints, for the Swans, and it's gone back, and the Saints have manufactured it. Like, that's an unbelievable mark.
I was waiting for a celebration. We had a bit of Michael Jackson from him earlier. I thought he was going to moonwalk, although I do have the question, can you moonwalk in footy boots?
On the
Is it possible to do, Declan?
That would be something, wouldn't it?
Phil Pryor down to you on the boundary.
Nazaya, Heaney and Grundy have all come off for their final rest before they finish this one out.
Marshall in the middle. The clearance the way Rowbottom. It's a chaos entry. Wilkie is there. He's had another great day. The Saints co-captain. His handball though missed the target. So the ball is there to be won. Slipping and sliding a few players towards the boundary. It goes out of bounds about 25 metres away from the goal. Right-hand forward pocket for the Swans, who trail by 11. 15 minutes have elapsed in this final quarter. The sea of red and white here at the SCG. They are stunned right now.
42,000 strong crowd on this Sunday afternoon. One down here by Marshall. Garcia first hands to it. Got the hand pass away. Philippo ricochets off him. Back here for Max Hall. Out in space. McRae got a big bump from Blakey. Brought to ground. Another ball up. Saints by 11 points. 16 gone final term.
What I've loved about Liam Ryan's game, apart from that Mark just said, he's crashed some packs, he's hurt some bodies, he's kicked goals, he's done it all.
Back at the pack, McRae. Taru slips over. Allows an opportunity here for Rowbottom and Warner. Gathered though by McRae. Was it out of bounds? No, says the umpire. So the Saints bring it downfield. And Sarong watches the ball bounce out of bounds. It was off hands for a throw-in. That was right between the benches.
Half a metre over the line.
That went out, yeah. The crowd will not like that. I reckon the SCG staff will get a replay up pretty soon to fire them up even more. 11 points, the lead to St Kilda. How about Ryan's mark too? You couldn't ask for a better sit. Brody Grundy there. Yep. Just a little extra bounce, extra buoyancy. Ball thrown back in. McLean the tap down to Hall, who spilt it back to McLean, who kicked it out of midair. Grabbed the footy. Instead it turns over. Marshall hands it off. Nice tackle. It was beautiful from Heaney and from Blakey. And the ball up on the logo. Philippou was under the pack. Thrown up. Marshall holds space. Tap down towards Rosas. Him and Hill can't grab it. Soccer off the ground was clever from Hill. Handball comes to Garcia. He gives it off to Rosas. Now the kick comes in from Jordan towards the 50, and Wilkie, the intercept mark king of the AFL, takes an important one on 17 minutes.
No.
Free kick for the hold on.
That was there on Curnow.
See Curnow. No wonder Wilkie intercept marked it at ease.
Look, Savani's just scragging all over him. Bit like how his old man used to defend back in the day on those key full forwards.
When you're allowed to do that.
Yeah, when you're allowed to do that.
So Charlie Curnow throws the ball up in the air. This is in front of the tunnel where the players walk out every single day they come to train at the SCG. They generally kick them from here as their first set shot of training and maybe their last. Charlie Curnow in front of his new crowd. Starts left, and it is not working back enough. 10 points neat is the margin. The Saints are 15-10-100. The Swans 13-12-90, approaching the 18-minute mark of this final term.
The true test still to come here for Ross Lyons' men. They lead by 10 points. 18 gone. Quarter number 4, as Declan Byrne mentioned. Wilkie on the kick out. Drives it beyond defensive. 50. Up goes Taru. Free kick, Sydney. It'll come back to Jai Sarong for the holds.
Yeah, that was there as well.
Opportunities here for the home side. Can the Saints hang on? 10 points their lead. Sarong loads up to the hot spot now for the Swans. Amadi had the path blocked. Down here, Heaney beats hold of the football. Hill in support though for the Saints. Great work there by Sheldrick. Spins through a tackle. Amadi, hand pass back to Rosas. Can't turn back on his left. Off to Sarong. Hill snap from 40 out. It's fighting towards goal. Curnow wants the sit, so to Amadi. He scraps there in the defence there. It's numbers with the Saints. It comes to Cooper Sharman, and he clears the area.
There's only Swans ahead of him. It's Will Edwards. Lowers the eyes. That is a great kick. At last they use their skills and their sense. And Edwards finds McDonald, who will kick from 40 metres on a decent angle.
That is some great composure there by Edwards. He's had a great game. Really strong defence. Puts the fist in, but they're just cool head. Could have quite easily blazed away there. Just lowered the eyes. Now, we spoke about the key forwards kicking goals. This is a critical one. He needs to nail it.
Logan McDonald, who is so often the punching bag for Swans fans when they lose. Can he get them to back within a goal from 40 metres? He's willing it right with his arm. And it's hanging out to the right for a minor score. They can't do it by ones. They're trying at the moment. 9 points the margin. 100 plays 91. Saints lead.
So they go through Stocker. Pumps it beyond defensive 50 here for the Saints. Marshall outnumbered around the ball, though. Great work by the Saints. Hall sends his kick down the line. Garcia in space. Marks ahead of Heaney. Goes inside forward 50. No one's in the goal square. It'll bounce at a left angle through for a minor score. Not quite the finish there for Garcia. So the Saints lead by 11 points. Is it still 10 points? I beg your pardon.
10 points
after the
just hit time on.
Yeah, 10 points back. The Saints lead. 20 gone final term.
So they will need at least 2 goals. If the Saints don't score again, the Swans. Blakey has a bounce, has a second, bites off more than he can. No, it is inch perfect. Finds Warner, forward handball. Cleary to Lloyd. He uses the hands, maybe should have kicked it. Curnow picks it up, kicks it inboard. And what a moment from Jack Sinclair. 1-on-2 against, and he cuts in front of Warner to take the intercept mark, and they play on. McRae is away up the wing for St Kilda. Bounces over the 4 at the contest. Naz was first to react. Sarong there, went the bump. Wilson went the kick. Will it stay in for Philippou? It won't. Wicks was there. Oh, what a moment for Jack Sinclair, the co-captain. Bravery and skill. The ball will be thrown in the Saints attacking arc. It was just a metre or so in from the 50.
There was 2 players. Marty was out in a goal square. Just had to take that option.
Back in it comes. Marshall and Grundy. Marshall sticks out the leg. Sinclair's hurried kick to the centering area, but it's marked by McDonald defensively for the Swans in that corridor. Now Whelan go to the outer side. Lloyd competes down there with Sharman. The veteran Swan marks. Goes by foot to Cleary. In comes Wilkie. Makes the contest. Pals away to advantage here. Ryan, 5 goals today in some space. Great smother from Will Edwards. Comes loose here for Mills. Fires the hand pass to Heaney. They start the chain here. Grundy back to Heaney. Fends off one Wilkie tackle. Goes inside 50. Bouncing ball wide there from Marty. Then he is there defensively. Mops up, does well. Hand pass to Sharman and now Silvani. He can control it out towards Philippou. Heaney in the contest though. Wins it back for Sydney. 60 from goal. It's marked by Lloyd.
What a spoil from Heaney, who kept his feet as well. Delivers to Lloyd. 60 metres away. He cuts the angle down. Doesn't gain any metres, but opens it up to Blakey, who's 65 out. Wheels out to his left. 4 in the pack. Nice spoil from Rowan Marshall, who rose next to Amadi. Double-fisted spoil out in the left forward pocket for the Swans. We've played 22 minutes in this final quarter. That lead is 10 points. The Saints have led by as much as 33. It got back to a point early in this fourth quarter with the McLean goal. Swans to go again, trailing by 10. Ball thrown in.
Toss back in round weekend. Grundy. Rose was hovering. So too Lloyd Amadi was held there for a moment. Umpire lets them play when ball up again. 23 gone final term. Saints by 10. They've led since the midway stage of the first term. Marshall held by Grundy. No whistle. Windhager there for St Kilda. Kicks under pressure from Heaney. Mopped up McDonald. Edwards for the Swans. Centering ball. Warner takes the chest mark. 40 out. Opportunity here for Sydney. For the first of 2 goals they need to snatch this win.
They need this one. They have to go back and kick this. This is a non-negotiable if they're going to win this game.
There's a couple of St Kilda defenders just both pulled out at the same time, didn't they, of intercepting.
It was Edwards again, though, wasn't it? 14 touches, a heck of a day.
But his composure with the ball, he's actually one of the great boys.
27 disposals for Chad Warner. None more important than this for number 28. And his second goal. And he's got the Swans back within a kick. St Kilda by 4 points here. 101 plays 97. 24 played final term. Sunday footy, ABC Sport. Your experts are Ryan O'Keefe and Jason Staddington.
Well, we know they'll keep coming out at the Swans. Yeah. I mean, they've done it every quarter, haven't they? They've kicked late goals in each of the second and the third quarter. It's nothing to say that they're not going to keep trying to do that through this. They need one more to obviously hit the lead.
I'm not going to state the obvious, Sato, but this centre bounce is absolutely, this is the game. This one centre, I know there's been a lot of centre bounces for the whole game, but this is the game now. Who wins this wins.
So Kilda just need to keep holding on here. They need to find a way once they get the ball to try and still get up in that front half. If they can set up, keep the ball in the front 50, that'll give themselves a chance.
Here we go, middle of the SCG. Swans trail by 4. Grundy out of the ruck. The spin, the kick. Diving mark from Cleary on the edge of 50 is spilt. Ball is up for grabs. Rowbottom is there applying the tackle. Grundy, the main man again for the Swans, gets the clearance and at least gets it in the forward half for the Swans. Umpire runs over. He will ball it up. Grundy v Marshall again. Marshall this time down to Windhager. He's tackled by Rowbottom. Ball comes loose to Garcia, who kicks it forward to the wing. One-on-one here. Wicks escapes his man, but the ball bounces the other way. An off-spinner for Liam Ryan. He kicks it, and guess who's there? Will Edwards marks and hands off to Sarong.
Under pressure, turns on his left side, goes back inside defensive 50 for his captain, Mills. Saints by 4 points still. 25 gone, final term. Mills comes back members side. Grundy from behind there on Burns. At the drop, Lloyd back to Sarong. His kick picked off. Picked off by Garcia. The Saints can go again. Commentary side, Sinclair marks the logo. Middle of the ground, he goes to Wilson. Open space in front of him, 50 out from goal. Flying shot to the goal square. Just touched by Riley Bias on the last line. A behind for Darcy Wilson. Saints by 5.
They don't waste a moment. Blakey up and away. Second bounce outside 50 with the kick up towards Roses in a one-on-one. It goes over him to Silvani. Handball comes to Windhager. They're back on the attack, the Saints. Kick to Hall. He marks 60 from goal. Right half forward flank. Running pass was Windhager. Gut running. And he gets past Bice. He plays on. He was called to. Kicks it into the goal square and marking it. Cal Mills. They'll go quickly out towards Jake Lloyd.
Composed veteran Swan. Fires the hand pass to Grundy. Needs options. Back to Lloyd on the inside. Heaney by himself on the logo. Commentary side. Swings it back middle of the ground for Warner. Keeps it moving. All by himself with Blakey. The Lizard 55 from goal. Gets around one. Has a bounce. Inside 50. Eyes them up on the run. And it's marked on the last line. The goalkeeping effort there from Jack Silvani.
What was Blakey thinking?
Didn't go long. He came a little bit too short. Silvani is down cramping. Nick Blakey squanders the opportunity.
What was that?
After he broke the ankles of one defender, the Saints still lead here by 5 points. 27 gone.
Kick to Wilkie is good. He's in the right back pocket. He kicks to Sinclair. Short chipping kick here. Maybe too much time in the game left to do this. They go to Bradley Hill. We've played 27 minutes. Bradley Hill has space in front of him. Gains a few metres and kicks up the wing. Well done, Logan McDonald. He marks. No, the push. What has the umpire said? No, he's paid the mark. Okay, Swans look to bring it inside the corridor. It goes right onto the bullseye. The 100-gamer Wicks kicking out to the lead of Armadi. He's a 1-on-3 right now. Get it out of bounds. He does. Tapped out from Caminiti. Boundary umpire has gone down in the background, so it will be a throw-in just in the Swans' attacking arc. 27.5 minutes. Saints leading by 5 points. Swans have not led since the 14-minute mark of the first term.
Stoppage inside 50 here for the Swans. Ran weekend. Grundy in the contest with Marshall. It missed Roses. Packed away there by Garcia. For the most offensive player there is Mills on the members' wing of the SCG. Back middle of the ground here for Will Edwards. They'll go from halfway again. Need the target inside 50. Edwards' kick is deep to full forward. And Marty down there, outnumbered. At the drop, Burns. Brought down by Roses. Ball comes free. Marshall wrapped up as well. Umpire says, give it to me.
They won't pay a free kick there.
So St Kilda have got 16 plays, 17 plays in D50.
Ball up, 25 metres out. Grundy, Tahini, handball to Sarong. Yes! And the Swans get out of jail through Jai Sarong. Maybe the littlest known of their imports over the off-season. From 40 metres out on his left foot. And for the first time in 3.5 quarters, the Swans are in front. They might have just won it at the death. 103 plays 102.
This is where the 666 comes comes into what the rule makers want it to be now. This is a free hit here. If they can, Saints get a centre clearance and get it in, there's an opportunity.
It's their only shot.
There's
their only shot.
There is.
They've got to win this stoppage, St Kilda. You mentioned the last one was huge. This is the ball game absolutely right here for St Kilda. Can you believe it was Jai Sarong, the player that was left free, left foot snap.
Sarong, so right, hey? That was huge. That's the biggest moment in his life, full stop.
Oh, yeah.
So all the Swans forwards up on the top of the 50. They're all going to stream in. The wingers at the back of D50.
Down to one clearance. De Koning's hit out to the outside. First hands to it. Sheldrick. Swans go forward of halfway. The seconds tick down. Their first is Wilkie for the Saints. Tracked by Sheldrick. Goes back inside 50. Amati marks in the dying seconds. The Swans are going to steal it. Plenty of embracing in red and white jumpers. They're embracing in the stands. The Swans, who had no right to win this game, they trailed for most of it. Amati going back for a set shot after the siren to really get the party started here. But he misses. It doesn't matter. The Swans win by 2. Would have been the Saints' biggest scalp. But the Swans get back in front and win a classic at home.
Lift that noble banner high, shake down the thunder from the sky. Whether the odds be great or small, Swans will go in and win overall. While our loyal Swans are marching onwards to victory.
In the end, 2 goals each for Curnow, Warner, Heaney, Roses and Hayden McLean. Singles to Amati, McDonald, Rowbottom and McInerney, as well as Jai Sarong. The most important goal of the game, which put the Swans in front at the 28-minute mark. Jai Sarong, the new Swan, the hero for them today. Meanwhile, for the Saints, singles to Wanganeen Miller. In fact, 5 for Liam Ryan, of course, 2 for De Koning, 2 for Sharman, singles to Wilson, Wanganeen Miller, Owens, Hall, Bradley Hill and Jack Sinclair. The Swans by 2 points here at the SCG.
Shake down the thunder from the sky. Whether the odds be great or small, Swans will go in and win overall. While our loyal Swans are marching onwards to victory.
Well, let's hear it for you. What a game, and this was going to be a test for Ross Lyons Saints, who remain with that record now, 1-7 against teams in the top 10. 5 wins and 8 losses now, a pivotal stage of their season, and the Swans meanwhile just keep on winning. 11 victories now for them, still unbeaten at home in this 26 campaign under Dean Cox in year 2, but they snatch a 2-point win here. The Saints led by 17 points at quarter time, by 8 at the half. The margin was as high as 33 points in that second quarter, by the way, and then it was 6 points the diff at the final change. It was always threatening Ryan O'Keefe and Jason Saddington. The Swans would find a way, and they did through Jai Sarong there at the end.
Oh, I can't believe it. They pitched that right at the death. The most fascinating thing, so out of the winning goal, St Kilda had 17 players in defensive 50. So Jai Sarong as a defender, he's come up off it as well. But he still found himself free. They had so many players back there, St Kilda, but they left Sarong free. The ball spilled out to him. He's able to left foot snap. Unbelievable for him to pinch the win. Right at the end, devastating for St Kilda. You could see the disappointment on their players when that siren went. And the Swans, the jubilation, they know that they've absolutely just pinched that one off the Saints right at the end. Cracking finish to a game of footy.
Yeah, and it's usually the case the defender gets free because all the forwards, they all rush and, we're going to block space, we're going to get up there, and they actually forget about picking their man up. So a great finish, and you could sort of see the Saints were hanging in that last quarter, that they really got pinned in their back half, and they really slowed to move the mark. The only reason they got a goal was by brilliance from Liam Ryan, but besides that, you could sort of see they were just hanging, they were rope to dope, and then the Swans just kept coming at them. And really, the Swans, if Curnow kicks his, McDonald kicks his, they didn't absolutely do a couple of howler inside like that, they would have won it earlier in the game. So as I kept saying during the game, the Swans were their own worst enemy in the end in terms of just coughing the ball over and making poor decisions, particularly by foot. But that's what a good team does, don't it? They don't play well, and you wouldn't say the Swans played well today, but they find a way to win.
Yeah, well, I mean, in credit to St Kilda, they made it a tough game. Their pressure was pretty good.
Yeah.
They did take their opportunity, certainly in that second quarter. They kicked plenty of goals through that first half. And it's just tough for them, isn't it, to just not get it done right there at the end. You got to feel for them. They were terrific. They fought it out. They did everything but just get the win in the end. You could see they were holding on. You're correct, Pebs. Probably for the last 15 minutes, it almost seemed that they were playing pretty back half.
Yeah.
They were getting a lot of players deep. Every time they did win the ball, they were able to chip it out, but never really get any great entries going forward. They're always struggling to get ahead of the ball, but credit to the Swans. They lost a couple of injuries throughout the game as well. They weren't playing their best footy, but they still found a way to win.
I'd say that was, even though the Saints lost, that was probably one of the best games I've sort of seen them play. They took it to Sydney.
Yeah.
And we spoke earlier, they had to take it to Sydney. They had to bring, not just try and play a dour defensive game and go on attack, and that's what they did. And they made Swans pay on the turnover. So that was impressive by the Saints. And I think if they play that brand of footy, they're going to win a lot more than they lose going to the back end of the year.
How about this for the Saints? So they go back to Melbourne now. They don't leave the state of Victoria for the rest of the season.
Don't they?
It is round 13. Crazy for St Kilda, who play GWS and the Bulldogs, then have the bye. The only time they leave Melbourne is when they go Geelong. So as much as that win may have set them up for the rest of the season, they can obviously take so much out of that. They took the Swans game to them, and they were better than them for 90-95% of the match.
Yeah, we saw some matchup. Like Heaney didn't have a huge influence on a game that he's had in most games this year. Windhager did
We had 30 kicks.
He still got 30. Isn't that amazing? But he didn't seem like he was dominating the game of football by any means. Windhager did a pretty good job, I thought, in containing his influence, even though he's had 30 kick too. It sounds nuts. Blakey wasn't a dominant player in the game either. I thought, they did a pretty good job to contain a lot of the key players for the Swans.
So that keeps the Swans still a game behind Freo, and their percentage does dip a little bit below the Dockers as well with the tight finish here. But alas, a win's a win. 42,143, the crowd here, the biggest ever crowd for the Swans at home against St Kilda.
And 2.5 games clear of third.
That's extraordinary.
Massive.
Yeah, so that's the gap there that Freo has. Of course, the Swans, their nearest competitor. They're 1 and 2 on the AFL ladder. Off to Essendon and Carlton in under a half an hour's time with Matt Clinch, Ben Cameron, Daniel Harford, Chad Wingard, Lauren Borden there as well. Coverage starts at 6:30 Eastern time, local time at the MCG, and coverage, or the game itself, underway in about an hour from now. Oh, goodness me.
Well, what I say about Heaney's game, in terms of, and this happens a lot, and you go, he hasn't had much influence. But he's getting scragged that much. His ability to be so clean around the stoppage in contest, he gets those hands and he just accumulates that. He's not a player that gets out and runs and breaks lines and looks electric like a Blakey or a Warner. He's just so good around the contest, and one touch, that crumbing goal, just stuff like that. That's what he brings to the game.
So, I'll tell you who was terrific. You guys made mention in that last quarter. Will Edwards was fantastic, wasn't he? He had a great game of football, but for a young defender, he set up perfectly behind the footy. Every time St Kilda tried to bring it out, he was the one there. He had some big smothers. He had a fantastic game for a young player.
For the third time in 3 games, these two sides played a game that's decided by less than a kick. So, as I mentioned before, it was 5 points the previous at Docklands last year, 2 before that, and now a 2-point win for the Swans today.
And that's that rare occasion, which they keep telling me it's 99% of the time. You reach 100, you don't lose. St Kilda reached 100, and they lost.
Yeah.
It's happening again.
And an improved attacking performance on last week, of course, where they didn't kick a goal in the first half. And we spoke about that pre-game with Jimmy Allen, but was it just a matter of the Swans not being on in the first half, especially? They didn't lead until that Jai Sarong goal, between the midway stage of the first term versus up into that very last point of the game. But certainly they improved the Swans on their skill level. It wasn't a classic game by that stretch, Sado, as far as for both sides, really.
No, it became a classic at the end in terms of how tight it was and the Swans winning on the death. They look at their ball use and say it wasn't great, certainly in the first half. The one thing that changed in the last quarter too was the game opened up a bit and they were able to get a bit of run and bounce. And the game got going. That's the way they wanted to play. They weren't able to do that, which is probably credit to St Kilda as well. They didn't allow the Swans to take the game on through the middle, but their boys going inside 50 or into that front half was pretty poor.
And they're headed towards Phil Pryor in the winners' rooms here at the SCG.
Well, what I will say about the Swans, that they weren't off. Like their intensity was up there. Their attack and everything was up. It was just the fact that I think just their ball use and turnover kept St Kilda into it.
They're in there now with you, Phil.
Yeah, that's right. I get the feeling that they're going to sing this one with some gusto. Of course, we've got Sam Wicks, who just played his 100th game, first Manly Warringah product to reach that milestone. Of course, last week it was Harry Kyle getting the sports drink shower, making his debut. No debuts today, but here they go.
From the sky, whether the odds be great or be small, Swans will go in and win overall. Oh, the Swans are marching towards the victory.
The Swans 2-point winners here at the SCG, 15-14-104 to 15-12-102. Back to Phil Pryor very, very soon in the winners' rooms. Off the SMS, keep those texts coming for us and right across the evening at the MCG as well. 0437 774 774. Sarge says, Saints had too many players who did nothing. Should have won this one. Very disappointing. Thank you, Sarge. Why didn't the Saints man up with 5 minutes to go, says Mark from Mentone with an upside down smiley face. As a few have come here, Richard from Geelong says, just tuning in after Sunday afternoon activities, I was expecting a one-sided contest. Can our experts explain in a few words what is different about St Kilda from last week's shocker? And you mentioned the pressure they had in the first half on the Swans was certainly there.
I just think they brought more of an attacking game, and they looked to take the Swans on and score and capitalise on the Swans' turnover. So I think they just brought that to their game as well.
And we mentioned pre-game, so I think the addition of Wanganeen Miller and then Leon Ryan, who obviously kicked 5, that makes a difference to their attacking game.
Back to you, Phil.
Yes, we've got the milestone man down here, Sam Wicks. Now, Sammy, we'll get to you on a more personal note in a second, but what just happened? My goodness.
Oh, mate, unbelievable. We obviously didn't play the way we wanted to in that first half, and then I think it's one of the better hard-fought wins I've played in. All the boys stood up in that second half and we just ramped the pressure right up, and then the result took care of itself. It's unbelievable.
And so gutsy in that last quarter without 2 of your key players as well. McInerney out at half-time. Tom McCartan with a concussion in that third term as well. So you guys really had to dig deep.
Yeah, definitely. I think they're 2 vital cogs in our team. They're probably both in all-Australian form, the 2 of them. So to lose them, our mentality all year when we lose players is next man in, and I think, the boys stepped up, filled those roles when we needed to, and got the job done.
Jai Sarong is the hero, of course, at the end, kicking that goal, and he was shifted into the back line when McCartan went out as well. But can you speak to what his impact has been as a first-year player at the Swans this season?
Yeah, he obviously got on the end of the winning goal, but I think the thing with Jai is he's one of the hardest workers in our team. I think you look at who runs the most every week, he's up there with 15, 16 Ks, putting in the yards. He'll play on the wing, he'll play back, do whatever he needs to. He's been fit in seamlessly and can't wait to see how his career pans out.
Now, you're the first Manly Warringah product to play 100 AFL games, which is an incredible achievement. But one of the other Northern Beaches boys out there in that back line today as well, Will Edwards, we were singing his praises throughout coverage. He had a huge second half.
Yeah, big Will. He's unbelievable. He's built like an absolute, brick shithouse, and nothing really gets past him. So the big fella's been great coming in, playing his role. We love playing with him.
And you, 100 games today. Talk us through what this journey has been so far.
Yeah, obviously pretty special to play 100 games. My career hasn't exactly been, there's been plenty of ups and downs, played forward, then been moved back, been on the fringe for a few years. But, to be able to play 100 games in, Sydney where I grew up, so special, and to have all my friends and family here tonight was unbelievable.
A Manly Bombers junior transitioning into the Manly Warringah Wolves as well. How does it land that you're the first Manly Warringah product to make it to 100 AFL games?
It feels pretty special. Obviously, Manly's got a special place in my heart, and then I hope there's, many more to come.
We'll send it upstairs. We've got a host of guys up there, including our experts, Jason Saddington and Ryan O'Keefe.
Yeah, Sam, congratulations on 100 games. That's an enormous achievement and well done. And I'd like to think, the last 2 years you've found this position as a small defender and you've absolutely flourished, and it's been great to watch you play so well down there and find yourself as one of the key defenders, a key part of that defensive unit.
Obviously made the transition at the start of last year. The coaches kind of came to me and said, how would you feel about playing back? And I just embraced it, and it's been awesome. I love playing down there. We've got a great group of guys in the back seven every week, so it's a pleasure to play back there.
Mate, it was a tight game for you. Obviously, the Saints brought the heat and certainly led for most of the game. How did it feel for you out there on the ground? What sort of game was it, from a player for the Swans, and what you had to face from Saints out there?
Yeah, I think it was, pretty prevalent in that first half how good their pressure and contest was, and, it showed on the scoreboard. We were, a bit slow to get going, and they brought the heat from the start, but full credit to the boys. We dug in that second half and got the result. It was unbelievable.
And obviously the form's good for you guys. You keep winning week after week, which is brilliant, but what's left to build on for the group? What are the small gains still to make for you guys heading to the back end of the year?
I think when you look week to week, they're never perfect performances, and you look at tonight, we were touched up a bit in that first half, so we'll take plenty of learnings out of that first half and roll with the momentum of the second half, and hopefully we can start putting together some real full-quarter performances.
Well, what was said at halftime, Sam? Just looking from it, it looked like your effort was there and the contest was there. It was just some of the ball use. You made a lot of sort of unforced errors, particularly by foot. Was that something that you spoke about, be a little bit more patient or a bit more direct with your ball use, particularly by foot?
Yeah, definitely. I think, we play quite a high turnover game, so, mistakes are always going to happen, but something we always speak about is how quickly we can butter them up and, a bit of patience with the ball as well, giving us time to reset and defend the ground. So I think we were able to do that in the second half.
Sam, we spoke to Simon Goodwin before the game. We said, what's one thing about Sam Wicks that stands out? And it was your competitiveness. You always look like you're playing on the edge out there. Take me to pre-game for you. Are you someone who has to get yourself up for it? Do you feel sick before the game, or do you just naturally have that white line fever?
No, I think it's just kind of trying to get those arousal levels, so I'm peaking as the game starts. I'm probably someone who's a bit more relaxed at the start of games and having a laugh with the boys, but then, once we hit that kind of second warm-up out on the field and cross that white line, I try to really zero in on, my process and what makes me a good player.
So Phil asked you about Jai Sarong and the fact that he sort of filled that void after the McCartan head knock, but then kicks the winning goal as well. So it's hard to make a case for a guy sort of being down back more if he's going to be the hero up forward for you guys. But as a forward-turn defender yourself, do you see Jai being that guy who can maybe be more of a key back and shift and fill a role if you need that for a few more weeks yet?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think, he's absolutely flourished in every position we've tried him in this year, so I've got full faith if he needs to play back, he'll get it done. If he needs to play wing, he'll get it done there. So he's one of the hardest workers in the team, and, he gets it done.
You got a 6-day break now into the game against Port away. There's some sore bodies out there after tonight?
Yeah, I think so. We'll just, recover up, do everything we can, and, hopefully go into the bye in some really good form and take that into the second half of the year.
Appreciate your time, Sam. All the best.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Sam Wicks, the milestone man for the Sydney Swans. And for full disclosure, in case you hadn't picked it up, Manly Warringah is also Phil Pry's club and Declan Burns' club.
Yeah, oh God, so, I do want to say that.
There's a bit of a plug there for the Manly Wolves.
Phil didn't say, but he said something before, like he was the first coach to pick him or something, Phil, as well. So
there we go.
There's a strong pride there.
Right. Everyone wants to get into the whole Sam Wicks bandwagon.
That's all right.
0437 774 774 as it all finished up here at the SCG. We're off to Essendon and Carlton next at the MCG with Matt Clinch, Ben Cameron, Daniel Harford, Chad Wingard and Lauren Borden. And of course, it's King's birthday eve. And the big freeze clash tomorrow. Collingwood Melbourne at the MCG, of course, is the jewel in the crown of AFL round 13. Hi team, Fran says thank you for your special comments. Dean Cox is proving himself for this Swan team. Well, this is a team that last year in his first season had a winning record and missed the finals. Yeah. So they practically changed the rules because of him to get teams finishing in the top 10. No, they didn't. Brandon says, great call. As inconspicuous as Isaac Heaney may have seemed, his handball to Jai Sarong was the cherry. Very disappointing for the Saints, who are better than most think. Take care. Thank you, Brandon. Richard says, does any team do heartbreak quite like St Kilda? There's a few out there. We got two going head-to-head next to the MCG, the Bombers and the Blues as well, of course, having both sacked coaches this year. But, yeah, it is a what might have been situation for the Saints, who, as I say, 1-7 now against teams in the top 10 and had opportunities across 90% of the game to see it through and couldn't do so. Liam Ryan was fantastic. Five goals. His best game as a Saint. A Mark of the Year contender, which probably wouldn't be in the top 5 Liam Ryan marks across his career. I'll just put it that way. They had some. I mean, 6 players coming back in is an adjustment. Obviously, Wanganeen Millera. In fact, we might get a few numbers here. So, 32 disposals for Wanganeen Millera. He had 10 and 22 kicks and 10 hand passes, 6 clearances, 8 contested, 7 inside 50s, 7 score involvements, 1 goal, 2 for Nazaya on his return. Hugo Garcia, 29 touches for him. With 7 score involvements. Jack Sinclair, the skipper, 28. Max Hall, 27. Callum Wilkie with, in the end, what his intercept numbers? It was quite a few.
6 marks.
So 6 marks. So, all those intercepts pretty much, as is often his thing. While for the Swans, before we get our votes in the ABC Player of the Year,
tough votes
after last week's bungle too, you're on notice here, Sado.
Me?
Or is it Pebs?
Yeah.
So there you go. Well, he's dropped himself.
Yeah, is it? Okay.
Isaac Heaney had 30 with 5 inside 50s, 10 score involvements for the Swans Dynamo.
That's why I can't do the votes, because I said he didn't have much influence on the game.
2 goals, 1 for Isaac Heaney as well to go with his 30 touches.
You're throwing my votes out a little bit.
No.
Warner, 29. 8 score involvements for him. 7 inside 50s for the Chad. He did start slow, like a lot of his teammates. And he was wasting the
quarter time.
5 at quarter time, and he was wasting the footy with all those touches. Didn't kick it until his, I think, 5th or 6th disposal. And Jai Sarong, his best game as a Swan, his best moment, 28 disposals for him, 8 marks. And that key goal at the end.
Going at 92%. So you look at the top 4 for the Swans. Heaney went at 60%, Warner at 50%, Lloyd at 45%, but Sarong was 92%.
That's how it all finished up here. Contested possession finished up only +6. It was +4 St Kilda across that game, and the Swans just scrape home with a 2-point win here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. 42,143, the crowd figure here. The votes in the ABC Player of the Year, please.
Well,
what threw you out? Did you explain your...
No, I thought Heaney was
very good. I'll backtrack on everything, because it's probably... I wasn't listening to Declan earlier in the call. But
it was a tough game. It was pretty even. But I'm going to give 1 vote to Edwards down back. I thought he was fantastic. He was just solid, and the game's not about his stats as well. He was just unbelievable down, and his composure going forward. I'm going to give 2 votes to Garcia. I thought he was brilliant for the Saints all game. He's had a heap of clearances. He had 7 inside 50s. We got all the numbers, but his speed and his energy around that was really, really good. And 3 to Isaac.
So 1 to Edwards, 2 to Garcia, did you say?
Yep, Garcia.
And 3 to Isaac.
Nothing for Naz, nothing for Warner, nothing for Sarong.
I've only got 3 to give.
Yeah, no, I'm just potting you.
That's all right. That's all right.
He need 3 votes again. Wow. So what did he have last week? It was 32 and 5 goals, and he backs that up with 30 and 2 goals. Where do you sit on best player in the comp?
But you just look. You also look at his. You look at. He's had 8 clearances as well, plus 5 inside 50s, and made his game. It's just
10 score involvements, the most of anyone on the ground. 11 contested possessions, right behind Grundy, who basically gets the most every week.
And he's got a player on him like a rash.
You
know what I mean? So, I don't people understand how hard that is to play when someone's game is totally to negate you. It is the most frustrating.
Yeah,
it's so hard. It's just in your grill the whole time, and just to keep going and going. As I said, it's just amazing what he can do with that.
And I think that's sometimes the thing as well, because the player plays so well so often, the expectation goes up on what sort of output you expect and performance. And, you know, if they're, you know, while Isaac didn't have the 30 and 5 like last week, you know, I probably compare him a little bit to what you saw last week. It's like, well, he was a bit down today. But as you say, Peps, he's got Windhager hanging off him a lot of the day to still be able to do that. He's pretty
and it's just the work you do around that contest and stoppage, like the hands out to Sarong, that off the
goal was
when he
great.
gets the goal, the score involvements he does. He's not a player that's going to get out and break lines like a Wayne Green Miller and these guys that get out and look fancy, and which they are. They're great players. I'm not saying they're not. Or a Blakey that gets heaps of metres gained that way. It's just it's class act.
Definitely top 5 in the comp player.
Oh yeah.
Well, last week, just quickly on ABC AFL Daily, great podcast if you're not listening to it, Daniel Harford, which will be on again this Sunday, said he's elevated this year from 3 to 2 to 1. So he's got him ahead of Bontempelli and Dacos. It's a tough argument. I mean, you're splitting hairs, but the things he can do forward of the ball, and he gets so much contested possession, he's a weapon.
The Swans 2-point winners here. They're away to Port Adelaide next Saturday night in Adelaide. So 6-day break for the Swans. 11 wins now on the year. The Saints are at home against the Giants, who are fresh off the bye this weekend at Docklands next weekend. Same time slot, 3:15 Sunday. So that's what's next up for Ross Lyon's men.
Saints beat them earlier in the year.
And which the Saints are going to, like, we know the Giants like the handball happy. Well, the Saints have had a good, practice of how to defend it, and I thought they did it really well. And if the Giants can turn the ball over a bit, if the Saints play like they did today, they're a big chance of winning that.
As I mentioned, so the Swans keep the pace there with Freo. At least they're a game behind, and percentage also dips below the Dockers because of the tight finish here, but they are second and no further than 1 game behind Fremantle on the AFL ladder. With the loss here, St Kilda falls, well, they stay in 12th, in fact. They were 12th before today. They stay 12th, half a game behind Collingwood, of course, who play tomorrow. Now, just on that, the teams are in for the King's birthday clash tomorrow. Collingwood will rest Steele Sidebottom, and they've dropped Ned Long for the clash against Melbourne at the MCG tomorrow. They've welcomed back Harry Perryman and recalled Jack Buller. So Sidebottom's been managed and Long dropped along with Will Parker. The Demons will welcome back Jake Lever and Tom McDonald, while Bailey Laurie and Matt Jefferson have been omitted alongside the injured Andy Monus-Wakefield. So the extended squads were confirmed. So Luca Kentfield will play debut for the Demons, and Mitch Padaski will debut for the Pies. So that's the confirmed teams are in, alongside those debutants. Sidebottom missing for the Pies, and Ned Long being dropped as well. So there you go.
Special day, won't it?
Absolutely.
The first one post Danaher's death. It's 13 odd years. It'll be next level.
That's his legacy, and that will certainly continue. And of course, we've got that tomorrow, and indeed his state funeral, which will be we'll broadcast that on Wednesday as well via ABC Listen and ABC Sport Digital. But I'm sure a lot of footy fans would like to be a part of that.
Just quickly on those injuries, they're big for the Swans. So they lose McCartan, who is their best key back. He's been intercepting at will. And they lose McInerney, who, as we said in the call, has been their best generator of scores. That injury list is piling up. So a win like that, doubly important if potentially they are down 6 or 7 cutters.
Well, that's at least 2 games for McInerney. Was it 19, the policy, about 19 days or something
for
like
McCartan?
For McCartan.
11, 12 days. So, I mean, he's lucky he's got Port then the bye. So maybe 1 game.
Okay.
But he's had issues with it. So they will be
the bye's handy for that injury. And then, McInerney, hammies could be whatever, 2 to 6.
They say tightness.
Tightness.
The reporting game,
Earlier scores in the NRL, by the way. The Panthers 68 beat West Tigers 0, a record win for them, while the Sharks 34 beat the Dragons 12. A reminder, of course, the fun continues with Essendon Carlton at the MCG coming up very, very soon. You can keep your text coming for our crew there, 0437 774 774. So all that to take care of very, very shortly as well. What did I have here to mention? You mentioned the injuries. Errol Goulden due back after the bye. So yeah, so I think that's saying at one. Yeah,
that's a fair in.
That's obviously got Port next week, the bye, and then he's back. I think maybe the first or second game after the bye. So that is a handy one. As I say, it is a sneakily growing injury list though for the Sydney Swans. Winners here by 2 points over St Kilda. They snatched it thanks to a Jai Sarong goal late in that final term, and the Swans fans rejoice. And in fact, most of them make their way off the SCG, having their little kick here, as well and truly it feels like night time here on this Sunday. But we're just getting started here because, of course, at the MCG up next, Essendon Carlton. We'll head there very soon. Thank you, Ryan O'Keefe.
Great.
Thanks, Jason Saddington.
Thank you.
Enjoy your holiday, by the way, Peps.
Thanks very much.
Going to go to the European summer and get a tan and watch some cycling and all that kind of fun stuff.
I'm going the other way.
Where are you going?
New York.
World Cup.
Enjoy that.
World Cup, the round ball game.
You're sticking around. Thanks to Phil Pryor. Thank you to Tim Traeger, our tech. And to Zano, as always, in the studio. Fantastic work. And to you, most importantly, for your company right across the day. We're one game down, one to go. MCG next for Carlton Essendon on this King's birthday eve.